They threaten to cut off Hao's tuition, but they don't even know which school he attends. They finally pry it out of Mrs. Zhao, only for the teacher to drop a bombshell. Hao has been working his way through school this entire time, but they refuse to believe it. They are convinced the family bankrolled him. That's the only reason he dares to cut ties. So Rose turns to her mother and asks, "Mom, how much allowance have you been giving Hao every month? Does he even have enough to live on?" Vivian is still fuming. She frowns. "Why are you asking that? He hasn't come home, has he? I'm just curious. Does he have money on him? How much did you and Dad actually give him? Enough to make him this bold?" Vivian's frown deepens. She suddenly turns to Richard. "How much are you giving him every month? How much does he have right now? Isn't that money coming from you?" Richard shoots back. "We agreed. You handle the household, I handle the outside. You never gave him anything?" Vivian is caught off guard. "When would I have time? I'm buried in company work every single day, completely overwhelmed. I have no bandwidth for household matters. We have a finance team for that." "Then ask them," Richard says. Vivian still can't quite believe Richard never gave Hao anything. She reasons, if he had no money, how could he possibly run away? He must be sitting on a decent sum. She picks up her phone and calls Ms. Lee. "How much does finance give each child every month? And specifically, how much is Hao getting? That amount? Got it. You're sure that's right?" A shadow crosses Vivian's face. On the other end, "Your standing order has always been 500 a month. It hasn't changed in years." "Understood." Vivian hangs up, brow furrowed. Rose stares at her mother, a flicker of dread on her face. Vivian glances around the room, then sighs. 500. Miss Lee says it's been 500 a month for 4 years. I remember setting that myself. I was worried he'd blow through money recklessly. 500 keeps that in check. The room goes dead silent. Everyone draws a sharp breath. Rose and Tessa in particular, their faces go pale with shock. 500 a month. Even Richard looks stunned. Vivian gives a cold smirk. He's clumsy and careless, full of bad habits, and he has sticky fingers, always stealing things. 500 is enough so he won't starve. That's all he needs. The others exchange glances and go quiet. Hannah, Stella, and Wendy all furrow their brows. The Wangs are old money. The children have never gone without. Take Wendy. She's already working, and yet she still pulls 100,000 a month from the family just for spending money. For socializing, shopping, whatever she wants. Hannah, Stella, and Tessa are about the same. But Hao gets 500. The sisters can barely believe it. "Why are you all staring at me? I did it for his own good. Some habits have to be trained early or he'll be useless as an adult," Vivian says. Rose takes a slow, deep breath. "If I don't give him a serious talking to when he gets back, I'm not Vivian Wang," Vivian snaps. Stella cuts in with a laugh. "Honestly, I agree. 500 a month is plenty for Hao. He's still in high school. It's not like he has much to spend on." Hannah chimes in, enjoying the drama. "As long as he doesn't starve, right?" She laughs, gloating. "Otherwise, he's always bothering us. 500 is fair. He has no discipline, no manners. If you don't keep him in line, he'll never learn. When he comes back, none of you talk to him. I'm going to deal with him myself," Vivian says through gritted teeth. But Rose pauses, something stopping her. "Mom, when was the last time you went into Hao's room? Why would I go in there? It's filthy. Smells like that orphanage everywhere." "What about you two?" Vivian asks. Rose exhales slowly. "Tessa and I just came from there. There's one thin blanket, barely any clothes. I asked Mrs. Zhao. She says Hao only has his school uniform and 2 jackets. That's it." The room stirs with unease. "I keep thinking, if Mom and Dad aren't giving him money to buy clothes, if he can't wear his uniform, what does he wear?" Rose continues. "And that's not all. It seems like he doesn't have other shoes either. Mrs. Zhao says his shoes had a hole in them. He sewed them back up himself with a needle and thread, and kept wearing them." Rose pauses. The words seem to stick in her throat, but she forces herself to say it. "When did things get this bad? The Wang family can't afford a single pair of shoes?" The words land like a stone. Vivian and Richard go stiff. Hannah looks stunned. "Mrs. Zhao!" Vivian suddenly calls out. Mrs. Zhao hurries over. "Sir, ma'am, Mrs. Zhao, you said Hao sewed his shoes. When was this?" Vivian demands, eyes fixed on her. Mrs. Zhao glances around the room, all eyes on her, and quickly says, "About a year ago, I think. He tore a hole in his sneakers playing ball, and when he got home he just stitched them up himself and kept wearing them." Vivian's head snaps toward Richard. "You didn't buy him new shoes?" Richard frowns. "Wasn't that your job?" Vivian freezes. "I don't remember buying him clothes either." Rose feels a chill run through her. She swallows hard. "Hannah, Stella, Wendy, did any of you?" A stunned pause. "Buy something for him? Why would I? He never buys anything for me," Stella mutters. "Me neither," Wendy adds. Vivian and Richard look at each other. "What about you?" "No." Rose understands now. She lets out a slow breath. "Let's just find him first. Once he's back, we can sort things out." Vivian frowns at Rose. "What are you trying to say?" Rose looks around the room. Everyone is watching her. She thinks for a moment, then sighs. "I just find it strange. Hao has lived with us for 4 years. The family gave him almost nothing, 500 a month, barely enough to survive, and no one bought him clothes, no one bought him shoes. So how did he get through 4 years? He must have clothes somewhere. He has sticky fingers. He stole a coworker's phone, took my makeup. He was always sneaking into Mom's room, sleeping in Mom's bed, ruining her gowns. He must have stolen Mom's things and sold them." Stella joins in. Rose looks at Stella and Wendy, then falls silent. She turns to Vivian and Richard. They both know about Hao's petty stealing. Several of the daughters have mentioned it over the years, but somehow that doesn't feel like the real point. "Let's just bring him home first. Things will make more sense then," Richard says. Rose glances at him. She sighs inwardly. They still don't see it. They haven't grasped what's actually wrong. What Rose is trying to say has nothing to do with stealing. It's this: Hao may not have had enough to eat in this house. No clothes to wear, no blanket to sleep under, no shoes on his feet. He has been mistreated in this house. Yes, mistreated. Rose thinks back over the past 4 years, every time she crossed paths with Hao at home. The more she thinks, the more certain she becomes. When he first arrived at the Wang house, he was timid and withdrawn, careful, cautious, scared of everything. He couldn't even bring himself to greet strangers. Vivian constantly scolded him for being rude. It was only after he slowly settled in that he started seeking them out. Back then, Rose was consumed by work. She had no time for this brother who had suddenly appeared, so she'd have security turn him away. Rose always knew Hao wasn't welcome here. Not just her. All the sisters knew it too. Every time Hao did something they found ridiculous or disgusting, videos and messages about it would pop up in their group chat. The sisters would all crack up laughing. Rose knows this well. Richard and Vivian never liked him either. The punishments were relentless. Beatings, hours standing at attention, lockdowns in his room. Last year alone, Hao was locked in his room for 3 straight days. The number of times he was forced to stand as punishment was too many to count. Rose never thought much of it before. But now, thinking back, it feels suffocating, terrifying. She turns immediately to Mrs. Zhao. Mrs. Zhao, come with me, I need to ask you something. Mrs. Zhao follows quickly. Perhaps in Hao's mind, the Wang house is a terrifying cage. Rose has heard that he used to sneak into Vivian's room, creeping in like a shadow. He would curl up in Vivian's bed when no one was looking. The sisters found it disgusting. When they caught him, they reported it straight to Vivian. And when Vivian found out, she exploded. She punished him repeatedly. Maybe one punishment hit too hard, because after that, he stopped going. It hasn't happened in over a year. As for whether Hao still sneaks into Vivian's room now, that's unclear. Rose remembers that 6 months ago, Stella posted a video in the group chat claiming she'd caught Hao sneaking in again. Whether he was actually stealing anything, that's another question. Vivian never reported anything missing. Now Rose wants to talk to Mrs. Zhao. From what Rose knows, Mrs. Zhao has always had a decent relationship with Hao. She's probably the kindest person to him in this entire household. And that fact, when you think about it, is almost laughable. All these people, all these sisters, his own flesh and blood, his real family by every definition. And yet a housekeeper treated him better than any of them. Mrs. Zhao has no idea what Rose wants to say. Her heart is uneasy as she follows Rose up to the 3rd floor sitting room. There's a lounge up here. Rose's room is just down the hall. Mrs. Zhao, after Hao lost his phone, did he ever ask anyone in the family for a new one? Rose asks, gesturing for her to sit. Mrs. Zhao shakes her head with a sigh. He never brought it up, but he bought one himself. He bought one? Do you have his number? He doesn't really contact me much. This past year he's been busy. Getting ready for college exams, I hear. Rose's brow knits together. When did he start at Eastside High? Did mom and dad ever go there? The madam and the young ladies were always busy. No one went. 3 years ago, Hao passed the entrance exam for Eastside High. The madam was informed, but when she heard Eastside High wasn't considered prestigious, she didn't want to bother, so she had the driver take him to register. After that, she forgot he even went there. Mrs. Zhao finishes. Rose feels a cold jolt run through her. Her chest tightens. After a moment, she presses on. Mrs. Zhao, did Hao used to go into my mom's room a lot? And into Hannah's, Stella's, Tessa's rooms? Well, that's exactly why. The whole family turned against him, especially the sneaking into Vivian's room, sleeping in Vivian's bed. That was something Vivian found completely unacceptable. Vivian has always been particular about cleanliness and order, extremely fastidious about everything. She doesn't let anyone touch her things. Hao walked straight into her crosshairs. But did he actually steal anything? Rose sees Mrs. Zhao give a small nod and immediately pushes further. Well, Mrs. Zhao hesitates, clearly cautious. Miss Rose, that's really something you should ask Hao or the madam. I don't really know. Rose holds her gaze, brow furrowed. Mrs. Zhao is quiet for a moment before she finally speaks. I think Hao did take something of the madam's. One of her clothes. Once, I think. Rose goes still. She knows about that incident. It happened 3 years ago. Hao had crept into Vivian's room, taken a piece of clothing from the wardrobe, and was caught red-handed by Hannah, who went straight to Vivian. Vivian erupted. She didn't just hit his palms. She made him stand for hours as punishment. She even denied him food. Rose remembers what happened after Vivian got the clothes back. Vivian threw them straight in the trash. Rose frowns. So Hao really did take something. She thinks for a moment, then asks, Mrs. Zhao, why do you think Hao steals, especially mom's clothes? Mrs. Zhao pauses, says nothing. What is it? Does she know something? Rose watches her silence and thinks, yes. This habit of his is hard to stomach, especially for someone like Vivian, who is immaculate about everything, completely intolerant of disorder. No wonder Vivian threw those clothes away. Miss Rose, why are you asking all this? Hao will come back. Mrs. Zhao looks at her, visibly worried. You think so? Rose presses. Because Hao doesn't have much money. The madam and master never gave him any, and when the grandparents visited for the new year, they never gave him anything either. With no money, Hao will have to come back, Mrs. Zhao says quietly. Rose frowns. That's not a good enough reason. Mom and dad are furious. Even if he comes back, it won't help him. He'll just get torn apart. Mrs. Zhao goes quiet. Rose looks at her. I seem to remember he took mom's clothes more than once. 3 times I think, and he got her gowns dirty. Does Hao actually have some strange fixation? Rose suddenly realizes she doesn't understand this brother of hers at all. She wants to know whether her gut feeling is right. If the picture the others have painted is accurate, then there's nothing more to say. Old habits die hard. He'd need to be kept under close watch. But what if it isn't that simple? Something still nags at Rose. Of all the things Hao could have taken, why Mom's clothes? Mrs. Zhao looks at Rose for a quiet moment, then glances down toward the living room below. She hesitates, then speaks carefully. Miss Rose, what I'm about to say, please don't repeat it to anyone, or they'll blame me. What is it? Rose is taken aback. She sees how guarded Mrs. Zhao looks and quickly says, "You have my word, I won't tell anyone." Mrs. Zhao says, "You're all asking questions you already know the answers to. Deep down, you all understand. You just haven't let it sink in." Rose stares. "How? He used to be..." Mrs. Zhao pauses, struggling with the words as she looks at Rose. "He was an orphan. How grew up an orphan?" "We know that," Rose says, frowning. "No, you don't really know what that means. Orphans are different. I don't fully understand it myself, but they truly are." Hao was so frightened and withdrawn when he first arrived. I can't explain why. If you want to understand how he thinks, I think you should visit the orphanage where he used to live. Mrs. Zhao finishes. Rose stands frozen. Orphans are different. The words settle over her. And then, even we servants felt it was better for Hao to leave. The master and madam never really welcomed him. Mrs. Zhao sighs once more, then turns and walks away. Rose feels a tremor move through her. Her eyes go wide. Orphans are different. Something clicks. Her breathing quickens. A possibility forms in her mind, one that makes her blood run cold. "Mrs. Zhao, where was the orphanage Hao grew up in? I'm going to go." Her breath comes fast now. "East City Orphanage. It's not far," Mrs. Zhao answers. Rose rushes downstairs, eyes already stinging. She feels a creeping dread. She can't quite bring herself to believe that her suspicion is right. But if it is, the weight of it hits her like a stone. There isn't a single clear-sighted person in this family. Mrs. Zhao watches her go, worried. She doesn't know if she's helped Rose at all. "Where are you going?" Vivian and Stella see Rose rushing out the door and call after her. "Just stepping out," Rose says. Nothing more. She starts the car and heads east. The storm has arrived. The wind on the road is strong, but it's still manageable. East City Orphanage isn't far. About an hour's drive and she arrives. Rose stops at a supermarket first, picks up a few things, then heads to East City Orphanage. The place is bare and run down. It sits in an out-of-the-way corner of the city. There's a foul smell in the air. Someone has been dumping garbage nearby. "Can I help you?" the gatekeeper asks. "I'm here to see the director. I've brought some supplies," Rose says quickly. He takes one look at her and hurries to open the gate. The orphanage director is a warm, middle-aged woman. With the storm moving in, she has been busy settling the children down for the night. When she sees Rose arrive with supplies, she lights up and welcomes her inside. Rose reaches into her bag and pulls out an envelope and hands it over. "Director Zhao, this is a donation for the orphanage. Please accept it." Thank you so much." Director Zhao beams. Rose glances toward the rooms nearby. "Director Zhao, how many children are here right now?" "Just over 30 at the moment. Most have no parents at all. 3 were adopted just a few days ago." Director Zhao smiles. "What do you do, Ms. Wang? What brought you to donate to us?" Rose looks at her. "Actually, I came because I have a question for you." Director Zhao looks surprised. "A boy named Hao from about 4 years ago. Do you remember him?" Director Zhao thinks for a moment. "Hao? Yes, of course. Skinny little thing. Small for his age." She pauses to recall. Then her face softens. "Yes, I remember him. A good kid. Wasn't he taken home by his parents?" "Found his family, we were told." Rose nods. "I wanted to ask you, what do the children here do day to day? Do they go to school?" "Of course they do. We have teachers here." Director Zhao glances warmly at the children nearby. "Though we do have a few big criers in the bunch. They cry a lot." "Why?" Rose asks, caught off guard. "Why do you think?" Director Zhao gives a tired smile. "They miss their parents. It's just part of life here. Once one starts, the whole room follows. These kids have no parents. Some have been abandoned more than once. They cry day and night. I just finished calming a few of them down. Otherwise the whole room would be in tears." Rose goes rigid. Her eyes widen. They cry like that?" "Of course they do," Director Zhao says wearily. "The moment one child starts, all the others follow. It breaks your heart just to hear it. Our teachers and volunteers say they can barely stand it. But we can't stop them. They're just missing their parents. Missing their family. A child without parents drifts like a leaf with no roots." Rose feels a shock run through her whole body. Just then, a commotion breaks out in the next room. A tattered old doll, the one his mother left him. The boy treasures it above everything. He won't sleep unless he's holding it, but the other children keep trying to grab it. Rose watches the scene unfold, eyes wide, barely able to process what she's seeing. Director Zhao glances at Rose. "You're Hao's family, aren't you?" "That boy. Hao was a good kid, always helping the others, but he used to cry a lot too, and he was terrified of the dark. He'd hide alone in a room and just sob his heart out. The moment night fell, he couldn't bring himself to go back to his room. No sense of safety at all. But now that he's found his family, he must be so happy." Rose has no idea how she makes it back to the car. She can barely breathe. Every hair on her body is standing on end, chilled to the bone. She has spent years running the family business. She has seen a great deal, been through a great deal, but something like this has never crossed her path. Director Zhao said he was afraid of the dark, had no sense of safety, cried alone all the time. That much is understandable. Most orphans are like that. Sensitive, timid, fragile. And Hao was exactly the same when he first came to the Wang house. which is why his parents never warmed to him. But he kept sneaking into their bedroom, lying in their bed. Rose can barely bring herself to accept what this means. She thought she was reading too much into it, but now she feels tears forcing their way out. They won't stop falling. Rose has always known. Hao used to sneak into Vivian's room. Back then she dismissed it, didn't care enough to think about it. But now, looking back, it feels like someone has reached into her chest and squeezed. She can barely breathe. Maybe all he ever wanted was just a little safety, just the smallest amount. Whether it was sleeping in Vivian's room or taking her clothes, he was just searching for any trace of comfort. Maybe her clothes carried her scent, just like the children here in this orphanage, fighting over a worn-out doll. In all of Rose's memories, she has never once seen Vivian or Richard hold him. Not once. The reason he only ever dared to sneak, never to walk in openly, is because this family never accepted him. Not even Vivian could stand to touch him. Rose's tears blur her vision. She still doesn't know for certain whether she's right. But thinking back over everything that happened in these 4 years, Rose feels she is close enough to the truth to feel sick. She doesn't know how she drives home. She moves without thinking, hollow inside, and finds herself back at the Wang estate, tears still falling, memories of 4 years swirling through her head. Her parents are still in the living room watching TV. Hannah, Tessa, and Wendy are nowhere to be seen. Only Stella is still there. Rose, where did you go? Vivian notices that Rose looks completely off, hollow-eyed, walking like a ghost, and frowns. Mom, how he? Rose opens her mouth but the words won't come. Don't even mention him, he makes me furious. I've already had the police called. The scene he made this time, I'm going to slap some sense into him. Vivian is still burning. Go to your room and rest, she snaps. The storm is almost here. Don't go into work tomorrow. Rose opens her mouth, closes it, says nothing. She starts toward her room, then she stops. Stella is sprawled lazily across the sofa, flipping through channels. Rose walks straight over and grabs her arm. Stella, come with me. What do you want? Stella looks up, confused. Rose fixes her with an icy stare. Stella knows better than to push back. Nothing scares her more than Rose in a cold fury. She follows without another word. The moment they reach the 3rd floor, Rose holds out her hand. Give me Hao's phone. Stella's eyes go wide. Hand it over, Rose says, glaring. Stella panics. She shoots a glance downstairs, makes sure their parents haven't heard, and exhales. Rose, how do you know I have his phone? About that whole thing with his phone? Stella tries to explain, but one look at Rose's face shuts her down. Fine, I'll get it. But just so you know, I didn't mean to hide it. He's just so disgusting. Rose hears this. Her breath catches. She nearly loses it, but she holds on. She holds herself together. Because the truth is, she already knew. She has known for a while that Stella hid that phone. Late last year, the family went on a trip. A lot happened. Hao's phone went missing. He suddenly had no way to reach anyone. He walked for hours trying to find his way back, and it was the police who finally brought him home. During that trip, Stella had secretly hidden his phone, so he couldn't contact anyone. Hao thought he'd simply lost it, and right now the whole family has no idea Hao already has a replacement. Thinking about all of this, Rose's eyes sting again. Stella disappears into her room and comes back with a phone. She holds it out. Here, just don't tell Mom. She'll blame me for everything. Rose shoots her one last withering look and snatches the phone. And then it hits her. Living in this house, it might have been something genuinely terrifying. Something that should make your skin crawl. Just look at their group chat alone. Some of those messages are suffocating to read. Rose never thought twice about them before, but right now she realizes she was part of it too. She remembers a day last year. She was racing to close a deal, completely buried, no time even to eat. Hao found out. He cooked a pot of congee in the kitchen and took a cab all the way to her office. Rose was completely blindsided. She was furious. She had security throw him out. And she remembers, before that day, every time Hao saw her, his whole face would light up. He'd come over smiling, always offering to carry something, always asking if she was tired, whether she'd eaten. Rose found it annoying. She ignored him every time. He kept it up for over 3 years, nearly every time they crossed paths. And then, after that day, he never came to her again. The next time he saw her, his eyes were full of fear. And Rose, looking back now, she was part of it too. They say the eldest sister is like a mother. She didn't come close to fulfilling that. Rose feels the tears pressing forward again. She sniffs hard, takes the phone, and goes to her room to look at it. It's locked. She doesn't know the passcode. She thinks about going out to find someone who can crack it, but the storm outside has picked up. It's too dangerous to go out now. Rose has no choice but to set the phone aside and wait. Meanwhile, Hao sits in his rented room, watching the storm roll in as he works through practice exams. College entrance exams are coming. He refuses to fall behind. He has to perform. This time he is getting into a top university, earning a full scholarship. He has been given a second chance at life, and he has mapped out every step of it. He will not allow anything to derail him. Every free moment goes to exam prep. Then his phone rings. He picks up. It's Derek, his classmate, his friend from the orphanage. They grew up together, and later both got into Eastside High. Besides Derek, Hao has a few other childhood friends also at Eastside High. Kids he's known his whole life. But when Hao was suddenly reclaimed by his biological family, his parents forbade him from seeing them. 4 years of slow drift. Now that he's starting over, Hao has reached out again. Hao, you really think shrimp and crab prices will spike after the storm? Hao answers the call. Derek is the kind of kid who works every hour he can get. Too careful to spend on food or clothes, spending every day washing dishes just to cover basic living costs. When Hao figured out how to make money, he brought them in on it. Absolutely, Hao says. Prices will jump, more than double, from about 20 yuan a pound to over 40. He explains, the storm is going to wipe out fish and shrimp farms all along the coast. Everything in those ponds will die. Prices have to go up. Are you sure about this? A bright, clear voice cuts in. A girl. Hao pictures her instantly. Tall, clean-cut features, high ponytail. Positive, he says. Once the storm clears tomorrow, prices will move. Grace, just wait and see. We trust you, the girl says. Honestly, I think so too. This storm is massive. Her name is Grace. She grew up with Hao in the orphanage. They both tested into Eastside High. When they were little, this small group of them survived by leaning on each other. The bond ran deep. When Hao was claimed by his family, the others were heartbroken with envy. They held each other and cried. Now that Hao has reached out again, they're overjoyed. Sit tight for now. Keep studying. The storm probably won't ease up until tomorrow afternoon. Day after tomorrow, we check prices. In the meantime, keep the oxygen pump running in the tanks. Don't let the shrimp and crabs die, Hao says. Grace laughs. Don't worry, we're treating them like royalty. There's no way we're letting them die. Derek, Lisa, and I put 3,000 in each. Just keep them alive. Day after tomorrow. Hao smiles. Deal. Grace, Derek, and a girl named Lisa all live together, studying for the same exams, pushing each other, sharing one life. They are each other's family. If Hao had never been found by the Wangs, he'd be right there with them. But he was taken back. Now at least he can help them, and that makes him happy. He sets the call aside and gets back to his exams. Finish today's papers, start fresh ones tomorrow, sell at the market the day after. His time is tight. Every minute counts. Back at the Wang house. Mr. and Mrs. Wang, we've pulled the security footage. After Hao left the complex with his luggage, he appears to have boarded Route 956, an officer tells Vivian and Richard. When Rose hears the police are there, she rushes down from her room. He went to the outskirts. The room reacts with surprise. He got off at Binney Road, and then we lose him. We haven't been able to pull footage from that area yet. With the storm, it could be 2 or 3 days, the officer says. What is he doing in the outskirts? Isn't that practically the countryside? Vivian asks. He moved with purpose. No hesitation at all. He had this planned. Here is the footage. Take a look, the officer says. Rose leans in. Sure enough, Hao on a public bus, still wearing those same patched sneakers and his school uniform. Mom, Hao, does he not have a car and driver? Rose looks at Vivian. Why would he need one? Vivian says. He can bike to school. But, Rose pauses. Tyler has a private car and a driver. Dedicated school pickup and drop off. Why doesn't Hao? Vivian's expression goes flat with impatience. If he'd gotten into the top high school downtown, he'd have one too. He didn't, did he? Since he couldn't manage that, he has no business asking for any of it. Rose says nothing, just a dull ache in her chest, and she is part of this. He's gone to the outskirts to find those troublemaking friends of his. I knew it. I always said he was still in contact with those people. Vivian seethes, then turns on Richard. Richard, your son, if you don't get him under control now, he is completely lost. This boy has no limits anymore. Rose hears this and can't sit still. The suffocation comes in waves. She gets up and goes back to her room. It will be 3 more days before they know exactly where Hao is, but he is probably safe. That much gives Rose some relief. The storm continues to rage. Police work grinds to a halt. Rose can't get to the office or find anyone to crack the phone. She waits. Now that they know Hao is likely okay, the rest of the family visibly relaxes. Vivian asks Mrs. Zhao to put out some snacks. They settle into the living room. Snacks, TV, completely at ease. On the other side of the city, Hao tends to his crabs and live shrimp while working through homework. No rest at all. Time passes quietly. 2 days blink by. With careful attention, almost none of the shrimp and crabs have died, just 2 or 3. Then he sees a news alert. Coastal areas have been devastated by the storm. Dozens of fish farms and shrimp ponds have been destroyed. Estimated losses in the billions. Hao's pulse jumps. The moment is here. He can't sit still for another second. He fights the wind and heads straight for the seafood market to check live prices. The storm has mostly passed. Most people are starting to venture outside. Trees are down all along the roads, everything a mess. But when Hao arrives at the market, he grins. Hao. Familiar voices call out. He turns. 3 familiar faces. There's Grace, tall, pretty in a plain way, ponytail swinging, simple button-up shirt, a few spots of acne on her cheeks. No frills at all. Lisa is shorter, compact and dainty, with a baby face and clothes just as plain. They are all poor kids. Then there's Derek, dark-skinned, bright-eyed, full of energy. They've clearly already been checking prices, all of them buzzing. I asked around. Prices have jumped, just like you said. More than doubled. From 20 up to 43 yuan a pound. Fishing boats gone. Shrimp farms wiped out. We are going to make money. The 4 of them look at each other, hearts racing. Hao grins. We set up right now. 1 market each. Grace, you take Guangdong Market. Derek, Jiahe Road Market. Lisa, Tianggu Road Market. 1 market per person. Move fast. Get all the live shrimp and crabs sold as quickly as possible. Years of orphan life have hardened them. Hustling, negotiating, surviving on nothing. It's second nature. No problem at all. They spread out fast, hawking their live shrimp and crabs. No official stall. They set up just outside the market entrance. Sometimes someone comes to chase them off, but it's no big deal. They just move a few steps. They are orphans. They are thick-skinned. Being chased off doesn't faze them. Hao throws himself into the work. He brings out his 300 pounds of live shrimp and crabs. He can't carry it all at once. His body isn't quite there yet, but a few trips and it's manageable. He probably won't clear it all today anyway. It'll take 3 or 4 days to sell through. He gets to work. Back on the other side of the city, Rose sees the storm beginning to die down and grows restless. Vivian and Richard, on the other hand, are calm. Tyler has come home, and the house feels warm and whole again. Besides, the police said Hao is probably fine. Vivian and Richard have all but stopped worrying. Rose stands on the 3rd floor, watching her parents and siblings below, laughing, snacking, and feels her heart clench again. Hao is still missing, and they can laugh. Rose can't dwell on that. She picks up her phone and dials. Hey, Xiao Shu, you and Xiao and head to the station and look into my brother's case. Right. Chinling Police Station. Go ask questions, push them to keep searching, and call me the second there's any news. She is sending her bodyguards to follow up with the police. Then she makes another call, her secretary this time. She hands over Hao's phone and tells her to get it unlocked. She needs to know who Hao really is, because for 4 years, the eldest sister in this family never once tried to know him. After giving her orders, Rose waits. She watches her parents and siblings still goofing around downstairs, and turns away. Then her phone rings. Rose, the police found Hao. But what? Rose's stomach drops. Her breath goes short. Come to the station and see for yourself. Hao seems okay. Her bodyguard hears the fear in her voice and moves quickly to reassure her. Rose is already out the door. She drives to the station. It doesn't take long. Both bodyguards are waiting. The officer pulls up the footage. Rose takes one look. Her face freezes. Her eyes go wide. She covers her mouth. Her eyes fill. He's at Anxi Road Market. Still there right now. You can go find him there, the officer says. Rose feels a sharp sting behind her nose. She doesn't say a word, just walks straight out of the station. She gets in the car and heads to Anxi Road Market. The market is packed, people streaming in and out. No way to pull up close. Rose circles until she finds a spot, parks, then walks in with her 2 bodyguards. Rose runs a major company. She has never set foot in a place like this. The moment she steps inside, her head spins. Trash everywhere. Chaos everywhere. Dead fish, dead shrimp, flies swarming all around. The storm has left the market buried under wet leaves and debris. Everything is sticky, soaked, and disgusting. Wave after wave of rotting fish smell hits her. Rose nearly gags. You okay? One of the bodyguards turns to her, concerned. She knows Rose has never been anywhere like this. A woman like Rose, born into wealth, food always prepared by staff, groceries always handled by someone else. When would she ever come here? Let alone somewhere this filthy, this wet, this revolting, where one wrong step means a shoe full of something foul. Rose breathes through it, fighting the stench, especially that fish smell, which she simply cannot take. She pulls out a tissue and presses it to her nose and mouth. Only then does she walk in. Live shrimp, live crab, 42 yuan a pound, 42 yuan a pound. Get it while it lasts. Gone soon. 3 pounds for you. How about live shrimp for you, sir? Come on, don't wait too long. Hao stands there in a short-sleeved shirt and shorts, a scale in his hand, weighing out crabs and live shrimp for customers. It's still drizzling. The storm hasn't fully passed. The market floor is soaked, and his hair and clothes are streaked with grime. Step right up, step right up. Live shrimp, live crab. Hao keeps calling out to the crowd, wanting to clear his stock as fast as possible. Rose walks over, tissue still pressed to her nose. Hao glances up and goes still for just a moment. He recognizes her immediately. He frowns slightly. What is she doing here? But he doesn't care enough to ask. Customers are pressing in. He turns to them with a smile. Live crab, guaranteed fresh. Only 42 yuan a pound. 2 pounds, please. Coming right up. Look at these crabs, every one of them fat. See how heavy they are? Hao grins. Today he brought out over 80 pounds of live shrimp and crabs. Almost sold through. He has already recovered more than half his investment, and the rest he can move tomorrow morning. No one else in this market is selling live shrimp or crabs today. Just him. No wonder it's flying. He hands off the last 2 pounds of crab and starts packing up. Seeing Hao ignore her completely, Rose steels herself and calls out to him. She can barely imagine him working here. Hao looks up. What are you doing here? He asks flatly and keeps packing. He doesn't even call her by name. Rose feels a small jolt in her chest. We've been looking for you. Where have you been? Looking for me. Why? Hao loads his cart and prepares to take the bus home. He still has shrimp and crabs to tend to. You've been gone 6 or 7 days. Mom and Dad have been out of their minds. Shouldn't we at least look for you? Come home with me. Hao is already walking. Rose rushes to block him. What are you doing? I'm busy. I don't have time for this. Go back where you came from. Where are you going? Rose sees him grab his cart and move. She steps in front of him. I'm going to catch the bus. Unlike some people, Hao says flatly. Move. I'm on a schedule. You're not going anywhere. Come home first. Talk to Mom and Dad. Rose holds her ground. Hao looks at her, and then he laughs. What parents? I don't have any. Nothing to explain. Besides, if you've tracked me all the way here, then you already understand everything. Why are you blocking me? I don't understand yet. Mom and Dad don't understand either. They're both looking for you, Rose says. I'm exhausted. Hao cuts her off. I'm not doing this. I'm leaving. Rose grabs him again as he pushes past. Then something happens. It's unclear exactly how, but Hao stumbles, loses his footing with her pulling at him, and goes down hard. Hao! Rose cries out in alarm. She looks. Hao is unconscious on the ground. Hao! What's wrong? An ambulance! Call an ambulance! The bodyguards rush over, take one look, and immediately make the call. Within minutes, Hao is rushed to the hospital. Doctors hurry in to assess him. Rose, she never expected this. She stands outside the ward, face drained of color, rigid with worry. A cold dread settles over her. After a long while, the doctor steps out. Who's the patient's family? I am. Rose hurries forward. The doctor looks her over, frowns, and says, nothing life-threatening, but there's a long list of concerns. Inflammation in the head, a wound that never healed, underweight, severe malnutrition, anemia, a heart condition. You're his sister. Rose is speechless. She never imagined Hao was carrying all of this. Back when he lived with them, none of this was ever mentioned. Yes, I'm his sister. The tears come. She never thought he was this fragile, this sick. Your brother probably doesn't take great care of himself. That head wound is about 6 or 7 days old. It's infected now. The weight and nutrition issues aside, get him eating properly. Build his blood back up or he'll pass out again. As for his heart, it needs even more attention. His body isn't producing enough blood. The doctor holds out a form. Sign here. Rose reads it carefully, eyes brimming, and signs. The doctor takes it and leaves. Rose pushes open the ward door and stops. Hao is already awake, gathering his things, preparing to walk out. You're awake. Rose lights up. Hao glances back at her, says nothing. He keeps packing. Rose watches his expression, completely flat, and feels a stab of pain. She remembers when Hao used to look at her like she hung the moon, like he'd just spotted his favorite celebrity, eyes full of admiration, trying so hard to win her over. Every encounter left him thrilled, beaming. Now there is nothing, just emptiness. Where do you think you're going? The doctor said you need rest. Rose steps forward. Hao finishes packing, turns, and looks at her. Thanks for bringing me to the hospital. He glances at her. I just checked the bill. Medical fees and consultation, 1,500 total. He opens his wallet and pulls out the cash. He counts out 1,500 yuan and holds it out to her. Here, for the bill. We have no ties anymore. There's no reason for you to come find me. Goodbye. Hao! Rose is startled. She moves to stop him. Mom and Dad are waiting for you. Where are you going? Hao just laughs. What are you doing? Why do you keep locking me? I don't understand why you're even here. Just come home with me first. Rose says urgently, reaching for his hand. Hao knocks it aside, still smiling. Go back with you for what? So your security can beat me up again? Or so the family can punish me? Lock me in my room? Deny me food? He tilts his head. You should be kinder. There are consequences for cruelty. Rose freezes, a jolt of shock hitting her chest. What goes around comes around. The time just hasn't come yet. But when it does, you'll all answer for it. He holds his smile the whole time. Then he steps past her and walks out of the ward. Rose stands there, stunned. A chill runs through her. Then she snaps back and rushes after him. Hao, what are you saying? I'm your sister. Stop right there. Hao glances back. He smiles. What? Are you going to sick your bodyguards on me again? Let me be clear. This is a hospital. You and I have no relationship. If you let anyone touch me again, I will make a scene. The smile disappears. He fixes her with a cold, vicious stare. Rose looks at him. In an instant, every hair on her body stands up. It is like being dropped into ice water. Hao, in this moment, is terrifying. She goes completely still. Hao, I'm just asking you to come home. I'm your sister. Mom and Dad are both waiting for you. She is frozen. I thought maybe this time you'd actually fool me. Hao looks at her, openly mocking. Fool you? I'm your sister. How am I fooling you? Rose is bewildered. You're right. You didn't fool me, Hao says, glancing at the bodyguards behind her. You didn't fool me. You just messed with me. Openly, deliberately. If I go back this time, you'll probably film it and post it to your group chat for all your sisters to laugh at. Cruelty has consequences. Maybe not today, but the time will come. None of you will escape it. Rose is shaken to her core. Fine, I'm done arguing. Get out of my way. Hao doesn't bother with another word. He is tired deep in his bones. She doesn't stop him. He walks out of the hospital and heads straight home. He still needs to buy stock for the evening market. The goal is 150 pounds sold today. Rose watches him go, frozen in place, trembling, chalk white. She never thought Hao knew about the group chat. She never thought he could cut ties this cleanly. And yet they had genuinely mocked him in that group chat, even played cruel tricks on him, like the time Stella hid his phone. And Rose herself, she did it too once, she remembers. 2 years ago, Tyler was playing with fire in the courtyard. It got out of hand. The grapevine their parents loved most, gone. Tyler was terrified. He came to Rose for help. He needed someone to take the blame. He wanted her to say it was Hao. Rose felt she had no choice. She went to Hao and asked him to take the fall. He didn't agree at first. He went quiet. Then Rose offered a deal. She'd take him to visit her office one day. It would help her, help Tyler, and he'd get something out of it too. Hao happily agreed. In the end, Hao got beaten badly by their parents and made to stand for 2 solid hours. Afterward, Hao actually came to find her, smiling. I'm fine, he told her. Rose thought it was pathetic and kind of funny, so she filmed it and posted it to the group chat for her sisters to see. And of course, they all burst out laughing. Now Rose stands shaking, hands and feet gone cold. Her blood feels like it has frozen solid in this moment. Every hair on her body stands on end. Hao takes the bus home. Rose doesn't follow. He is relieved. On the bus, his phone lights up. Hao, the shrimp and crab prices really went up. We sold out today. Ha! Hao, you're incredible. You called it perfectly. On his way home, Hao gets calls from Derek and Grace. His heart lifts. Now, keep making money. Make real money. Build a real life. He throws himself back into it. Rose has no idea how she gets home from the hospital. She just feels frozen all the way through. She is the CEO of the family company, a top university graduate, brilliant, methodical, decisive, a woman who never lets emotion cloud her judgment. And yet, Deep down, Rose never truly sees Hao as her real brother. He is just someone she can brush off or mess with whenever she feels like it. She never even realizes it. She has never taken him seriously, not once, not even when he brings her food. Every single time he sees her, his face lights up with a smile. His eyes are full of warmth and admiration. But to Rose, he is nothing but a burden, someone she can't wait to get rid of. Even when she teases him or laughs at him, it feels like no big deal. But now, all she feels is cold, ice cold, down to her bones. Rose walks back to the Wang mansion like a ghost. Inside, Vivian and Richard are still in the living room, laughing and chatting, watching TV. Hannah, Stella, and Tyler are all there too. Tessa and Wendy are probably around as well. Richard and Vivian look completely unbothered, calm, unhurried, as if nothing is wrong. Rose suddenly wonders what Hao has ever meant to this family. A strange, hollow feeling rises in her chest. Then his words come back to her. Karma always comes around. Where have you been? The storm isn't over yet. Vivian turns around when she sees Rose come in. Rose looks at them all. She opens her mouth, but before she can say anything, her phone rings. Ms. Wang, the phone has been unlocked. Should I bring it over? Yes, bring it here. I'll be home waiting. Got it, Ms. Wang. Rose hangs up. She takes a slow, deep breath and holds back the tears threatening to fall. I'm fine. Are you okay? Richard notices how pale she looks and asks with concern. I'm fine. Just tired. I'm going to rest. Richard sees how pale she is and worries. I'm fine, Rose says, turning down his concern. She heads upstairs. The secretary arrives shortly after with the phone. It is Hao's old phone, the one Stella had hidden away. The messaging apps and contacts have already been restored. Rose goes back to her room. She takes a moment to collect herself. She picks up the phone, ready to unlock it, then stops. She can't bring herself to open it. She is afraid of what she might find. Afraid of what she already suspects. And if she is right, this phone holds a lot. After a long silence, Rose wipes her tears and takes a breath. She opens it. There are many photos inside. All of them are of the family, or of Vivian and Richard. Photos of the Wang mansion and the family cars. Photos of the family company, and a few family portraits. Stella must never have opened it after taking it. Everything is untouched. Rose scrolls through. She finds the chat history. She exports everything to her laptop and starts reading from the very beginning. The eldest sister is like a mother. Rose wants to understand Hao, truly understand him. Everything about him. She wants to know why he had to leave. Rose is trembling all over. She presses both hands over her mouth, desperate not to make a sound. Tears blur her vision and streak down her face. She already knows what she will find if she keeps reading. She knows what she has done over the past 4 years. Now, looking back, it is all painfully clear. Derek and Grace, they must be Hao's friends from the orphanage. Rose remembers. She remembers him mentioning them once. When Grace reads what Hao writes, she is immediately curious and keeps asking questions. Rose forces herself to wipe her tears dry and scrolls down. This is the 3rd time I've seen her. I had to ask Mrs. Zhao just to find out how amazing she is. Grace, my sister, is incredible. Top of her class, studied at MIT, came back and built her own company at such a young age. Nobody her age can come close. She's even shaken hands with city officials. Look, I found this online. It's in the newspaper, Derek. There's so much written about her. I've read it so many times I have it memorized. Rose can't hold it together anymore. Tears pour from her eyes, blurring her vision so much she can barely make out her own face on the screen. She quickly grabs a tissue and carefully wipes her eyes, trying to see clearly again. But the tears keep coming. She can barely stand it. I never knew she was this amazing. It's unbelievable. We couldn't hold a candle to her. Grace, Lisa, did you know? I just heard from Mrs. Zhao. Even Mrs. Zhao thinks my sister might be the most incredible person in the world. I went to her company today, Grace. Lisa, look, I'm sending photos of the lobby. There are so many pictures in there. One of them is her. Hao seems to have walked up and taken several shots, then sent them to his friend Felix. Look, it says CEO. Hao takes more photos and sends them to Felix. Look at this. It says CEO. My sister is the CEO of this company. They say over 1,000 people work here. When he sends that message, he must be bursting with pride. His 3 friends can feel it radiating off every word, and they find it a little much. I want to go see her, see if she's at work. Mrs. Zhao says she's been working overtime a lot lately, even forgetting to eat. I'll go check on her. That visit, Hao doesn't make it past the lobby. Security stops him at the door and won't let him through. Hao gets frustrated and tells them he is her brother, asks them to let him up, but security refuses and mocks him. He never makes it up. It is Agent Shu who later tells Rose, "It's a shame I couldn't go up to see her at work. Security blocked me. But don't worry, next time I'll make it. I just need to let her know and it'll be fine." Hao doesn't get in, and the disappointment is written all over his words. But he isn't ready to give up. I want to work in a place like this someday. I want to be someone who belongs in a building like this. I want to walk through those doors. Derek replies, "As long as we work hard, we can get there. We may never be as great as your sister, but even 1% of what she is, that's enough." Then Derek sends a laughing emoji. "You worship her that much. But are you actually good to her? Of course, I'll always treat her well. You have nothing to worry about. I don't think anyone in the world could be greater than her. Oh, I just heard something big. Apparently she landed a huge deal yesterday. Mom and Dad both know, and everyone at home is celebrating. From now on, she is officially the greatest. Oh, and I just heard something big. She landed a huge deal yesterday. Mom and Dad both know. Everyone at home is so happy, celebrating together. Starting today, she is my idol." Reading this, Rose feels the tears welling up like a dam about to break, blurring her eyes all over again. She's been having stomach trouble. I'll make her a pot of congee. That'll help with her gastritis. Rose remembers all of it. The first time Hao came to her office, he didn't make it in. Security turned him away. The second time, he called ahead. Rose is in the middle of work, busy, stressed, and even more irritated when she sees him show up with a bag. She takes the kanji from him and has security escort him out. She never drinks it. The secretary throws it away. It isn't that she forgets. She is afraid to drink it. She doesn't know what might be in it. Once she drinks my kanji, she'll be better. As long as the gastritis clears up, that's all I need. She works so hard. Mrs. Zhao says she works overtime every single day. I feel so bad for her. His messages trail off again, with a trace of regret, but still filled with warmth. He probably has no idea that Rose never once touched the kanji he made. Not once. The next message comes 3 days later. Hao tells Grace with excitement, "She's back! She hasn't been home in 3 days. She's just as beautiful as always, Grace. Look, she's back. Grace, did you know I just found out she's been busy with the factory? Apparently it's being expanded. Their products are already selling overseas. They're hiring another 1,000 people. That'll make 2,000 total. The products are going international. 1,000 new hires, 2,000 employees in total." When Vivian, Richard, Stella, and Tessa hear the news, they are all thrilled. "See? I was right. She really is the most incredible person in the world. No one comes close." Rose covers her mouth as the tears push through again, but her gastritis still hasn't cleared up. "I'm going to make another pot of kanji for her to drink. I haven't seen her in 3 days and she already looks thinner. She needs to eat more." Rose remembers this visit. She is at the office again. When word reaches her that he's on his way, she sighs and tells her secretary to bring him up. The moment Hao steps off the elevator, his eyes go wide with excitement. He looks left and right, like a country kid walking into a 5-star hotel for the first time, full of awe and wonder. To him, everyone who works in a building like this must be among the best in the world, so he snaps photo after photo to send to his friends. "I made it in! I'm inside the greatest company in the world. So this is what it looks like to work here. There's so much, free snacks, a gym, and it's so bright in here, so clean. I need to get a suit. If I could work in a place like this someday, I'd die happy. I'm going to see her now. She's the one who runs all of this." Rose remembers how his eyes lit up the moment he stepped inside. He had never been in a place like this before. It was his first time up there. Back then, when Rose heard about it, she didn't care. She was annoyed that he had insisted on coming, embarrassing her in front of everyone. And after that visit, Rose never lets him come to the office again. Rose's head throbs now, thinking about why she did that. She forces herself to remember what she actually did that day. From the moment he first set foot in her office, the only time he ever made it up, Rose treated him with contempt and disgust. By the 4th time he showed up, she had security throw him out. That time, Hao couldn't seem to believe she would actually do it. He argues with the guards. Rose sends Agent Shu to physically remove him. After that, Hao never comes back. That same visit, he had made a pot of pork rib kanji to bring her. In the chaos of the confrontation, it spills all over the ground. Security later tells Rose that Hao sits outside the building for a long time afterward, before quietly cleaning everything up and walking away. Back then, Rose only feels relieved to have him gone, glad he won't be back to bother her. But now she wonders, what was going through his mind as he walked away that day? By then he must have understood clearly that she would never let him in. Rose can't stop the tears. Her mind goes blank. If she tries to put herself in his shoes even for a moment, she thinks she would have lost all hope. Today is her birthday. Stella says she'll be home for it. I'm so glad. I get to see her again. Derek, Grace, come with me to pick out a gift. This is the first birthday of hers I've actually been here for. Before this, I never even knew when it was. Derek and Grace say the crystal snow globe with baby's breath flowers is the best choice. Not the music box, not the wooden doll. Grace is right, Hao agrees. This is the first gift I've ever given her. It has to be perfect. She's going to love it. It has to be the best. She'll love it. The snow globe is so beautiful. Then a photo appears. Rose's expression goes still. Something stirs in her memory, but before she can place it, she scrolls down and freezes. She threw the snow globe away. I found it in the trash. I picked it up. I guess she doesn't like it. Hao sounds heartbroken. Rose remembers now. On her birthday, Hao does bring her a gift, but he is so timid and awkward about it that it already irritates her. She opens it. A crystal snow globe with baby's breath flowers. Cheap looking. She throws it away without letting him see. The next day, Hao finds it in the trash. Something hits Rose all at once. The tears won't stop. She rushes out of her room and runs up to the second floor. She reaches his room. Bang! She shoves the door open and goes straight to the cabinet. There it is. The crystal snow globe. Rose's breath comes fast and shallow. Her fingers are shaking. She can't believe it. With trembling hands, she carefully opens the snow globe. Inside, there is a card. Happy birthday, Rose. I hope every day brings you joy. May your smile bloom like flowers, and your life be as beautiful as a painting. Your brother, Hao. Rose thinks back to that birthday. Hao had pulled out the gift so hesitantly, holding it out to her with such care. After the security incident, he is clearly afraid of her. He barely dares to step close. When he takes it out, he looks almost embarrassed to offer it. Rose never thinks the gift means anything. She glances at it and tosses it in the trash, only for Hao to quietly retrieve it and hide it at the very bottom of this drawer. Rose never knew she could be so cruel. How did he know she had thrown it away? How did he find it? And how could he keep it like it was something precious? Rose doesn't know what was going through Hao's mind when he did all of this. She is a top student herself, a prestigious university graduate. In everyone's eyes, she has always been one of the most outstanding people around. sharp, capable, and rational, someone who runs a major company, and yet she has done something so monstrous it makes her sick. Yes, all of it is terrifying. She can't imagine what Hao was feeling. My sister is my idol. She is the greatest person I know. I want to study hard and work hard just like her. If I could be even 1/10 of what she is, no, even 1%, that would be enough. I could never come close to her. Derek, look, these are all her awards, so many of them I can't even count. She is truly incredible. Back then, whenever Hao looks at Rose, his eyes are full of light. He lights up like a fan seeing their hero in person, overwhelmed with admiration. Now, thinking back, Rose remembers how he used to rush over to carry things for her, always eager to say hello. Back then, she only finds it annoying. But slowly, over time, the look in Hao's eyes shifts, from admiration and excitement to something else entirely, fear, until the day she moves out, until she is simply gone. And after that, Rose only ever thinks of him as a nuisance. But little by little, the way Hao looks at her changes, from worship and excitement to pure fear, until she leaves home, until she disappears from his life entirely. And just now when Rose goes to see him, there is nothing left in his eyes. No excitement, no warmth, just a flat, hollow calm. He looks at her the way you'd look at a stranger on the street. He could have been her hero. He could have been a light in her life. She grew up in an orphanage. She had never met anyone like Rose before. He swore over and over that he would become someone like her. Even just 1% is great. But what did she actually do? Karma always comes around, Rose. It just hasn't reached you yet. But it will. Rose collapses onto the bed and finally lets herself cry out loud, no longer able to hold it in. She never knew Hao had fallen that deep into despair. She was no longer his idol. She had become the one who destroyed him. Meanwhile, back at the rental room, noise and laughter fill the air. After a long day of work, everyone is buzzing with energy, crowded together to celebrate. The storm is nearly over. People are starting to come back outside. Hao and the others went out to sell live shrimp and crabs at noon, then went out again in the afternoon. By now, most of their stock is gone. They have already recovered their costs, and everything else is pure profit. Each of them stands to make several $1,000s this round. Hao, your idea was genius. The prices really did go up. We're making a killing. Derek laughs, buzzing with excitement. Told you, this was always going to pay off. I put in 3,000 and I'm walking away with over 6. Grace is just as excited. She is still in high school, so she dresses simply, no effort put into appearance, her face bare and bright with excitement. Still in high school, dressed plainly with no makeup whatsoever, in her school uniform, yet still standing tall and graceful. I made money too, Lisa laughs. We all did this time, Hao says with a grin. And it's not over. I just checked the news. Apparently the storm hit longan, lychee, and banana crops hard. Bananas especially. A lot of banana plantations are wiped out. Tomorrow we go to the wholesale market and buy as many bananas as we can. I'm predicting that within 4 or 5 days, banana prices will more than double. Derek's eyes go wide. Double? Easily. And with that kind of return, we can finally stop worrying about money for a while. Grace, Lisa, you won't need to work the cafeteria shift anymore. We'll deal with everything else after the college entrance exam. Derek, you can stop washing dishes. We'll have enough to get through these next few months. After the exam, we'll figure out the next move. Hao grins. All 3 of them light up. Then Grace looks at him with quiet worry. Hao, are you really not going back to the Wang family? She studies his face. He used to talk about the Wang family with such pride. The brilliant sisters, the successful parents, a home with food on the table, and clothes on his back. Why would he walk away from all that? Growing up as orphans, Grace and Derek used to envy Hao so much it hurt. They used to think he was too full of himself about it. But looking at him now, it seems like life in the Wang family was never as good as it looked. I'm not going back, Hao says. As for why, don't ask. Not yet. Right now, we focus on making money and getting through the exam. Grace looks at him, and her voice softens. Hao, you still have us. That's right, Hao, you've got us. Derek lets out a big, easy laugh. Hao laughs too. Ha, yeah, I've got you guys. Blood family? Derek laughs again. Who needs it? Come on. Tonight we celebrate. Drink until we can't anymore. And tomorrow we get back to it. All 3 of them are fired up. They drink together, cook together, study together, work together. Hao remembers his past life, the 20 years after his death. So much had happened. He had seen how things turned out for Derek, Grace, and Lisa. For a long time after Hao's death, all 3 of them visited his grave again and again. And through their own hard work, each of them went on to make something of themselves. They carved out lives worth living. Grace especially. She got into a top university and became a high-powered attorney, known across the country. Even Lisa, the one who struggled the most, became a respected teacher, dedicated to her students, living a quiet and steady life. What these orphans want most is security and stability. Their paths are all similar in that way. And right now, what they want most is to rise above where they started, to have enough to eat and enough to spare. The 4 of them pull out their practice exams and get to work. Without family support, the other 3's grades are honestly just average. But Hao has lived this before. He remembers the college entrance exam from his past life, and helping them improve is no problem at all. Whenever he has time, he coaches them. Hao, you've got the best grades of all of us. With you tutoring us, we should be able to do a lot better, Derek says with a grin. Yeah, having you here makes all the difference, Lisa adds. But how? Won't this slow down your own studying? Grace asks, a little worried. It won't slow anything down. We're all in this together, Hao says with a smile. This isn't going to set back your studying at all. We're all going to college together. I've made up my mind. As long as we stick together, nothing can stop us. Grace, Derek, and Lisa exchange a look. They all quietly wonder what happened to Hao and the Wang family to make him this way. They already know things weren't good there. The family had money, but not a single dollar of it ever went to Hao. He lived in constant scarcity. Everyone claimed they were his real family, but his real family treated Tyler 100 times better than they ever treated him. In the Wang family, Hao was either beaten or yelled at. Now it seems like he has finally let it go. When he comes back to them, Grace and the others are quietly overjoyed, because the four of them have depended on each other since long before any of this. After Hao was claimed by the Wangs, the remaining three, when you think about it, all share similar fates. All four of them do, and all three except Lisa were abandoned by their parents. Derek especially. He was left behind as a newborn, nearly mauled by stray dogs, thrown away in a trash can. Grace was abandoned at 3 years old, because her parents wanted a son. Only Lisa lost her parents differently. They died when she was young, leaving her an orphan. There are still many more messages to read. There is no way to get through it all at once. Rose doesn't dare keep reading. She searches through the phone and finds there is so much more. Journal entries, social media posts, entire timelines. Because of the number change, Hao never took any of it with him, never deleted it either. Rose searches for her own name. The results are endless. Then one entry catches her eye. Rose took me on a trip. She can't bring herself to read further. She already knows exactly what happened that day. Rose had taken him on a trip once, together with Tyler. That time, Hao had been so excited, his whole face glowing. Rose takes a slow breath, picks up her phone with a trembling hand and calls Hannah. Hannah, come to my room, I need to talk to you. Hannah is the second oldest. She teaches music at a university, a pianist and musician in her own right. She has written her own songs and released her own albums, earning a quiet reputation. She has even composed songs for Stella. Hannah is also highly educated. She studied abroad and carries herself with real depth. After returning, she joined a top university as a music professor. Rose knows exactly how Hannah treated Hao. And right now, Rose wants to understand every detail of the hell Hao lived through in this family over the past 4 years. She doesn't share the chat history or journal entries with anyone else yet, because the others would probably brush it off without a second thought. Stella especially, she would probably just keep mocking him. Hao had long since become the punchline of their little group. The more Rose thinks about it, the colder she feels. These are educated women, each of them sharp, accomplished, highly educated, high-earning women. How could they have been so blind? Maybe they simply never cared. Hannah has just gotten home from work. She doesn't know why Rose is calling for her, but she hurries straight to Rose's room. With the storm rolling in, Hannah hasn't had much on her plate. These past few days have been easy and unhurried. Classes have been light. Hannah has a close circle of friends, and she has been spending her free time going out with them. Tea, shopping, buying luxury goods. Today, Vivian and Richard don't seem to have contacted the police about Hao at all. Probably because Tyler is home, and they don't want him to feel unsettled. So they do nothing. The whole family is careful. Always careful, not to make Tyler feel like an outsider. Rose stands upstairs watching her parents and sisters laugh and chat below. A chill spreads through her chest, wave after wave. Then Hannah arrives. Rose, you wanted to see me? Come in. Rose looks at her, dressed beautifully, light makeup, a pretty chiffon dress, and Rose lets out a quiet sigh. While they are here looking polished and put together, Hao is out at a filthy market, selling live crabs, breathing in the stench of raw fish. The same blood runs through all of them, and yet they live in different worlds. Rose doesn't understand how things got this way. There is a weight pressing on her chest that she can't release, and she is part of it. Hannah notices her red, swollen eyes and steps inside quickly. Rose, what's wrong? Have you been crying? Rose shakes her head. Just want to talk. Hannah doesn't know what this is about, and that makes her nervous. At home, she isn't particularly afraid of their parents. They rarely punish her. But Rose is a different story. The authority of the eldest sister is not something she can push back against. Rose, you called me in here. What did you want to talk about? She asks carefully. Nothing much. I just have a question. 7 days ago, did Hao really ruin Mom's dress? Hannah's eyes go wide. Don't try to hide it. Stella already told me. Rose sniffs. Hao has no reason to ruin Mom's dress. And it wasn't just a little. It was a huge stain. I know what happened. Tell me, who actually did it? Hannah's expression shifts. She doesn't know what to say, but one look at Rose's face tells her there's no way out of this. She gives a helpless smile. It was Tyler. He went to Stella. Stella came to me. So you all framed Hao. Rose goes cold inside. Don't blame me. He's always sneaking into Mom's room anyway. And Rose, you don't actually think Mom doesn't know who really did it, do you? Hannah says, shifting the blame. Rose stiffens, eyes wide. Mom definitely knows. Even if she didn't see it herself, she could figure it out. Hannah shrugs. So really, this isn't on us. Who knew he'd be so sensitive about it and just run away? Rose feels the tears pushing forward, almost breaking through. She can't believe it. And in that moment, she understands exactly why this home suffocates. Rose, are you okay? Rose's eyes are red. Hannah asks quickly. I'm fine, Rose says, sniffling. She dabs at her eyes with a tissue. Hannah, do you think Hao is really our biological brother? Hannah blinks. He should be. Mom and Dad ran the DNA tests multiple times. 2 years ago, they had doubts and tested again. After that, no more questions. The tests weren't cheap either. They tested again 2 years ago. Rose doesn't know what to make of it. Hannah nods. Mom and Dad said he didn't look like them. Didn't look like any of us sisters either. So they tested. I've seen the report myself. 100%. Hearing that, Rose finds it even harder to make sense of. But when she thinks about it, maybe it starts to make a terrible kind of sense. Maybe they simply looked down on him. No wonder they refused to visit his school. Embarrassed to be seen there. No wonder they never arranged a car and driver for him. Too embarrassing. No wonder they never took him anywhere. That would be embarrassing too. Rose sniffles. The ache in her chest won't go away. But there is more. Rose, why are you asking all this? Hannah watches her carefully, sensing something something is off. I went to the police at noon. They found Hao. He's at the market selling live crabs to make money. He hasn't gone missing, Rose says. Hannah gasps. I also went to East City Orphanage, the one where Hao used to live. I saw the children there. Rose continues. Those kids have no one. No family, no safety net. They would fight over a broken doll. Hannah stands there, confused, not understanding what Rose is getting at. How? Selling crabs? Why? Tell me, why? Rose just looks at her. Hannah goes quiet. Hannah, you graduated from Nanjing University, one of the top students in the country. You studied at Harvard. You must have covered psychology. Your focus is music. You've read so many stories, learned about so many lives. Hannah goes quiet again. Hannah, Nanjing University graduate, top of her class, Harvard educated. You've studied psychology, read widely, learned about so many different lives. But have you ever really learned about the life of an orphan? Do you understand what it does to a person? Rose stares at her. Hannah's eyes widen slightly. Orphans? There are orphanages everywhere. Exactly. We all know orphanages exist. We all know there are children in them. And we all know Hao grew up in one. He used to be one of those children. Rose takes a slow breath. Yes, he has flaws. Bad habits that are hard to shake. But that is only because he grew up with no parents. No one to shelter him. He had to survive like a cockroach because if he didn't, life wasn't worth living. But that still doesn't make it okay to steal. He's taken so many things. Hannah speaks up. Rose lets out a short laugh. Hannah, how much do you get from the family each month? What's your salary? Around 120,000. I know. Rose says with a cold smile. Your salary alone is 20,000 a month, and that's before anything else. But did you hear what Mom said? She gave Hao 500 a month. 500. Is the Wang family short on money? Hannah actually didn't know his allowance was that low, just $500 a month. When she heard Vivian mention it a few days ago, she was shocked. She had assumed Vivian was giving him a decent amount. She never imagined it was so little. I asked Stella, and it turns out none of you have bought him clothes or shoes in years. I asked Stella, Tessa, Wendy, and Luna. Almost none of them have. Stella even said Hao never bought anything for her, so why should she buy anything for him? Rose sniffles, her chest tight with grief. He gets 500 a month. That barely covers food. How is he supposed to buy anyone anything? Hannah frowns. Hannah, you are part of this too. Rose's voice goes sharp. Rose, I'm not sure I follow, Hannah says carefully. You don't follow? Or you don't want to? Rose laughs bitterly through her tears. For 4 years, Hao was worse off in this house than he ever was in the orphanage. Do you understand that? Hannah goes still. Hannah, the first time Hao met you, what was he like? Did he ever come to your university? Rose presses on. Hannah pauses, thinking back. He came a few times. Took the bus just to find me. Once he even snuck into the classroom. He wanted to sit in on my lecture. The other students spotted him and threw him out. Rose nearly stops breathing. Did they hit him? Yes, once, I think. Rose turns it over in her mind. It was students at the school who did it. Not too serious. He had snuck in just to hear her teach, and everyone at the university assumed he was her boyfriend. It was mortifying. Rose is shaking. She hadn't known this had happened to Hannah too. Thankfully, it didn't spiral into anything worse. The students chased him off and that was the end of it. After that, he never came back to campus, Hannah continues. As she speaks, the students chased him away and that was the end of it. After that, he never came back to campus, Hannah continues. As she speaks, she glances at Rose carefully. Rose, why are you asking all this? These things, weren't they already known? Rose doesn't answer. A deep sorrow settles in her chest. She wipes at her eyes frantically, but she can't hold it back. She grabs a tissue and keeps dabbing. Hao is out there selling live crabs at the market. He must have run out of money. She pulls out another tissue and keeps wiping. Hao is selling live crabs at the market. He has no money left. He's trying to earn some. Rose sniffles and speaks. What? Hannah looks surprised. You're not going to give him money. Neither will I. Stella, Tessa, Wendy, none of them will. Mom won't. Dad is always too busy. Rose takes a slow breath. So tell me, what exactly is Hao to this family? Why did he even come here? You just said Mom and Dad ran the DNA tests multiple times. They confirmed he is our biological brother, our own flesh and blood. So what is he? What does that make him? Hannah stands frozen, eyes slightly wide. He went to Mom's room to rest, to sleep. Did you never do that? Did I never do that? Did Stella, Tessa, Wendy, Luna, or Tyler ever go to Mom's room? So why is it that when he does it, everyone acts disgusted? Why is it that when he goes there, even Mom and Dad are repulsed? Is he even treated like a person in this house? What is he exactly? Hannah freezes, eyes wide, with no idea how to answer. The truth is, even as grown adults, they sometimes still want to sleep next to their mother. Luna especially, still in college, she sometimes needs to sleep beside Vivian when she comes home on break, just to feel safe. And Hao is younger than all of them, just 18, only 14 when they first brought him home. I spoke with the director of East City Orphanage. Some of the children there were abandoned by their parents. Others lost both parents. They have never experienced a mother's love, never met their own parents. Hao should have been lucky. He was found at 14, but he wasn't. Because none of us, including me, and not even our own parents, ever treated him like a person. Not even Mom and Dad treated him like a person. Why? Hannah, how did it come to this? Isn't he our own brother? Meanwhile, Hao works through more than a dozen practice exams in one sitting. Having spent 20 years as a spirit in his past life, every memory is sharp and clear. Every concept comes back to him effortlessly. The next day, just like Derek and the others, he heads back out to sell live shrimp and crabs. Sales are even better than the first day. The storm has completely passed. People are coming back outside in full force. With the first day's experience under their belts, Hao and Derek move all their remaining stock. Just over 100 pounds of live shrimp and crabs, longan, lychee, and bananas especially, are going to jump from $1 a pound to $2.50. We can rent a small warehouse at the wholesale market and stock up on 20,000 pounds. They make a killing on this round. Derek, Grace, and Lisa all trust Hao completely. They move immediately, renting a truck, locking in a warehouse for a few days, and stocking 20,000 pounds of bananas. The truck costs $1,000. The warehouse costs another $1,000 for a 7-day short-term lease. Everything else goes toward buying bananas and longan. They don't need to hire anyone. All 4 of them load the truck themselves. By the end of the day, their backs are aching. But standing in front of a warehouse packed full of bananas and longan, all 4 of them feel a surge of excitement. I checked the market. Prices are already climbing. And this is just the beginning. Once the storm damage reports come out, it's going to move even faster. The official data on the storm's impact will be released in the next few days. When it drops, the hardest hit crops will be bananas and longan trees. At that point, banana prices will shoot straight up, Hao explains. Then we wait. Right, we wait. For now, we go back to school. In 3 to 5 days, banana prices will hit their peak. That's when we sell, Hao says with a grin. Deal. All 3 of them are fired up. Hao gets back to his routine. Practice exams, physical training, more practice exams, then back to training. He is malnourished and his body needs to recover. The college entrance exam is coming fast. Every minute counts. Since there is enough reason to stay close, Hao doesn't go back to the rental room. Instead, he works it out with Derek. They all sleep in the warehouse, taking turns keeping watch through the night, driving off rats and warding off anyone who might try to steal. Each person takes a shift to guard the bananas and longan. Hannah doesn't know how she makes it out of Rose's room. Rose said so much, and at the end, she presses a medical report into Hannah's hands. None of it is what Hannah expected. I found him at the market. He looked frail, like a strong wind could knock him over. One pull and he passed out. I had to take him to the hospital. They ran a full checkup, and what they found was far beyond what I expected. Anemia, severely underweight, serious malnutrition, heart problems too. As Rose says all this, tears are circling in her eyes. The Wang family doesn't lack for anything. I never imagined his body would be in such bad shape. Hannah, did you know any of this? Hannah takes the report and looks it over. Her face goes serious. She shakes her head slowly. He never mentioned it. I had no idea. We all used to think. Used to think what? Rose asks. Hannah lets out a tired sigh and says, honestly, Rose, we all knew something was off. We always assumed Hao was after Tyler's things. And his personality, it's just hard to warm up to. We weren't that bad to him. Rose laughs sharply. Hannah, what about everything in that group chat? That wasn't bad to him? Hannah blinks. The group chat? What things? She stares hard at Rose. Rose sighs. Yes. Hao knew about the group chat. He knew you were all laughing at him. He knew you were mocking him, playing tricks on him. That is why he left. Hannah's whole body goes rigid. The smile vanishes from her face, replaced by something like dread. How is that possible? Who told him? Hannah can't believe it. If you don't want something found out, don't do it in the first place. Rose sniffles. Hannah, you're so educated. You know that words can destroy a person. All that learning. Where did it go? And me, I'm the eldest sister. Where did mine go? Do you know what Hao said to me today when I found him? What? Hannah stares. He said, Rose, karma always comes around. It just hasn't reached you yet. We are going to face what we've done. Yes, it will come. Hannah's eyes go wide. I've figured out what those 4 years were like for Hao in this house. Deep down, I think we all know. We just needed someone to say it out loud, Rose says. I haven't told Stella or anyone else yet. Stella is too sharp-tongued. Nothing good would come out of her mouth. I keep asking myself, why is it that with outsiders, I keep thinking about it. Why are we so polite to strangers, and yet to our own family, to our own biological brother, we become so harsh, so hard, so cruel, so heartless? Yes, heartless. That's the only word for it. Rose stares her down. I can't think of a worse one. Whether it's because of Tyler or because of Mom and Dad, it's all heartless. Hannah's expression crumbles. The past 4 years flash through her mind. Everything she said, everything she did. She pulls out her phone, opens the group chat, and scrolls through the messages. There are so many. Almost all of them mocking Hao. There, the day Stella posted about Hao being punished, when it was Tyler who had ruined Mom's dress, and Hannah had worked with Stella to pin it on Hao. Even as Hao was being punished, beaten until he bled, not one of them felt a single drop of guilt. She is a university professor. She is supposed to be educated, principled, refined. When did she become this? When did framing someone start to feel completely fine, even funny? Hannah goes completely still. And there's this. Rose gestures to what's on the screen. Remember the family trip at the end of last year? Hao lost his phone? Hannah nods. Back then, Hao couldn't reach any of us. Tyler came down with a high fever, and we all rushed to the hospital with him. Since we couldn't get hold of Hao, we just left. Rose continues. Hannah nearly stops breathing. She remembers it perfectly. They were laughing about it in the group chat the whole time. Hao couldn't find them. He was in a panic. He barely had any money on him. Hannah feels sick. She remembers it all too clearly. They were joking about it in the sisters' group chat while he was out there, lost, terrified, with almost no money, alone, walking onto the highway, trying to walk home by himself. He walked for 3 or 4 hours, more than 12 miles. It was only after they got home that anyone remembered Hao wasn't back. Vivian called the police, who found him and brought him home. Then he apologized to everyone for worrying them. The police said he had walked alone in the dark for hours. It was extremely dangerous. And Stella had laughed, calling him an idiot, and posted about it in the group chat. It was Stella who hid his phone, Rose says. Hannah's eyes go wide. Stella hid his phone? Yes, I got it back from her. It's right here, Rose says. Hannah goes silent. I've gone through everything on it. Journal entries, social media posts, chat history with his friends. I've gone through all of it. Some of it is about you. See for yourself, Rose says. Stella hid this phone at the end of last year. It had a passcode. No one had opened it until I had it cracked yesterday. Rose continues. What is this? Hannah asks. These are his chat records with his friends, and several journal entries, all about you, Rose says. Hannah freezes, then quickly looks at the screen. Grace, look, this is my second sister. Isn't she beautiful? She's just as beautiful as Rose. She graduated from Nanjing University. Now she's a music professor at Xiahai University. She even released her own albums. Look, these are her albums. They sound so good. After just one glance, Hannah goes completely still. The color drains from her face. Just one look, and Hannah can't move. Her expression shatters. Rose, what is this? She stares at Rose. There's a lot more in there. Read it properly. Rose sniffles, her eyes going red again. Hannah's fingers tremble. Suddenly she can't bring herself to look further. She already knows what it says, and she doesn't have the courage to face it. Back then, whenever Hao looked at her and the others, his eyes were full of light, full of excitement. How could they not have known? Because if they hadn't, Hao would never have snuck all the way to her university just to sit in on her class. Hannah really has released several albums, self-funded, and she has earned a quiet reputation as a musician. Somehow Hao found out about the albums and downloaded them all onto his phone to listen to in secret. Hannah had looked through his phone once before. Now hearing Rose say all this, Hannah doesn't know what to say. How? His health is bad, she finally asks Rose. Rose nods. Severe anemia, long-term malnutrition, poor cardiac circulation. The police said he's renting a room out in the low-income area on the outskirts of the city, probably to be near the market where he's selling. How does he? Hannah swallows hard. How did he even think to do that? I don't know. I had Agent Zhu look into it. Live shrimp and crabs have been selling for much higher prices these past few days. That's probably why. He needs money to survive, Rose says quietly. Hannah goes silent. It's hard to accept. The Wang family has never been short of money, and yet it has come to this. But thinking back, Vivian only ever gave him $500 a month. It's suffocating to think about. Hannah doesn't say much more. She asks Rose to send everything to her phone. It's suffocating. She says almost nothing. She asks Rose to forward the files to her phone, then leaves the room. Hannah goes back to her own room. She lies down on her bed and stares at the ceiling, her mind a complete mess. She can't think straight. The deeper she goes, the more terrifying it becomes. What have they done? Hao has been gone for days, and the house barely stirs. School resumes. Tyler goes back to class. Only then do Vivian and Richard seem to remember that another child is still missing. They rush to contact the police. When Tyler comes home, they don't even dare bring up Hao's name. The police respond, informing them that Rose has already handled it, and the case is closed. Vivian is mildly surprised. She finds Rose immediately. What happened? Did you find Hao yesterday? A strange sadness flickers through Rose's chest. She nods. He didn't go missing. I found him. He just moved out. Moved out? Where does he think he's going? That ungrateful child, he makes me so angry. He actually stayed out for 6 or 7 days without coming home. Vivian is furious. Hao rented a room in a low-income neighborhood on the outskirts. He's been living there on his own. I don't think he's coming back. What? Vivian's anger flares. So he thinks he's grown up enough to fly on his own. Rose sighs. Mom, have you ever visited Hao's school? Did you know his health isn't good? Vivian blinks. This is the hospital report. Yesterday he collapsed outside. I took him to the hospital. He passed out in the street. I was the one who brought him in. I had the hospital run a full check. Rose looks at both her parents. The doctor said anemia, severe malnutrition, dangerously underweight, and his heart isn't producing enough blood cells. There's also a wound on his head that hasn't healed, and pneumonia. Both stunned. They take the report and read it quickly. Richard's face goes serious. Dad, if there's nothing else, I'm heading to the office. I have a lot to get through today and need to go in, Rose says and steps back. Right now she doesn't know how to talk to them about Hao. She can't find the words. And even if she could, Vivian and Richard would probably just say Hao was being dramatic, faking it. It wouldn't be the first time they've said that. Hao didn't leave because of Rose. He didn't leave because of Hannah. It was most likely because of Tyler, and because of Vivian and Richard. They are the real reason. If the two of them don't wake up to what they've done, nothing else matters. It's better for Hao to stay out there. At least he won't have to endure as much. Because if he comes back, Vivian will probably make him stand in the corner or lock him in his room again. Rose leaves quickly. Outside, the storm has passed. The sun is out. The light is warm and bright. Rose tilts her face toward it and feels the faintest warmth return to her body. She needs to find Hao. And soon as possible. Vivian and Richard watch her go, mildly puzzled. They look back down at the report in their hands. Vivian, what's going on? How is Hao malnourished? Richard frowns. How should I know? Vivian snaps, eyebrows shooting up. Mrs. Zhao, come here. Yes, ma'am. You called for me? Mrs. Zhao hurries over. Mrs. Zhao, what's going on with Hao? Does he often skip meals? Why would the doctor say he's malnourished? Vivian stares her down. Mrs. Zhao hesitates and says nothing. Mrs. Zhao, look, it says it right here. Anemia. Malnutrition. Has Hao never been given anything to help with that? Vivian asks. Mrs. Zhao glances at the report and quickly says, Ma'am, you know how it is. When the family eats, no one usually calls young Hao down. Sometimes it slips everyone's mind and young Hao gets caught up in his homework and forgets to come down, so he just doesn't eat. What? Vivian is stunned. These past few months, it seems like young Hao. Mrs. Zhao speaks up. I think it was a few months ago. Ma'am banned young Hao from eating. After that, he never came down to eat again. Vivian tries to remember. It must have been a few months ago. Vivian's breathing quickens. She turns to Richard. He frowns, his expression dark, and calls for Mr. Lee. Pull up the security footage, Vivian snaps. I want to know exactly when he stopped coming down to eat. Mrs. Zhao quickly goes to find Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee arrives promptly. You called for me, ma'am? Pull up the dining room security footage right now. I want to see exactly which day Hao stopped coming down for meals. Mr. Lee glances between the two of them, slightly puzzled. Then he nods. Of course. Vivian's breathing is unsteady, fury burning in her eyes. That ungrateful boy, refusing to eat, absolutely out of control. No discipline whatsoever. She whips around and glares at Richard. Richard, this boy is completely hopeless. He's practically grown, and he needs someone to call him down for every meal. Can't he come down on his own? Richard says nothing. He stares at the medical records in his hands, lost in thought. The security footage is pulled up quickly. Mr. Lee finds it without delay and sends it to their tablet. Vivian and Richard lean in immediately. Sir, ma'am, for the past 3 months, young Hao hasn't come down to eat once. He's been making noodles alone in the kitchen, or sneaking food from the leftovers in the fridge. Mr. Lee continues. What? Vivian stares. This footage shows young Hao sneaking leftover food. It looks like it was taken past 11 at night. When he gets hungry, he sneaks downstairs. He doesn't dare turn on the lights, so the footage is a little blurry, Mr. Lee explains. And there's this. He goes to the kitchen and makes stir-fried noodles himself. The leftovers he eats, they're what everyone else left behind. Vivian is stunned. Why is he eating that? Mr. Lee hesitates. Mrs. Zhao would know more, but I believe Stella and Tessa didn't like eating with young Hao. They rarely called him to join them, and whenever Tyler was home, young Hao came down even less. He usually handled meals on his own. Ard at the screen, the rage in her eyes building. What is he trying to pull? Why didn't he come down? He was allowed to eat with everyone. What does Tyler have to do with it? Who told him he couldn't eat? She's furious. Mr. Lee speaks carefully. I believe Ma'am once told him that he was not allowed to eat. Young Hao must have taken it to mean he was permanently banned from the table, so he simply stopped coming down. Vivian's eyes go wide. I said that? Mr. Lee doesn't dare say more. He stays silent. Ma'am, this is the last footage of young Hao eating at the dining table. It looks like he dropped a piece of chicken onto the table and tried to pick it back up, and Ma'am and the young ladies erupted. They drove him away from the table. Mr. Lee pulls up the clip and hands her the tablet. He never came back down after that. Vivian watches. She's taken aback. There's no audio on the security footage, no way to hear what was said. All she can see is herself and her daughters erupting in anger, loudly scolding Hao and ordering him to stand as punishment, banned from finishing his meal. Hao stands to the side, not daring to move. What did I say back then? Vivian can't quite remember. Hao stands there frozen, not daring to move. What exactly did I say? Vivian still can't remember. Mr. Lee glances at Mrs. Zhao, hesitating. I can't recall. One of you tell me. Vivian's brow furrows. That day, Ma'am said if he didn't break this bad habit, he would never be allowed to eat at this table again. Young Hao was made to stand as punishment, and then he went back to his room. Mr. Lee says. Vivian is shaken. I said that? Ma'am, after that day, young Hao truly never came down again. He must have only dared to eat in the kitchen on the quiet. None of the young ladies ever called him down either. That's likely why young Hao ended up malnourished. Mrs. Zhao adds quickly. She adds one more thing. Ma'am, sir, please take young Hao to see a doctor. He's been gone for days. Vivian truly can't remember saying it. She thinks back, then lets out a cold laugh. Even so, he deserves it. Richard, come with me. Richard frowns. Go where? Where else? To the school, to find him. I want to see what he's been up to all these years. Vivian seethes. Richard frowns. Do you even know which school he goes to? If you don't know, you think I don't? Vivian snaps. This time I'm going to teach him a real lesson. If I don't, he'll be completely out of control. Vivian is already grabbing her things. Richard has no choice but to follow. Eastside High. That's the school. The worst school in the entire city. Every student here is a dead end. Not one worth anything. Vivian arrives at the gates of Eastside High and scoffs. Richard, look at this place. The worst school in the city. Every student here is useless. Not a single decent one. She glares at Richard. Look at the school your son goes to. Richard takes one look, unimpressed. Which class is he in? Go in and ask. Vivian goes inside to find the school administration. They look up when they see her, clearly surprised, and call in Hao's homeroom teacher, Ms. Lin. And you are? His relatives. Ms. Lin raises an eyebrow. Hao's relatives? That's right, where is he? Call him out, I need to see him. Vivian gets straight to the point. Ms. Lin shakes her head. I'm sorry, Hao took the day off. He's not here, he went out for something. Went out? Where? Vivian's anger flares immediately. He's out running around, I knew it. I knew he never studied, never opened a book, never showed up to class. Ms. Lin watches them frowning. I don't know where he went either. I can't reach him right now. Try coming back tomorrow. Did he come to class yesterday? Vivian demands. He did, but he's off today. Exactly what relation are you to him? Ms. Lin is clearly curious. Vivian doesn't want to explain. Let's go. We're going to the police. She just feels humiliated. She walks out with Richard. The police might not be able to find him right away either. We may have to wait until tomorrow. Call Rose, Richard says. Rose will know where he is. Vivian is too furious to hesitate. She pulls out her phone and calls Rose. Rose! Where on earth has Hao run off to? Rose is already on her way to find him. Yesterday she got Hao's address from the police and just drove to the location, only to find that Hao isn't there at all. She hears Vivian's question and answers quickly. Mom, Dad, don't go looking for Hao yet. Let me handle it. If I don't go after him myself, he'll think he can do whatever he wants. Vivian snaps. He's been gone for days. What is he even doing out there? Rose sighs. Mom, have you forgotten? You and Dad both signed the severance agreement. What? Vivian explodes. You and Dad both signed it, and Hao seems to be taking it seriously, Rose says patiently. Mom, you haven't forgotten, have you? Hao was an orphan. He grew up in an orphanage. What's your point? Vivian snaps. We signed a piece of paper, and now he thinks he can do whatever he wants? I'm telling you, Vivian says, even with that signature, he is not getting away from me. Rose presses on. Mom, what exactly do you want from him? You never gave him anything. No clothes, no allowance. What's the point of bringing him back? Rose can't hold back anymore. Are you trying to trap him inside this house forever? Vivian's anger surges. What are you talking about? The doctor already said it. Hao is malnourished. He had no food in this house, barely ate at all. I genuinely don't understand why you want him back, Rose says. She still can't bring herself to say it plainly. He is your brother. Of course we bring him home. You want him wandering the streets? He's young, full of bad habits. If we don't keep a close eye on him, he'll be completely out of control. I'm telling you, Rose, he is not going anywhere. He stays in this house, Vivian insists. He's been gone long enough this time. He's had his share of suffering. Then her voice sharpens. When I get my hands on him, I will make him pay. Rose listens and feels a chill sweep through her chest. She didn't expect Vivian to think this way. Once upon a time, she might have thought nothing of it, but now it sends ice through her veins and makes her skin crawl. Mom, how can you? Rose takes a deep breath. Tears are already pressing against her eyes. Why do you hate him so much? What did he ever do to you that you want him destroyed like this? What are you even talking about? He is your brother. I am doing this for his own good. Vivian rages. Where are you getting these ideas? Did Hao put you up to this? I'm telling you, Rose, every bad habit in that boy needs to be stamped out. Rose listens to this and almost laughs through her tears. I'm not coming home. And just like that, Rose hangs up. As for Vivian showing up later, Hao couldn't care less. Ms. Lin calls him too, and Hao has the school turn everyone away. There is nothing to discuss. He has no idea what they're thinking, coming here to find him like this. Hao waits out the day, and finally the banana price hits 2.3 yuan per pound. The group can't sit still. 2.3, that's more than double. Close enough, Derek says, grinning with excitement. Hao, let's sell now. Grace looks to Hao. The price hasn't hit the peak Hao had in mind, 2.5 per pound, but it's good enough for now. Peak price would require top quality fruit. Their bananas have been sitting for days now. They might not hold. The market window is closing fast. They have to move now if they want to make real money. Sell. Sell everything. Hao waves his hand. Let's go. I'll head to the wholesale market. I'll call the buyer. I'll get the truck. One call, and everyone springs into action. The whole group is buzzing, moving fast. More hands make light work. None of them are the type to overthink. When it's time to move, they move. Decisive and sharp. Over 20,000 pounds of bananas, and they track down a buyer at the wholesale market in no time. The buyer knows exactly where the market stands. When he hears Hao has over 20,000 pounds, he sends a 30-foot truck over immediately. Hey, didn't you buy these bananas 5 days ago? The buyer seems to remember this batch. Back then, Hao and the others came to the wholesale market to buy in bulk, going from seller to seller. They were in school uniforms, young, hard to miss in a market like this. That's right, we bought them 5 days ago. We've kept them here the whole time, don't worry. We watered them every day. They're in perfect condition, Hao says with a smile. The buyer hears this and immediately gives them a thumbs up, full of admiration. Impressive. You kids are something else. Derek, Grace, and the others burst out laughing. Because of this deal, their names start spreading quietly through the wholesale market. A few high schoolers doing business, pulling in tens of thousands overnight. That kind of thing almost never happens. So the buyer, along with everyone else, including the one who rented them the storage space, can't help but respect them. Selling the bananas is simple enough. Crate by crate, they carry everything out. This run, they stockpiled 23,000 pounds of bananas and over 1,000 pounds of longan fruit, more than enough to rake in a serious profit. When all the bananas and longan are sold out, the group stares at the cash in their hands, barely able to contain themselves. We did it. We actually made it. We made real money. The college exam fees are covered. Let's grab some food and celebrate. Hao, you did the most. Take a bigger cut. Lisa laughs. Hao shakes his head, smiling. No need. I'm not short on cash. We split by what we put in. Fair is fair. Hao, Lisa's right. Derek laughs. Without you this time, none of us would have made this much. Take a bigger share. Grace grins. Exactly. Hao, we all want to give you 10% of our profits. Keep the rest, and we're more than happy. Hao laughs out loud. I already put in over 10,000 yuan. Way more than any of you. Stop overthinking it. Take what's yours. The others stop pushing and just laugh. So what's next, Hao? What do we do next time? We've got capital now. Hao says with a smile. There will definitely be a next time. But first, we study hard. The college exam is coming. We can't afford to slip. Hao, of course, has plenty of ways to make money. There are plenty of things worth investing in. Bitcoin is the priority, but Hao knows exactly what he's dealing with. The market is clearly being manipulated. He won't put all his eggs in one basket. Real businesses, online stores, mobile gaming, real estate, real businesses, online stores, mobile gaming, real estate, and news media, a news aggregator app, investing in a mobile gaming startup. It's the year 2013 and real estate is rising fast. With the rapid spread of smartphones, games are flooding onto mobile. This is one of the biggest boom years for mobile gaming. Countless developers are raking in fortunes. Hao is still in high school. He doesn't know software well enough to build a game himself, but he can make money in the stock market, and not just Bitcoin. Once he has a real pile of capital, he can invest in larger ventures and build businesses of his own. For now, Hao keeps all of this to himself. He doesn't tell Derek or Grace any of it. He doesn't want to distract them before the exam. Once he has enough money, he spends 2,000 yuan on a laptop. He signs up for a crypto exchange, opens a brokerage account, and sets the snowball rolling. Right now, the exchange hasn't been shut down yet. Bitcoin is still dirt cheap. Buying in isn't hard at all. In just one day, Hao receives his first Bitcoin through the exchange. Bitcoin is stored locally. The exchange is just a platform to trade on. As long as he buys and keeps it safe, it's his. And the price of Bitcoin doesn't just go up. It rises and falls, up and down, a roller coaster. As long as Hao can ride those swings, buying low, selling high, the profits will keep coming. 3 days have passed and the family still hasn't found Hao. Rose is getting anxious. They went to the school, but the school says they are not Hao's sisters or relatives. They went to the school to look for him, only to be told they have no relation to him. Hao has always been listed as an orphan. That shocks Rose. She turns to Vivian. Vivian lets out a cold laugh. If he's not at school, where else would he go? But she dodges the real question, likely out of carelessness or an unwillingness to acknowledge what Hao truly is to her. Looking back, the grandparents always said it was Vivian's negligence that allowed Hao to be taken away, handed off, and sent to the orphanage. The grandparents blamed Vivian bitterly, and there were terrible fights over it. Vivian had been carrying that rage ever since. When Hao was finally brought back, she was happy for the first few days, but gradually she grew afraid that Hao's presence would affect Tyler, so she kept her distance. In her heart, Tyler, brilliant, tall, and charming, was her real son. She held him like he was made of glass, afraid he'd shatter. Hao was the one she picked up off the street. And honestly, Rose used to feel the same way. Compared to Tyler, polished and well-mannered, Hao had nothing going for him. The sisters at home mostly adored Tyler and wanted nothing to do with Hao. They thought he was dirty and beneath them. If Rose hadn't gone through those records, she might never have understood what Hao's life in this house was really like. Vivian barely gave him anything, let alone a share of the family's name or fortune. That included Rose herself. None of them would have let Hao benefit from the Wang name. Rose feels cold all the way through. There's nothing she can do. Hao isn't at school. Rose has no choice but to contact the police. Vivian and Richard, meanwhile, have other things to attend to. They leave first. Vivian, in the end, hasn't forgotten that Hao is her biological son. Before she goes, she remembers. He is her blood. She tells Rose to contact her the moment Hao is found. Rose feels like she can't breathe. Hao has been missing for over 10 days now. 10 days without coming home. What could possibly be more important than finding him? Rose knows Vivian doesn't really care. Where do you think Hao went? Hannah asks. She came along. No idea. We wait for the police, Rose says. She has no other option. Hao should be at school, but the school won't let them in, afraid they'll disturb the students. Hao has told the school he has no family, no relatives of any kind. The school believed him. Ms. Lin just spoke to them directly. I have no record of Hao having any family. He has always been an orphan. Why are you pretending to be his family? You are not permitted on school grounds. You are absolutely not allowed to disturb our students during class. I've already told you, Hao is an orphan. Stop pushing. Vivian tries to argue with Ms. Lin anyway, but Rose steps in quickly and pulls her back before it escalates. Meanwhile, the police come through faster than expected. The officer tracks down footage and findings for them. This kid, he says, shaking his head with a hint of admiration. This high schooler is something else. We just made some inquiries. Apparently he rented a large warehouse near the East Side wholesale market to stockpile bananas and longan fruit. He and his friends have been watching over the goods personally, keeping guard over all of it. Longan prices spiked over the last few days. They made a serious amount, tens of thousands of yuan. Tens of thousands? Hannah is stunned. The officer nods. That's right, several sellers over there confirmed it. He bought the bananas at 1 yuan per pound. After the storm, he sold them for over 2 yuan. He must have seen the storm coming, predicted the price would jump, and moved fast to buy in bulk. Rose asks, have they just finished selling everything? The bananas and longan? They're on their way back to school right now. Wait at the school gate. You should be able to catch him, the officer says. Thank you, Rose says. The officer waves it off and leaves. Rose, Hao's instincts are sharp. He actually stockpiled bananas to make money. Is what the police said really true? Hannah asks. The police confirmed it. It's almost certainly accurate, Rose says. By the way, did you look through those records? I haven't. Hannah shifts uneasily. I'll get to them in a few days. There's just so much in there. Hannah, you already know, don't you? Rose looks at her steadily. Hannah freezes. He used to look up to you, really admired you, didn't he? Rose already knows the answer. After all, Hao used to sneak into Hannah's music classes and proudly introduced her to his friends. He used to fawn over her like a puppy, worshipping her, adoring her. Back then, Hannah only found it irritating and suffocating. She can't bring herself to read through the chat history because she's afraid of what she'll find. Regardless, Hao is our brother, our blood. Rose looks at her and speaks plainly. Stella, Tessa, Wendy, Luna, I'll deal with them later. You are his second oldest sister. You should understand what that means. And read it. Rose gives her a hard look. Today has been a big payday. Hao, Derek, and the others are in high spirits. The group heads to the shopping street and each buys a pair of shoes and a new outfit. It has been a long time since any of them had money for clothes. This time, they let themselves splurge a little. The four of them head back toward Eastside High to catch the rest of the day. And just as they arrive at the school gate, Hao spots a luxury car parked just outside. Two tall, elegant young women with their hair in buns step out of the car. They seem to have spotted him. Hao's brow furrows. A wave of disgust hits him. What do they want now? Derek, you guys head in first. I'll catch up. Hao turns and tells the others. Derek, Grace, and Lisa take one look. They get it immediately. Got it. When Rose spots Hao, she feels a rush of relief. She and Hannah quickly walk toward him. Hao, where have you been? Rose calls out. She sees him about to walk past her toward the school and steps in to block him. Hao, we've been looking everywhere for you. Come home with us first. Hannah stares at him too. Hao looks at Hannah, this pretty second sister of his. He thinks for a moment, then opens his backpack and digs around inside. He pulls out an old tape recorder and some cassette tapes and holds them out to Hannah. I figure you keep coming to Eastside High for a reason, and it's probably this. You're right, I shouldn't have kept it. He pushes it toward her. He presses it into her hands. You come all the way to Eastside High. It must be for this. Fair enough, I shouldn't have held on to it. He gives it to Hannah. Take it back. Hannah glances at it and feels a flush of shame. That's not why we came. Come home with us first. Not for this? Hao lets out a cold laugh. It's just a tape recorder and a few cassette tapes. I can get my own. Giving it back to you. That should settle things between us. Hannah is startled. That tape recorder and those cassettes. Vivian gave them to Hao shortly after he first came back to the Wang family. When Vivian gave them away, Hannah was furious. They were her tape recorder and cassettes, kept for years, filled with her own songs. Vivian took them and handed them to Hao, and Hannah complained loudly about it right in front of both of them. For 2 years, Hannah had been wanting that tape recorder back, afraid Hao wouldn't take care of something so precious to her. Now Hao is handing it back. Hannah suddenly feels sick inside. Hao, I'm sorry. Rose's eyes go red. She opens her mouth to speak. Don't. Hao cuts her off. Don't come here shedding crocodile tears. I know exactly what you're doing. You want to use me to score points with Tyler. That is not happening. I'm telling you both, stay out of my life, because karma always comes around. How can you talk to us like this? Hannah is shaken. How should I talk to you then? Get down on my knees. Hao stares at her, cold as ice. You think I've forgotten everything? This isn't the first time you've pulled this in front of Tyler. Hannah flinches. I didn't. We just want you to come back. Come home with us first. Come home? Hannah presses. We just want you to come back. Come home with us. Hao laughs, sharp and mocking. Hannah, are you out of your mind? Or do you just not have one? Why would I go anywhere with you? Who do you think you are? I'm telling you, every single thing this family has done to me, I remember. Every last thing. Don't think for a second you're walking away clean. Rose goes pale. Hao, we really are just here to bring you home. Mom and Dad are looking for you. You should come back with us. Hao stares at Rose. Rose, karma is coming for you too. Rose is struck silent. She stands there, frozen. Hao has nothing more to say. He steps around them and walks forward. Hannah immediately erupts. Mom and Dad are furious. You dare walk away? They told you to come home first. Hao turns back and laughs. Let me tell you something, Hannah. I have been an orphan my whole life. I've got nothing to lose. If anyone in this family tries to push me around, I won't back down. Listen carefully. I am an orphan. My family is gone. All of them. Completely gone. They died 18 years ago. Hannah's whole body jolts. Her eyes go wide. Don't come looking for me unless you have to. The more you come, the more karma you bring on yourselves. None of you can escape it. Hao turns and walks away. Rose has gone white. She doesn't dare stop him. Her whole body is trembling. Hannah's face has gone pale. Hao walks straight into the school, and neither of them can follow. They both fall into a stunned silence. The air around them feels ice cold. Neither of them expected Hao to speak like that. They don't even know how they end up back in the car, both sitting in dead silence. The air feels frozen. They never imagined Hao could say those things. So cruel, so extreme, so full of hatred. This is nothing like the timid, shrinking boy he used to be in the Wang house. They still remember how Hao used to be, always smiling, always eager to please. Even when Vivian scolded him, he would still laugh it off and tell them he was fine. They remember the family trip last year. Stella hid Hao's phone, so he had no way to reach anyone. Then Tyler suddenly fell ill, and the family left Hao behind without a second thought, rushing Tyler to the hospital. Not one person waited for him. Hao walked over 10 kilometers alone, trying to find his way back. When the police finally brought him home, he still laughed and told everyone he was fine, that he had gotten lost, and he was sorry for worrying them. Back then, The sisters laughed at him for it. Now he is cursing them to their faces. How much despair must a person carry to say that his whole family is dead and gone? Rose can barely believe it. Hannah's expression is pained. He feels like a stranger, she says softly. Rose draws a quiet breath. Are you getting back on your own, or do I drive you? What, we're not going in to find him? Hannah is surprised. After all of that, what is there to find? Rose says flatly. I have things to do. Rose feels completely wrung out. She has no words left. Hannah goes quiet too. Read through those records, Rose finally says. Whatever you think, just read them. She starts the car, drops Hannah off at the mansion, then drives to the office. The records, she herself hasn't gotten through most of them. The further she reads, the harder it gets. She drives herself to work, and she too hasn't been able to finish. The closer she gets to the end, the worse it seems to get. Whatever Hao wrote there, it frightens her too much to continue. Maybe it's good that Hannah reads it too. Hannah stands at the gate of the Wang mansion, watching Rose drive away. A quiet panic rises in her chest. She has some sense of what Rose is talking about. She just can't bring herself to face it. And what just happened with Hao has shaken her to her core. He practically cursed every one of them to their graves. This is nothing like family. It feels like enemies facing each other. At least in Hao's eyes, that's exactly what they are. Hannah goes inside. The house is empty. Vivian and Richard are both out. Stella isn't home either. She's an actress and singer with her own schedule. Hannah goes to her room. She lies on the bed and tries to rest, but the unease won't let her settle. She picks up her phone and opens the message Rose sent her. There's a lot of it. Rose has already sorted it and put it together. Hannah glanced at it yesterday and stopped. She couldn't take it, but now she forces herself to read. Maybe they truly were cold-blooded, or maybe they just couldn't accept a brother like him. Then she reads, My music teacher, Hannah has released music albums. Derek, I'm sending them to you. Listen, these are songs Hannah wrote herself. There's one she wrote for her family. Hannah knows that song. It's called Safe Harbor. The lyrics speak of home as the only shelter, warm and gentle. The world is wide, but home is small. Love is the only thing that truly marks us. She wrote it at 19, a song about family. The world is wide, but home is small. Love is the only thing that truly marks us. She wrote it at 19. She released it as a tribute to family, and it barely made a ripple. She has no idea how Hao found it, or why he shared it with his friends. She keeps reading. Hannah likes glutinous rice balls. Hannah likes collecting postcards. Hannah likes pretty dresses. Hannah also likes cake. Today I mopped the floors, and the floor got too slippery. Hannah almost slipped. I feel absolutely terrible. That last entry, followed by several crying emojis. Hannah pauses. She remembers this. Hao had volunteered to help the housekeeper that day, mopped his way all the way into the living room. She came downstairs, foot slipped on the wet floor, nearly fell, went pale with the shock. When Hannah saw it was Hao's doing, she erupted. She called him over and tore into him. You love mopping so much? Then mop the entire mansion, every floor top to bottom. If it's not spotless, you don't get to rest. It was just venting, words said in anger, but Hao took it literally. She left for school without another thought. About 5 or 6 days later, Tessa sent a video to the group chat. Hao had actually mopped the entire mansion. Tessa and Wendy mocked him for it, said he must be trying to suck up to Vivian and Richard. The sisters all looked down on him for it. Apparently, after finishing, Hao was pale and drenched in sweat. He could barely do anything but lie down. He went to sleep without eating. Back then, Hannah didn't give it a second thought. She thought he deserved it. She couldn't even be bothered to tell Tessa and Wendy it was her idea. Hannah draws a slow breath now. Her face is white. She keeps reading. Hannah's car is so beautiful. She keeps reading. Hannah's car is so beautiful. I think it's called a Porsche. Attached to the message are a few photos. The angles are odd, most taken from upstairs, far away from the car. He didn't dare get close. Hannah drove out to class. Hannah drove home. Hannah's car got muddy. Hannah told Rose the car is hard to drive and she wants a new one. Hannah got into a scrape. She scratched another car. There is so much more. Hannah can barely breathe. She knows Hao loved that car. Whenever he used to see it, he would creep over and reach out, just wanting to touch it. But the moment Hannah saw him, she exploded. She went straight at him. Don't you dare touch my car. I will hurt you. Don't touch my car. You're filthy. You are absolutely filthy. You touch it and I'll cut your hands off. She still remembers the time Hao saw her car sitting in the courtyard, covered in mud and fallen leaves. He looked it over, then went and got a bucket of water and washed it for her. By the time he finished, Hannah had just come home, and she erupted. Without a word, she walked straight over and slapped him across the face, hard. The threat about cutting his hands off, that was the moment she said it. After the slap, Hao looked terrified. He went completely pale. The bucket dropped from his hands. He stood there covering his cheek, trembling. I'm sorry, Hannah. I didn't mean to. Your car was dirty. That has nothing to do with you. If you ever touch my car again, I will cut your hands off and throw them out for the dogs. Do you hear me? Do you? I hear you. Hao was shaking, his eyes full of fear, not knowing what to do with himself. Back then, Hannah felt satisfied. Now, reading this, Hannah feels like the air has been knocked out of her. Something squeezes hard around her heart. Then another message appears. It's Hannah's birthday. Derek, Mrs. Zhao told me today is Hannah's birthday. Hannah likes postcards and glutinous rice balls. Come with me to find some. We have to get her the best ones. Then, Hannah is having friends over for her birthday. So many people, all of them in the living room. But Hannah won't let me come inside. She told me to wait outside until they're done. Hannah suddenly remembers. Her body goes rigid. She forces herself to read the next line. It's pouring outside. So cold. When is Hannah? Because Hannah was hosting her friends that night. She had invited a whole crowd over. She told Hao he could not come home. He had to stay outside. That night, a storm hit. It was cold. Hao apparently sheltered in a small gazebo just outside the front gate and stayed there for most of the night. Hannah remembers that evening. They were in the living room singing, playing games, loud and laughing, completely lost in it. She had forgotten entirely that a boy was outside in the rain waiting for them to finish. The reason she didn't want him inside, she was ashamed of him. She didn't want to introduce him to her friends. She was afraid he'd embarrass her. Hannah's eyes began to sting. Back then she didn't think she'd done anything wrong. He was dirty. He really was embarrassing. But looking back now, she can see what she planted. She, a graduate who had studied abroad, with all of that behind her. Hannah remembers she also slapped Hao once. It was the second time she had invited her friends over to the mansion. Hao suddenly appeared from the second floor. Her friends spotted him. They didn't know who he was and asked Hannah to introduce him. Hannah said he was the housekeeper's kid. She never admitted he was her brother. Hao seemed embarrassed by this. He didn't explain himself. One of the friends thought Hao looked young and decided to have some fun. She knocked a drink onto the floor and told him to clean it up, then pretended to accidentally spill another drink all over him. Hao didn't get angry. He just looked mortified. Seeing how he reacted, the friend laughed and said he had a good temper for a servant boy. After that, they ordered him to bring food and drinks, waiting on all of them while they ate and drank. Hannah felt humiliated, especially watching Hao smile and fawn over her friends like that. She snapped. She went straight to him and slapped him hard across the face. "Stay away from my friends. I'm telling you, you have humiliated me today. You were supposed to stay in your room. How did you even end up down here? Embarrassing. You are absolutely embarrassing. I have never seen anyone this pathetic in my life. I'm telling you, whenever I have people over, you disappear. I don't want to see you. Not ever." All she remembers after that is Hao standing there, completely pale, that same look of panic on his face, eyes flooded with fear. I'm sorry," he said, terrified. "Don't ever show up at my school again. I never want to see you. Don't touch my car. You can't afford to replace it. Don't let my friends see you again. Get out of my sight." Hannah walked back to her room feeling completely satisfied. She left Hao standing there, terrified. From that moment on, he never went to her school again, never slipped into her classes, never touched her car. He only dared to watch from a distance and take photos from far away. Every one of those photos was taken from far away, full of longing. And when she had friends over, needless to say, Hao never went near them again. "My family has been gone for a long time. They died 18 years ago." Those words echo back to her. Hannah trembles. She can't keep reading. Panic floods through her. It feels like something is squeezing her from the inside. She calls Rose. "Rose, I read part of it. Is yours like this too?" Rose seems busy. She pauses briefly before answering. "Yeah, Rose, this can't be my fault. It's because of him." Hannah is shaking, barely able to finish the sentence. She wants to make excuses. "Because of him what?" Rose says flatly. "Because he used to be an orphan, because he used to survive like a cockroach, scraping food out of the gutter, or because he was never good enough to be our brother, and always will be just an orphan." Hannah is stunned. "Rose, I never thought that. You saw how dirty he was." "Hannah, his family really is gone. That includes you and me. We're dead to him too." Hannah jolts. Rose isn't wrong. We're dead to him. And honestly, Hannah can't find fault with it. He is an orphan. He always has been. "I'll send you my records too. Take a look," Rose continues. "I had no idea how much he looked up to you, how much he looked up to me. He must have admired you deeply." Rose goes on. "You said he used to sneak into your classes without telling you, and got thrown out by your students. You said he tracked down your music and shared it with his friends. Hannah, you were once his pride, someone he worshipped with everything he had, but sadly, you're dead too. In his heart, we are all dead." Meanwhile, Hao has been buying Bitcoin at 1 yuan per coin and selling at 160 yuan per coin. At the current Bitcoin price, roughly 1.2 million yuan total market value. Within just one day, Bitcoin jumps from $20 to $25. That's a 25% surge. With 200 coins, his final selling price comes out to 32,000 yuan. That single move nets him 7 to 8,000 yuan. Now Bitcoin is sliding back down, expected to fall to around $21. When it does, Hao will buy the dip again. Making money with Bitcoin is straightforward. It snowballs, growing bigger and bigger. As long as he stays disciplined and doesn't get sucked in, he can build up enough capital to start something real. Once he has money, the opportunities keep opening up. Real estate, the tech industry, brick and mortar businesses. Hao knows exactly how powerful the Wang family is. Rose alone controls a cosmetics company worth over 10 billion yuan, a publicly listed company, and Richard's jewelry business is worth just as much, valued in the hundreds of billions, not counting the rest of the family's holdings. No ordinary family comes close. So for Hao to catch up to them, it will take tremendous effort, and Hao knows full well how dangerous Tyler is. He is far more than just a high school student. His grades are exceptional, his mind is razor sharp, his thinking runs deep. No ordinary person comes close to him. In his past life, Hao spent 20 years in spirit form, and never once encountered someone someone as dangerous as Tyler. Once Tyler took control of the family business, he drove several of the sisters to their deaths, seized total power, and ran the company with an iron fist, turning it into a trillion-dollar empire. Hao will not underestimate this opponent. Rose appears to feel guilty, but Hao knows that means nothing. Rose has never seen that Tyler is the real problem. Tyler is terrifying. Rose has tried to frame him multiple times, but always with others, rarely acting alone. She understands clearly, if she gets caught framing him too often, it will turn people against her, so she keeps it rare. Tyler, meanwhile, knows exactly where his advantage lies. As long as Hao looks bad enough, Tyler doesn't even need to act. Hao won't threaten his position. All Tyler has to do is study hard, perform well, stay in Vivian's good graces, and no one can touch him. All 6 sisters still adore him, still feel sorry for him. Even if Hao returned home, they would still see Tyler as the one they love most. Study hard, win Vivian over, and no one will ever force him out. All 6 sisters would still take his side. Even with Hao back, they would still think Tyler is the best of them all. So going after Tyler right now is not realistic. Hao no longer wants anything to do with the Wang family, but if he can humiliate them along the way, he will enjoy every second of it. For now, the plan is simple: make enough money, and push his college exam score as high as it can go. He wants to become the top scorer on the college entrance exam. In his past life, Tyler was the top science scorer in the city, placing in the top 30 overall. Hao holds himself to a higher standard. This time around, he will take that top science title and place in the top 20 overall. Once he reaches that, he can get into the university he wants and take the next step toward building something of his own. It won't be easy, but that's fine. He remembers the exam questions from his past life. Even if some memories are blurry, grinding through practice problems will fill the gaps. Back at his place, Hao watches Bitcoin begin to slide again, and sets his next buy plan in motion. He now has over 30,000 yuan in hand. Next time he can buy in heavier. Bitcoin moves fast, sometimes crashing hard, sometimes spiking sharply. As long as he stays calm, he can handle it. Once he's done with all of this, Hao slings his backpack over his shoulder and heads to school without a care. But the moment he reaches the school gate, 2 familiar cars are parked out front. Hao's brow tightens. Rose, Vivian, and Richard all step out. 2 bodyguards trail behind them. "Hao!" Rose calls out. Hao doesn't even glance at them. He walks straight past. He heads for the school entrance. "Hao, stop right there. You get more out of control every day. You can't even greet us?" Vivian sees that Hao is ignoring her completely. Vivian sees Hao paying her no attention whatsoever and erupts with fury, but Hao walks on as if he heard nothing. He keeps moving. "Lu, stop him," Vivian snaps. "Yes, ma'am." The bodyguard steps in front of Hao, cutting him off. Hao has nowhere to go. He turns and stares at Vivian and the others, his expression like he swallowed something rotten. Rose blinks, her eyes instantly going red. How dare you call your sister by her full name? Where have you been these past 2 weeks?" Vivian is already furious and walks straight at Hao. Hao sees her hand coming and doesn't hesitate for a single second. He drops his backpack, reaches in, and pulls out a knife in one clean motion. "Hao, what are you doing?" Richard and Rose are both stunned. They rush toward him. "I don't know what you think you're doing here, but the way you're looking at me, it's not good." Hao grips the knife, eyes locked on all 3 of them. "Let me be clear, my life is worth nothing. If I die, I die. But you 3 had better not think you'll walk away clean either. 1 life for 3. I'll take that trade." "You dare!" Vivian explodes. "I dare plenty," Hao says coldly. "You make a move, I make a move." Vivian stares at the knife in Hao's hand and goes completely still. She can't believe it. She had fully intended to come over and slap him, just to put him in his place. The bodyguard had blocked Hao so he couldn't leave, but no one expected Hao to pull out a knife and point it directly at her. Vivian's fury comes roaring back. "Hao, you treat me like this? You treat your own mother like this? Do I deserve this from you? What kind of person are you?" Hao spits on the ground, furious. "I have nothing to say to any of you. You need to leave, now." Vivian's rage explodes. "You ungrateful little, how dare you speak to me like this? You have no manners whatsoever." "No manners? Fine, I'm an orphan. My entire family, over a dozen people, all died 18 years ago. Who do you think you are, pretending to be my mother?" Hao fires back. "You need to walk away right now. I have no connection to any of you." How dare you talk like this? "I am your father," Richard snaps, his anger finally breaking. Hao looks at Richard and laughs. He reaches into his backpack and pulls out several sheets of paper and holds them out. "Take a good look, Mr. Wang. I suggest you think carefully about what you've done. I'm not going to drag up everything from the past. You signed it yourselves. Are you going to pretend you didn't?" Richard stares at the papers in Hao's hand and goes rigid with shock. "I don't care why you came to Eastside High, but you had better stop coming here to disturb me. I have no connection to you. None whatsoever. Not to a single person in this family." Vivian's fury turns ice cold. "You ungrateful child. You are going to be the death of me. Is that what you want?" Vivian is seething, teeth clenched. "If I could make you drop dead with rage, wouldn't that be something?" Hao shoots back. "Let me tell you all something. If any of you try to push me around, if you send your bodyguards to block me again, I will not hold back. I have got nothing to lose. I will not think twice about putting this knife to use." Vivian is stunned into silence. "How? Do you even hear yourself? You ungrateful. How dare you pull a knife? Whether I pull a knife depends on whether you try to hurt me. Vivian, you have hit me more times than I can count. I am done." Hao's voice is ice cold. "Try it. I mean every word. You want to drive me over the edge?" Vivian shakes with rage. Who's driving who over the edge? Hao erupts. I'm telling you, none of you are going to walk away from this clean. I can't come after you yet, because I'm not strong enough. But the moment I am, you had all better be ready. Every humiliation, every bit of mockery I have swallowed over these 4 years, I will return it 100-fold. Rose's whole body jolts. She claps a hand over her mouth. She almost breaks down right there. Richard is shaken too. He has never seen Hao like this. In the Wang house, Hao was always timid and small, eager to please everyone, never pushing back, even when he was punished. Even when the sisters turned on him, he never fought back. Sometimes Vivian would ban him from eating for an entire afternoon. And yet now, Hao has turned completely. The things coming out of his mouth, so cruel, so cold, leave Richard both stunned and furious. Vivian is even worse. She is shocked too, but far more enraged. That Hao would speak to her this way, that he would point a knife at her, is a direct challenge to her authority, a challenge to everything she is willing to tolerate. She cannot accept that this is happening. Hao, do you even know what you're saying? Vivian's expression goes cold and still. She stares at Hao through clenched teeth. Of course I know, Hao says, staring back without a trace of fear. I don't just know, I know it completely. I know it with absolute clarity. Every single one of you is my enemy. Every single one of you is my enemy. Every humiliation, every cruel joke I've endured these past 4 years, it all traces back to you, Vivian. You won't get away with this. Karma always comes around. I can't make you pay right now, but one day someone will. Richard can't hold back any longer. He explodes with rage. He storms forward, hands swinging toward Hao's face, but Hao raises the knife. Richard freezes. I know exactly what you want to do, Hao says, eyes locked on Richard. But those days are over. I won't take it anymore. If you dare, I have no problem burning it all down. Richard slowly pulls his hand back. His expression turns to ice. Hao, you think you've got wings now? Think you can fly solo? Ha! So what if I do? What exactly have I ever gotten from this family? Don't kid yourself, Richard. In this house I couldn't even get a meal. Hao watches Richard lower his hand. A bitter laugh escapes him. Richard suddenly remembers that Hao never came downstairs to eat. Richard goes still. Of course, Hao continues. I do owe you. A few pounds of flesh and years of living expenses. Don't worry. I'll pay it all back. As for the flesh, if you want it back, I can go to the hospital and have a doctor cut it off for you. Another bitter laugh. But if you think you can keep humiliating me, mocking me, playing games with me, then what you're going to get is bloodshed. Have you lost your mind? I'm your mother. Vivian erupts. Get out of here with that. Don't flatter yourself. Hao shoots back. You're the worst one in this entire family. Vivian is shaking with fury. She lunges forward, ready to unleash on him, but Rose quickly steps in and blocks her. Get lost, Hao says, dismissive. Don't think I don't see it. You are the worst person in this family. I'm your mother. Please. What a joke. Vivian is livid. She's about to tear into him when Rose cuts in. Stop, Mom. Just stop. Then to Hao. Put the knife away. Hao glances at Rose and smirks. Coming in for the save? You always did know how to play the moment, Rose. Never saw you do it before, though. Rose flinches. Fine, I'm not going to argue with any of you. Wherever you came from, go back there. What a joke this family is. Hao spits, grabs his backpack off the ground, and turns to leave. A bodyguard steps forward to block him. As Hao walks into the school, he glances back one more time. He blinks slowly, a mocking smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. Then he disappears inside. He makes me so furious. That ungrateful little... Back in the car, Vivian is still seething. Richard's eyes burn with fury too. Hao's words were unforgivable. He even called them by their first names. That alone is enough to make Richard's blood boil. Richard, that son of yours is done. Finished. He's become a complete waste, Vivian snaps. Disloyal, ungrateful, unfilial, and he had the nerve to pull a knife. He's a complete disgrace. Richard says nothing, fury simmering inside. I'm cutting off his allowance. Let him come crawling back. He thinks he's grown. Thinks he can fly on his own? I'll show him that's impossible. Burning with rage. Richard actually pauses. He goes cold. A quiet, bitter laugh. Cut his allowance? That's $500 a month, Vivian snaps. I'm not giving him a single cent. Let's see where that gets him. This is an unforgivable betrayal. So not only am I cutting his allowance, but if he refuses to admit he's wrong, I will not allow him to eat. I'm canceling his transit card, cutting off every single resource. I want him to know clearly, without the Wang family. He is nothing, she keeps going, her voice tightening with every word. I want to see how he comes crawling back. Rose sits quietly in the back seat, listening. Her heart sinks. Vivian has no idea that Hao has already made tens of thousands in just the past few days. Hannah, Stella, Tessa, Wendy, Luna. Tell all of them. Nobody gives Hao a single cent. I want to see what he does without money. How does he survive out there? Vivian snaps, turning around. Rose speaks up quietly. Mom, none of us have ever given Hao money. Stella, Tessa, Wendy, Luna. They all can't stand him. They won't give him anything. Good. Vivian looks slightly satisfied. Then her eyes narrow. Then where has his money been coming from? He must be stealing from us. Call Mrs. Zhao and Mr. Li. Find out if anything's missing. If it is, he'll regret it. Rose hesitates. Mom, if Hao really did take something, what do you think I'll do? I'll make him pay, Vivian says through gritted teeth. That little, he has no discipline, no respect. If I don't rein him in, he'll completely spin out of control. This time I will bring him to heel. Rose goes cold inside. She doesn't even know if she should make the call. Absolutely out of control. Completely out of control. The angrier Vivian gets, the louder she gets. I'm calling Ms. Lee right now. She yanks out her phone and dials. Hello, Ms. Lee. Ms. Lee, cut off Hao's allowance. Not a single cent. Let's see how he lives. Ma'am, Hao's monthly allowance is... Should I really stop it? Ms. Lee sounds confused. What kind of question is that? I said cut it all off. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Lee complies immediately. Still not satisfied, Vivian snaps. Get home now. I want Mrs. Zhao to go through everything. I refuse to believe I can't deal with him. The driver acknowledges and speeds back to the Wang mansion. Mrs. Zhao, Mr. Lee, search every room right now. Find out exactly what Hao took, and whatever's in his account. Freeze it all. Mrs. Zhao and Mr. Lee are both stunned, but they have no choice. They begin searching the house. Hannah, Stella, Tessa, Wendy, Luna. Did any of them say what he stole? Vivian turns to Rose. Rose sighs. Stella mentioned a missing ring a while back, worth around 50 or 60,000. Right. This is infuriating. Vivian snaps. Mr. Lee, pull up the security footage of him stealing. I want evidence to hand over to the police. Rose is shocked. Richard is stunned too. Vivian, what are you doing? Vivian snaps. If we don't handle it this way, he'll keep pulling knives on us. If we don't deal with him now, he'll only get worse. We can't go to the police. If he's found guilty, Hao goes to prison. Rose rushes to stop her. Mom, even if Hao was out of line today, you can't do this. Vivian fires back. Even if Hao was out of line today, you still can't do this. Vivian rages. Did you see what he did to us today? That ungrateful. He pulled a knife on his own mother. How can I just let that go? Richard cuts in. Either way, we're not taking this to the police. This is a family matter. But pull up that footage. I want proof he's been stealing. Let's see where he thinks he can go. Vivian seethes. Richard nods and agrees. He gives Mr. Lee the order. Hao has pushed them both to the edge, pulling a knife on his own parents. Richard feels his authority has been seriously challenged. If he doesn't put Hao in his place, this anger will never leave him. He wants to see how someone who's been stealing from his own family can talk about standing on his own or flying solo. Rose watches them both and feels nothing but heartbreak. Meanwhile, Mr. Lee gets to work immediately. He heads to the security room to pull up the footage. The house is large, and for security reasons, there are cameras both inside and outside every room. It's one of the most advanced surveillance systems in the world. No one can access it without authorization from two people. Now, with that clearance granted, Mr. Lee quickly finds the footage, but after reviewing it, he looks troubled. Sir, ma'am, we found no footage of young Hao stealing anything. We did find footage of him sneaking downstairs late at night to grab food. What? No footage? How is there no footage? Vivian stares at Mr. Lee. Ma'am, to protect privacy, there are fewer cameras indoors than outdoors. Young Hao did go into your room a few times, but he didn't take anything valuable. Just clothing, Mr. Lee says. You may want to check if any valuables are missing. Vivian instantly explodes with fury. I knew he was stealing. Richard also wants to see what Hao took. The sheer audacity of it. He nods immediately. They follow Vivian back to check their belongings. The Wang family is in the jewelry business. There's quite a collection at home. In Vivian and Richard's cabinets, there is no shortage of jewelry and accessories. Vivian and Richard go through the inventory. They pause. Nothing is missing. I don't believe it. Bring me the inventory list. They go through it again quickly, item by item. Every piece of jewelry, every necklace, all accounted for. Vivian clenches her jaw. Then who did he steal from? Something clicks. She looks up at Rose. Rose, go tell Hannah, Stella, Tessa, Wendy, and Luna. Find out if anyone's missing something. I want to know exactly how much Hao has taken from this family. Rose feels even more hollow inside. She steadies herself. Stella mentioned, a ring worth about 30,000 went missing. Tessa and the others haven't reported anything. Vivian stares at her. What about you? Rose shakes her head. Nothing from me. And Mom, Stella's missing ring doesn't prove Hao took it. She could have lost it somewhere. Besides, yesterday the police looked into the situation. How? It seems Hao made quite a lot of money during the storm these past few days. Rose hesitates then. Says it anyway. How did he make money? Vivian, unable to find any hard evidence, is growing more frustrated by the second. He was reselling live shrimp and crabs at the market. Still no evidence. Vivian's embarrassment is turning into rage. He was reselling live shrimp and crabs at the market. Apparently he bought them ahead of the storm, then sold them after prices jumped. Nearly doubled his money. I'd estimate he made tens of thousands. And a few days before that, he and his friends were stockpiling bananas and longans. The police say those prices more than doubled. Hao flipped the difference and made another tens of thousands. The moment those words land, both Vivian and Richard are caught off guard. In their minds, Hao has always been dead weight, someone who could never amount to anything, not compared to Rose or Hannah or even the youngest Tyler. And now he's out here flipping goods for profit? This is from the police investigation. There's footage too. During the storm, he wasn't hiding. He was running around making money. Rose listens. He's found his footing. He really does believe he can stand on his own. Mom, this time I think Hao is serious. He's not coming back. Rose steadies herself. And if he doesn't, where exactly does he think he'll go? He makes a few thousand and suddenly thinks he's unstoppable? I'm telling you, without the Wang family, he is nothing. Vivian seethes through gritted teeth. He'll come crawling back sooner or later, and this time I will make him fall in line. Rose, is there something else you're not telling me? Richard has gone quiet. He studies Rose with a frown. Rose glances at him, pauses briefly, then shakes her head. Nothing else. Richard's frown deepens. Something tells him she's holding back, but she clearly doesn't want to say it, so he lets it go for now. Where is Hao staying? Has he rented a place? Something clicks for Vivian. Rose nods. He's renting a room on the outskirts of the city. Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee! Vivian calls out sharply. Yes, ma'am? Mr. Lee steps forward. Vivian snaps. Take Ms. Lee and the others to that rental. Contact the police. Find wherever Hao is staying. I want him to have no roof over his head. Mr. Lee looks uneasy. He glances at Richard. Richard hesitates too. Mr. Lee speaks up carefully. Ma'am, young Hao. He pauses, choosing his words. Young Hao's college entrance exam is in 2 months. If he has nowhere to live, it could affect his exam. Is that really the right call? The college exam? What is he going to do at the college exam? He's useless. What school would even take him? I want him to regret this. Mr. Lee quickly looks to Richard. Richard says nothing. He clearly sides with Vivian. Mr. Lee thinks for a moment, then lets out a quiet sigh. Sir, ma'am, Miss Rose, you may not know this, but young Hao's grades are actually quite strong. Possibly on par with young Tyler. The moment that lands, all three are caught off guard. Rose stares at him. Mr. Lee, you know his grades? Miss Rose, ever since Hao started high school, he's worked incredibly hard. His grades have been outstanding. He's one of the top students at Eastside High, ranking in the top 200 across the entire city. No one ever thought to ask him. Mr. Lee sighs. Rose stares in disbelief. Since when? Since when? Since sophomore year, Mr. Lee continues. Rose doesn't wait another second. She's already moving toward the door. Rose, where are you going? To his school. She can barely breathe. She can't stay in this house a moment longer. She's out the door and in the car. Vivian and Richard never expected Hao's grades to be this good. They're both thrown. Mr. Lee, is this actually true? Hao broke into the city's top 200, and the past month he may have climbed even higher? If you don't believe me, go check with Eastside High. Young Hao's scores have consistently been very strong, Mr. Lee says. Let's go find out. Vivian refuses to believe it. She pulls Richard out the door. The driver pulls up quickly and drives them to Eastside High. Rose is already there. The principal eyes the three of them with suspicion. Vivian speaks first. Never mind who we are. I want to know how Hao is doing academically. Hao? He's one of the most outstanding students we have at Eastside High. However, with the college exam approaching, now, we're not at liberty to share specifics. Vivian snaps. What do you mean not at liberty? It's just a grade score. What is there to hide? The principal frowns. What are you hiding? Who are you people? Why do you want his grades? I'm his mother. The principal is stunned. Hao has parents? He's always been listed as an orphan. I thought he grew up in an orphanage. The principal looks them over. The expensive clothes, the jewelry. Nothing about them looks ordinary. The contrast makes it even more puzzling. You're dressed like this, and you're claiming to be Hao's family? That can't be right. Hao used to come to school without even a proper winter coat, wearing nothing but his uniform every single day. We heard he was going hungry. Teachers started inviting him to eat at their homes. Ms. Lin did it more than once. He went to her home for meals. Rose goes pale. The principal nods. Hao is an excellent student, truly gifted, but he's been living in poverty as an orphan. Once the teachers found out, they all felt terrible for him. They took turns having him over for meals. If you really are his family, dressed the way you are, why was he going hungry? You must be imposters. Rose and Vivian say nothing. His exam is right around the corner. I will not allow anything to disturb him. And he told me himself, he has no family. He said his family all died 18 years ago. Do not come to this school looking for him. The principal sees them go silent, and his expression hardens. Vivian snaps, if you don't tell me what I want to know, I'll get the police involved. Then go ahead. The principal has already made up his mind. These people are imposters. He's done with them. Vivian is furious. She storms out and calls the police. For a family like the Wangs, that's easy enough, and within minutes, a few officers arrive to sort things out. The officers confirm Hao's grades are exceptional, top of Eastside High, genuinely outstanding. The only concern is his health. He's thin and frail, collapsing from anemia so often that the teachers worry about him. His scores already put him in the city's top 200. On a good day, he could top the entire college entrance exam. He's one of Eastside High's most carefully developed students. A strong shot at the country's top universities. With the officers present, the principal holds nothing back. The moment the words land, Vivian and Richard are visibly shaken. Still, I don't believe you're his family. If you really were his parents, how could you not know his grades? From his first year at this school, he's been among the very best. I've always been told he was an orphan. No parents. No one. Vivian can't take another word. She walks out of the office. Thank you, Rose says quickly and follows. They leave together. So what if his grades are good? He still pulled a knife on us. That is an unforgivable betrayal. Out on the steps, Vivian is still seething. Good grades don't mean anything. This time, I will make him fall in line. Rose says nothing. She doesn't know what to say. Let's go home. Tell Hannah, Stella, Tessa, and the rest. Not 1 cent to Hao. I want him to have nowhere left to turn. Vivian can't shake her rage. Rose looks to Richard. Richard speaks. Good grades don't make up for everything. Hao has no discipline. He pulled a knife on his own parents. What else is he capable of? Let's go home. We'll figure out how to deal with him. Rose had hoped her father would say something different. She didn't expect this. She doesn't know what to feel. Sometimes, blind prejudice really can destroy a person. Vivian will never admit she's wrong. In her mind, she never is. Hannah likes glutinous rice balls. I made her glutinous rice balls. I was hoping she'd let me touch that car of hers. That car is so cool. But Hannah didn't want them. She threw them in the trash. While Rose and the others are away, Hannah has returned to her dorm at school. She takes out her phone and scrolls through old messages. She remembers those rice balls. Hao had brought them to her more than once. She never wanted them. She threw every single one away. Back then, Hannah had heard that Hao showed up at Rose's office uninvited, and she found it disgusting. So she refused to eat anything from him. Looking back now, Hannah feels sick to her stomach. I heard Hannah's new song, Derek. Hannah wrote a new song. It's called Listening to the Sea. You have to hear it. It's incredible. Derek, Grace, I hope one day we can reach the same level that she has. I think Hannah is on the same level as Rose. They're both among the most extraordinary people I know. Hannah can picture exactly how Hao looked when he sent those messages, full of warmth and admiration, but back then, Hannah couldn't stand him. She thought he was beneath her. She had tried to get close to him a few times, and he'd shut her down every time. After a while, she stopped trying. She could only watch from a distance. And the car, she never dared go near it again. Hannah feels her eyes sting. She reaches up and wipes them. The tears won't stay back. She picks up her phone and calls Rose. Rose, what exactly did Hao do? Rose has just gotten back to the office. She hears the question. Hannah, what exactly did Hao do? Rose has just settled back at her desk. Hannah, Mom and Dad went to confront Hao. He refused to back down. He pulled out a knife and pointed it at them. They're furious. What? Hannah goes still. When did this happen? Just now, Rose says. And there's more. At Eastside High, nobody knew Hao had a family. Every teacher, every administrator assumed he was an orphan. No parents, no one, nothing to eat, no one at all. He couldn't get a meal at our house, so he ate at the school cafeteria. Teachers told us there were times Hao passed out from hunger. What? Hannah can't breathe. So these past few days I keep thinking, what was Hao's life actually like in our home? Why was he even there? Was it ever really his home? Rose's voice is flat. I don't know. I haven't asked Stella, Tessa, Wendy, or Luna, but Stella probably did worse. Maybe worse than you. I haven't figured out what any of this means yet, or why it all happened. You should think about it too. Hannah goes quiet. She sniffles. He always wanted to touch my car. I never let him. I know there was one time he secretly washed it for me. I didn't want him touching it, so I slapped him. He looked absolutely terrified. He panicked. Hannah keeps going. And there's more. Another time, I had a birthday party at the house. Friends came over, and I wouldn't let him come inside. He stood outside half the night. It was pouring rain. Freezing cold. He never came in. Mrs. Zhao told us later. He ran a fever for a full day and night before he recovered. Rose is quiet for a moment, then she speaks. We checked the security footage a few days ago. Hao hadn't eaten with us in a very long time. Maybe 3 or 4 months. Mom and Dad never even noticed he'd stopped coming downstairs. So what was he in our home? Hannah's tears spill over. Exactly. What was he? Rose murmurs. She doesn't have an answer. Meanwhile, Bitcoin surges again. Hao has bought over 200 coins, nearly 300, and sells them all. Another 20% gain. In just 2 days, his total assets hit 40,000. He had considered bringing Derek, Grace, and Lisa in on it, but he thinks it through and realizes he can't explain Bitcoin in a way that makes sense. So he keeps them out of it. He also doesn't want them getting too caught up in Bitcoin right now. The college exam is close. Studying has to come first. After selling this batch, Bitcoin's price starts falling again. Hao calculates how far it will drop and plans to buy back in. If everything goes as expected, Bitcoin is about to spike hard. This next surge could hit 80% or more. If he goes all in, the payout will be massive. So Hao stays busy, watching the market, making trades, or grinding through practice exams. No time for anything else. The second monthly practice exam before the college exam arrives, and Hao gives it everything. He's been doing an enormous number of practice problems, reviewing every single concept. So this exam comes easily, effortlessly. Hao takes first place at Eastside High, with perfect scores in 3 subjects. When the final practice exam results are posted, Hao's name is everywhere at Eastside High. Classmates swarm him with congratulations. Inside, Hao is pleased. He runs through the real exam in his head, locking in his strategy, and gets back to studying. Time slips by quietly. 3 more days pass. Throughout those 3 days, Hao keeps trading Bitcoin. His assets double from 40,000 to 80,000. Just as he predicted, Bitcoin surges 80% in 3 days. Hao watches the momentum and knows the drop is coming. He sells everything immediately. He waits. Bitcoin is about to hit rock bottom, crashing below $20 a coin, all the way down to 18. The entire market will be wiped out. People everywhere will be screaming. But Hao knows this crash is only temporary. Once it bottoms out, Bitcoin will climb again. Big money is in the market right now, harvesting funds from ordinary users, playing on greed and desperation, swinging the blade over and over. All Hao has to do is wait for the bottom and buy back in. With money in hand, there's no need to panic. Now, a new project. This one needs to move fast, hit hard, and hold steady, and it needs to make serious money. Hao still has the college exam ahead of him, just over a month away. Time is tight, but once the exam is done, they'll have all the time in the world, and Hao has no intention of wasting it. So he plans to bring Derek, Grace, and Lisa in on a real venture. Right now, I'm sitting on 80,000, and if I play it right, within a month, I could be looking at my first 100 million, or at minimum, my first million. By the time the exam is over, I should have around 3 million. With that kind of capital, they can start doing something real. Real estate is out. 3 million is nowhere near enough. Mobile games are out too. Too crowded. Not the right lane for the 4 of them. But there's another option. Electric vehicles. Over the next 10 years, that industry is going to explode. Once Tesla enters the Chinese market, countless new EV companies will emerge. It's 2013. The window for electric vehicles is opening. But to actually build something serious in that space, you need hundreds of millions, maybe billions. With just 3 million to invest, they wouldn't even make a ripple. So what's the move? Something that scales fast. Ideally, something that can spread everywhere and hit a market value of 5 billion or more within a year or two. Hao stays up all night, crossing out ideas that won't work yet. They're still in high school. He needs something that won't drain everything they have, but still has the potential to make real money. Then it hits him. Hao lights up. He writes down 2 words. Bike share. In 2013, that is a completely new concept, and one with the power to blow up fast and put serious money in Hao's hands. Xia already has a bike share program, but it's government run. Private players are almost non-existent. It's still dominated by the public sector. But with mobile internet expanding at breakneck speed, private bike share won't take off until 2014. Right now, almost no one believes it can work. But bike share isn't just about ride fees. There's also the deposit model. Deposits pile up fast. A single bike costs as little as 200 to 300 to manufacture, but each user pays a deposit of 299. As long as you hold those deposits, the money never stops coming. Whether you put it into real estate or Bitcoin, you can turn a massive profit. And on top of that, once there's enough capital, they can ride the EV wave too. Hao's pulse quickens. He circles bike share on his list. This is the one. He marks it for serious study. Shanghai is a global city with a highly educated population. And within the city, there are over 60 universities, college students everywhere. Mobile internet has been growing like wildfire. The infrastructure is already there. Launching a bike share is very doable. Hao can start with a pilot near Eastside High. See how it performs. If it works, they scale up, find investors, find angel investors, grow fast. With the plan taking shape, Hao rounds up Derek, Grace, and Lisa. The college exam is almost here, and we're going to need money for university. We can't just coast. I'd estimate at least 10,000 a month once we're enrolled, so I'm with you. Grace and Lisa both nod. They know exactly why Hao called them together. Hao smiles. I do have an idea that can make us real money, but this one's a little different from what people expect. Most people would pass on it. There's a chance we take some losses early on. But if it works, we walk away with everything. What kind of project? Derek jumps in. Hao, we've each got maybe 10,000 right now. Is that enough? Lisa asks. It's enough. I have capital, and we still have over a month to plan. I'm expecting to put in around 3 million, Hao says. I brought you all here because I want to do this together. We all eat. Hao, just tell us. Whatever it is, we trust you. That's right. We trust you, Grace says. Hao smiles. We're launching a bike share program in Shanghai. Bikes for everyday people to ride and push the city toward greener transportation. Bike share? All 3 look surprised. Yes, I've thought it through. Here's how it works. We put bikes out there. We've run the numbers. Each bike costs around 300 to produce. Anyone who wants to use one pays a deposit of 299. Once the deposit is paid, they can ride. 1 yuan per kilometer. The more users we have, the more money keeps flowing in. Non-stop. 1 yuan per kilometer. And with enough users, the income never stops. Ride fees and deposits rolling in constantly. Hao keeps smiling. Once we hit the right size, we go find angel investors. The 3 of them are floored. Derek stares. How? Can this actually work? What if someone just rides off and keeps the bike? We keep the deposit. We barely lose anything. And I've run the numbers. Shanghai has dozens of universities, educated, responsible people everywhere. Most people won't steal a bike. And the city's surveillance cameras are everywhere now. Bike theft is rare. Hao smiles. Run this right and we succeed. This is the fastest path to serious money. Derek frowns. What if nobody uses it? We'd be taking a loss. Nobody uses it? Derek, say you're heading to the market, don't want a cab, and there's a bike right there. Would you use it? 1 yuan per kilometer. Would you or not? Hao stares him down. Derek opens his mouth. He can't argue. Does carry some risk. If someone steals a bike, we lose a few hundred per unit. Or if city inspectors impound bikes, we take a hit. But as long as we're useful, we'll make it work. Losing a few dozen bikes doesn't break us. What matters is that we're making life easier for people, Easier for everyone. Hao looks around at the group and keeps going. As long as deposits keep stacking up, this thing snowballs, bigger and bigger, until we've covered all of Shanghai. Lisa nods. Bigger and bigger. Exactly. And once we have scale, most users won't pull their deposits. As long as they're riding our bikes, they need the deposit to stay active. No deposit, no ride. So as long as they keep using it, they won't ask for it back. Hao smiles. Once we reach a certain scale, we bring in angel investors. Then deposits stop being a concern entirely. By that point, each of us will be holding serious money. Hearing this, Derek, Grace, and Lisa can't help but feel the excitement rising. Bike share. Honestly, none of the three of them fully understand it yet. The concept isn't totally clear to them, but that's okay, as long as Hao understands it. He's putting up most of the money anyway. They don't have much to contribute, so as long as they follow Hao's lead, they'll be fine. Of course, before launching, they need to run a proper pilot. To limit losses, they need high traffic areas first, and also spots where the crowd tends to be responsible. Hao zeroes in on the right zone quickly. University clusters and tech company hubs. Drop bikes right outside campus gates. The first batch won't be massive, around 5,000 bikes, but if the results are good and deposits roll in strong, they scale up. College students are quick to embrace new ideas. Hao moves with Derek and the others. They quickly identify 6 or 7 locations that fit the criteria. Next up, finding a bike manufacturer to place a custom order. They lock in the zones. A supplier needs to be contacted, and once the supplier is confirmed, they wait for the capital to come through, and then they can go pick up the bikes directly. Last step, register the company, hire 2 developers to build the app, and then they're ready to launch. One step at a time, one move at a time. Hao and the others stay busy, while keeping a close eye on Bitcoin. Right on schedule, just 3 days later, the price crashes again. Fortunes are wiped out, the screaming is everywhere, and the backlash against Bitcoin starts spreading fast, people piling on, calling it a scam, worthless, a trap. While everyone runs away, Hao walks straight in. He puts in 80,000 without hesitating, and waits. He waits 3 more days, and sure enough, the price climbs back, higher than before. Hao watches, reads the momentum, decides it's time, and sells everything. This round nets him nearly 60,000. His total is now 140,000. Over the next month, Hao repeats the same playbook over and over. Buy low, sell high. His assets climb fast, from 140,000 to 180,000, then 230,000, 350, 470, 620, 810, 1.3 million. Then balance breaks 1 million. Hao feels a surge of confidence, like never before. On the other side of things, with the college exam closing in, the Wang family has mostly left him alone this past month. Only Rose came, twice. Vivian and Richard stayed away. But Hao already knows they cut off his card and froze his funds. A cold smile crosses his face. One afternoon after school, Hao spots Rose at the school gate, pulling up in an Audi. He has no idea why she's here. He doesn't bother to find out. He turns and walks away, but Rose steps out and cuts him off. She's holding something in her hand. Hao, she calls. Her voice is soft. Hao ignores her, tries to go around her. Rose moves quickly to block him. Hao, just wait. I'll say what I have to say and then I'll leave. I don't know why you're here. Don't come looking for me. Ms. Lin already made things clear. Hao's voice is flat. I won't make a habit of this, Rose says, but just listen to me for a moment. After I'm done, I'll go, please? Rose is almost pleading. Hao goes quiet. He looks at her. Fine. Let's see what she actually has to say. Hao, the exam is coming. You need to eat properly. The doctor said you have anemia and malnutrition, so I made you congee. Came to bring it to you, to help you build up your strength. Rose holds out the container. Hao glances at it and stops. Something about that container is familiar. Rose notices his expression, and a faint flush crosses her face. Remember how you used to make congee for me? I was always working, always busy, never had time to drink it. That's the same container you used. This time, it's me making it. For you. Trying to poison me? Rose's face shifts immediately. How could you even say that? Why would I want to poison you? I'm just worried about your anemia. How could you think I'm worried about your anemia and your malnutrition, and I don't want it affecting your exam? Just don't. Hao looks at her with a cold smirk. I know exactly what your family has been doing. You went to my school. You cut off my allowance, and had the police look up where I live. I know what you're after, Rose. I'm not going to just sit there and take it. Rose goes pale. How? That was all on me. What I did before was wrong. I didn't know how much you'd done for me. All that congee, save it. Hao steps around her, and moves to leave. Rose grabs his arm. Hao, don't go. Just listen. Let go. Hao's anger flares. Please, Rose says quickly. Let me explain. I was wrong before. I didn't see what you were going through. I'm sorry. I'm just worried about you. I don't need your worry. Spare me the fake concern. Go take care of yourselves. Hao pulls free and goes cold. Rose feels her eyes sting again. Hao, the shape you're in, can you actually make it through the exam? It's only a month away. I don't need your concern. I'm fine. If there's nothing else, you can leave. Hao's patience is gone. Hao, let me take you to my office. You always wanted to see it. Come on, Rose says quickly. Hao looks at her and laughs. Rose, you never give up, do you? Even now you're still trying to play me. Get your security guards to rough me up again? I know how dark your heart is. Forget it. He turns and walks away. Rose is stunned, but this time Hao doesn't stop. He moves fast and doesn't look back once. Rose watches him go, and her eyes fill instantly. She steadies her breath, but the tears push through through anyway. She's hurt. She's heartbroken. She watches him disappear around the corner, then walks back to the car, the container still in her hands, and sinks into the driver's seat. I knew it would go like this. Don't be sad. Hannah's voice is quiet from the back seat. Her face is almost as pale as Rose's. The exam is right around the corner. Rose can't stop crying. And then, she thinks of everything else. Hannah sighs. How could anyone forget that easily? He left because of all of it. Hannah, you should go apologize to him too. Rose turns to look at her. Hannah goes, completely quiet. I know what you did. You don't think it was too far, but I do. It was way too far. You wouldn't even let him touch your car. Rose stares at her. Hannah says nothing. She just feels terrible. She doesn't know how to face any of this. There was a time when she just thought Hao was embarrassing, deeply embarrassing. She didn't even want to admit he was her brother. When her friends mocked him and bossed him around, she never said a word. Looking back across 4 years, Hannah knows she didn't just slap him a few times. He was so small, so beneath notice, like dust. Even after being slapped, he'd still smile and wave and say he was fine. Hao held on to every one of those moments. Back then, not a single person in the Wang family treated him like a human being. So how does she even begin to apologize? Rose got torn apart just trying, and Rose was the one who tried first. If Rose got destroyed like that, Hannah would get it even worse. And compared to Rose, what Hannah did was no better. She and Stella even framed him more than once. Rose sees that Hannah has gone silent and doesn't push further. She goes into East Side High, finds Ms. Lin, Hao's homeroom teacher, and hands her the container she brought, and asks her to give it to Hao. With the exam so close, Rose is terrified he'll collapse again. She doesn't say much more. She starts the car and drives home. Back at the house, eat up, Tyler. Start with this. Mom got this especially for you. Deep sea fish oil. It's good for memory. Finish all of it. And this too, ginseng and seahorse broth. Drink the whole thing. It helps with fatigue. I heard from your teacher that your scores have slipped a little lately. This last practice exam didn't go as well. Probably because you haven't been eating properly. You've been pushing so hard. Eat well tonight and get it all back. Rose and Hannah have just walked through the door and find the living room full. Vivian has clearly spent the afternoon preparing a full pot of tonics and is making sure Tyler finishes every drop. These supplements are expensive. Vivian had them specially sourced and has Mrs. Zhao prepare them for Tyler whenever exam season comes. In the past, Rose would have thought nothing of it. The sisters all had these growing up. Tyler getting them now makes sense. It's only natural. But right now, Vivian seems to have completely forgotten that her other son couldn't even get a meal in this house, let alone anything like this. Mrs. Zhao and Mr. Li had mentioned it themselves. Hao used to sneak downstairs to eat whatever leftover scraps he could find, terrified someone would catch him and scold him for it. Rose stands there and feels sick all over. Hannah glances at Rose, sees the red in her eyes, and knows exactly what she's thinking. The same feeling hits her too. Rose, Hannah, you're back! Tyler looks up from the fish oil and collagen supplements, and his face lights up. Rose takes a slow, deep breath, walks in, and greets him. Tyler, how's the prep going? Feeling confident? Tyler smiles. Pretty good. I've covered a lot of ground. I just want to do well. I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself. Vivian jumps in, her face full of warmth. Just go in with a calm heart. And even if it doesn't go perfectly, that's okay. This family doesn't need a college degree to get by. I know, Mom. I'll still give it everything I've got, Tyler says. Vivian smiles with pure adoration. Good. You've always been hardworking and talented. As long as you give it your best, you'll do great. You've got one more month. Lean on your sisters for advice on managing the pressure. And remember, don't tense up during the exam. Got it. I'll ask Rose and Hannah for tips. Tyler nods eagerly, the picture of an obedient son. Rose watches, and the sadness deepens. She can't stay in this room. She heads upstairs. Hannah follows right behind her. Rose, are you okay? Hannah's eyes are full of worry. Rose, eyes red, steadying herself. Hannah, do you actually believe Hao is their biological son? Hannah's expression freezes. Hannah, do you really think Hao is their own flesh and blood? Hannah goes still. I know Mom makes these tonics, and both of us grew up having them. But Mom seems to have forgotten that Hao has an exam too. He couldn't even get a meal. Rose's voice breaks. And now his allowance is completely cut off. Why? Hannah feels it too. Why? She thinks for a moment. Rose, Mom just loves Tyler more. Look how easy he is. And now I think Mom genuinely hates Hao after the knife. Who wouldn't? But still, he's her own blood. How can she be this cruel? Tears run down Rose's face. I understand him now. I know exactly where his despair comes from. Hannah looks wrecked and doesn't know what to say. And then there's Stella. What Stella did was even worse. Rose is crying as she speaks. Hannah, do you know what Stella did? Hannah winces. Rose, Stella was always, there was this one time she took Luna, Tyler, and Hao to an amusement park and deliberately left Hao there and only brought Luna and Tyler home. Rose can't bring herself to look at what Stella has actually done. But the truth is, it's just as Hannah says, and then some. What Stella did is chilling. There was one time when everyone was out and only Stella and Hao were home. Everyone else was at work. Stella wasn't feeling well, resting in the living room. Then suddenly she spiked a high fever, her body convulsing, foam at her mouth. Hao saw it and panicked. He carried Stella and ran for several kilometers until he collapsed himself at the hospital. And when Stella was brought back by the doctors, she immediately turned on Hao. She screamed at him, said he had touched her, made her feel disgusting, and claimed that because he carried her all that way, she got so sick. Rose had heard parts of this story. Stella even blasted Hao in the group chat, said he ruined her image. Stella believed Hao was there to steal the family inheritance, and there were multiple times she caught Hao sneaking around. She even saw him slipping into their mother's room. Hannah says that's probably why Stella hated him so much. Have you talked to Stella about this? Rose asks. Hannah shakes her head. Rose's face tightens. Knowing Hao's personality, this is a lot to take in. Should we even tell Stella? Hannah looks at Rose. Telling her now probably won't do anything. Didn't you say she's still enjoying this? Rose wipes her nose. Honestly, for Hao's sake, maybe it's better he doesn't come back. Hannah stares. Rose, we failed him. I'm the eldest. The eldest sister is like a mother, and I never once said a single word in his defense. I never did anything for him. How many times did he want to come see our office? I always said no. Security turned him away every time. Hannah goes silent. You too, Rose says, looking at her. You're the second oldest. You're not much better. You wouldn't even let him touch your car. Not once. Hannah doesn't know what to say. There's a pressure in her chest she can't release. I don't know what Mom and Dad are thinking. Let's just see how things go. Rose doesn't want to say more. The more she talks, the heavier the guilt gets. Hao was right. Karma always comes around. It always does. Rose, are you in your room? Mid-conversation, Vivian's voice comes from outside the door. I'm in here. Rose quickly wipes her eyes and goes to open it. Vivian must be done with Tyler for now. Stopping by on her way. Tyler still has practice papers to get through. Half a month ago, Vivian posted a message in the family group chat. Everything in this house is to be centered around Tyler's college exam. Nothing is allowed to disrupt Tyler's preparation. So both Vivian and Richard have stayed quiet about how, with their biological son in the picture now, things are sensitive. Neither of them wants Tyler to feel like an outsider, so they lean toward him as much as possible. Mom, what brings you up? Rose steps forward to greet her. Hannah is here too. Good. Saves me a trip to find you both. Vivian steps in, sees Hannah, and nods. Tyler's gone to do his practice papers. Vivian nods, her face soft with concern. He's been working so hard lately. I think the recent situation at home distracted him. His chemistry score took a hit. I told him to steady himself, stop overthinking, and aim to outperform on the real exam. Rose and Hannah exchange a glance. Neither speaks. Rose, Hannah, see if the two of you can take a few days off this month to help tutor your brother. Especially you, Hannah. You went to university. Vivian looks at Hannah. I heard quite a few professors from High University helped write this year's college entrance exam. You have connections there. See if you can find out anything about the questions. Hannah freezes, then quickly speaks up. Mom, the exam questions are classified. You can't just ask around about something like that. You don't need the exact questions. Just get a feel for what topics they're focusing on this year. Once we know the general direction, we can tailor Tyler's tutoring, Vivian says firmly. Hannah has no way out. She sighs. Fine, I'll reach out to a few people and see what I can find. But if nothing comes up, don't blame me. Vivian waves her off. Besides, your schedule at the university. You don't have many classes right now. Take a few days off and come home. Then she turns. Rose, same goes for you. Put the company stuff on hold. Tyler's exam is the only thing that matters this month. Rose pauses. Mom, I can help tutor Tyler. But what about Hao? You haven't forgotten he has the exam too, right? Vivian stiffens. Why are you bringing up that ungrateful wretch? Every time someone mentions him, I lose my mind, Vivian snaps. Rose pushes carefully. Mom, you've been making all these tonics for Tyler. Imported ones too, at a serious cost. Shouldn't Hao get some too? His health isn't great either. Him? Deserve these? Vivian scoffs. Rose, do you even remember what he did? He pulled a knife on me. On your father, too. An unforgivable betrayal. He gets nothing. Not a single drop. Vivian's voice shakes with fury. She is truly furious now. Rose goes silent, at a loss for words. Leave him alone. That ungrateful wretch will come crawling back sooner or later, and when he does, Rose's expression tightens. She has no idea what to say. Don't go looking for him. He'll come crawling back. And if I don't deal with this properly, then my name isn't Vivian Wang, she says coldly. Besides, even if Hao does take the supplements, with his grades, even if he tries, where is he even going to end up? East Side High? Even if he ranks first or second there, so what? Does anyone from that school get into the Ivy League of China? Any top-tier university? Vivian sneers. He is a hopeless lost cause. Without the Wang family behind him, he is nothing. Vivian turns to both Rose and Hannah. Don't blame me for cutting him off. If he had even half of Tyler's obedience, half his work ethic, half his manners, I'd never let him go hungry. But look at him now, more entitled by the day, more out of control. Rose speaks up quietly. Mom, you only gave Hao $500 a month. How is that enough to live on? What do you mean it's not enough? $500 in allowance and he eats here at home. He's not starving. And I give him $500 every single month. And he still acts like this, pulling a knife on us. If I gave him more, God knows what he'd do. Vivian's anger boils over. I've always known the bad habits in him. Everything he picked up at that orphanage. If we don't root it out completely, he'll always be this defiant. I've already talked to your father. This time we are going to deal with him properly. Rose tries again gently. But we can't just gamble with his future. If Hao fails the exam, what happens to him? Rose wants to say more. So what if he fails? Vivian cuts her off. He brought it on himself. Then her eyes narrow. Rose, Have you been going to see him again? Vivian stares at her. Rose hesitates. Have you been seeing him? Vivian presses, eyes fixed on Rose. Rose hesitates again, then gives a small nod. I knew it. Otherwise he would have come crawling back by now. Let me be clear, Rose. You are not to go looking for him anymore. I want to see just how long he can hold out, Vivian says with a cold smile. Hannah jumps in. Mom, Rose is just worried about Hao's exam. You said it yourself in the group chat just 2 weeks ago. The exam comes first, and Hao also has an exam too. Vivian fixes her with a withering look. With his grades, what is he going to score? Nothing worth celebrating. I've said it before, do not put any hope in him. When I said to prioritize the exam, I meant for you all to focus on tutoring Tyler. Tyler doing well is all that matters right now. As for Hao, I have my ways. Hannah gently adds, maybe Rose just wants to tutor Hao a little too. Vivian laughs, but there's no warmth in it. She turns and looks at Rose with sharp amusement. Rose, why are you wasting your energy on this? I know what you're worried about, but if Hao were even half as good as Tyler, I wouldn't be this angry. Just look at what he's done. Running off, doing God knows what. Gone for a whole month. That ungrateful wretch doesn't deserve any tutoring. Rose listens in silence. Her heart sinks. She already knows Hao's grades at Eastside High are actually quite good, but Vivian is still blinded by her contempt for the school. In Vivian's mind, Eastside High is a third-rate school. Nobody worth anything could come out of it. Whatever the school's principal told her, she has clearly thrown it out of her mind. She decided it was all lies. With the exam coming up, she wants nothing to interfere with Tyler's preparation. She doesn't want Rose distracted either. As the exam draws near, nothing messy is allowed to get in the way. Rose can't hold back anymore and asks the question. Vivian blinks, then scoffs. You think I haven't asked? That ungrateful wretch looks nothing like me or your father. Nothing like any of you either. But we've had it tested. Multiple times. Every doctor confirmed it. We even had it verified abroad. If he's really our blood, then he should be able to do well. Rose struggles to find the words. Then why did you bring him back at all? If he's truly ours, then of course we bring him home. What? Just leave him out there on the streets? Vivian snaps. Let me tell you something, Rose. Hao is full of bad habits that run deep. Right now, I am saving him. I am teaching him. And if he refuses to learn, then he doesn't deserve to be a Wang. He's a hopeless lost cause. Rose and Hannah fall silent. Neither of them has anything left to say. Vivian presses on. Take extra days off this month and come home. Every evening, tutor Tyler as much as you can. Go over problems with him. And another thing, tell Stella, Tessa, and Wendy to come back too. All of you sisters are going to help Tyler ace this exam. Rose and Hannah nod. There is nothing else to do. The whole household is mobilized around Tyler's exam. Fully locked in, every nerve in the house pulled tight. Everyone is terrified Tyler might crack under the pressure. Vivian started this a month ago, and it seems like the whole family is cracking instead. It nearly broke Hao completely, enough to make him walk out the door. Hannah probably never even noticed. But if you stop and think about it, it's suffocating. Is Hao really their biological son? Meanwhile, Bitcoin surges again. And Hao moves fast. This time he clears over 300,000 in a single trade. His total assets shoot up to 1.5 million. Money in hand, no panic in his heart. With the exam weeks away, Hao still goes ahead and registers a company, Little Monster Ventures, built specifically to run a bike-sharing operation, with a registered capital of 1 million. The registration clears. All the licenses come through. Hao finds an office building near Eastside High, rents out a space, and turns it into a startup office. With the exam close, Hao keeps it simple. He gives Derek and Grace a quick heads up, then heads to the job fair to hire on his own. The company doesn't need Derek, Grace, or Lisa just yet. They can join after their exams. The hiring goes smoothly enough. Hao's offer is competitive, $10,000 a month per person. In just 2 days, he brings 2 people on board. Next up, the bikes. Hao's requirements are specific. Smart locks, GPS tracking, solid build quality, meeting standard cycling specs. And he already has a supplier in mind, Phoenix Bikes, reliable, quality built. He's already reached out to them over the past few days, tested the waters on pricing, but their sales manager hasn't replied. Probably took one look at how young Hao is and didn't take him seriously. They're on the fence about whether to deal with him at all. Hao's plan is to cash out this Bitcoin wave first, then go straight to them with a solid deposit and place the first order. The first batch doesn't need to be huge. If the results look good, he'll order another round, or scale up to 2,000, 3,000 bikes until the city is fully covered. The app needs to move fast too. No need to overload it with features. Just the basics. Scan, GPS, top up, and withdrawal. It needs to be ready within a month. Once the app is live, they can print posters and push the launch. Target high traffic spots, university entrances, subway exits, tech parks. As long as the city inspectors don't confiscate them and no one steals them, they have a real shot at making money. What I'm most scared of is theft, Lisa says, worried. Don't stress it. Losing a few bikes isn't the end of the world. The city inspectors are the real concern. But look at how many electric scooters are parked everywhere. People park however they want. A few shared bikes on the street, the inspectors probably won't even bother. And by the time they decide it's a problem, we'll already be everywhere. Hao grins. Grace looks at him with a grin of her own. How? You're not even worried about the exam, and you're already running a whole company? Hao shrugs. What can I say? None of us have parents. We're broke. Every penny counts. For now, just focus on your studies. Once your exams are done, you jump in and we push this thing forward together. And get the bike sharing off the ground. Hao smiles. The three of them cheer in agreement, then pull out their textbooks and get back to drilling problems. Meanwhile, Hao keeps pouring money. into Bitcoin. He's hunting for one more massive win. He's certain it's coming. In all of 2013, Bitcoin surged over 100 times in value, and it's only risen about 20 times so far. The second half of 2013, that's when Bitcoin truly explodes. Hao is not about to miss it. He drills practice problems with one hand and runs his business with the other. One day, Ms. Lin walks over and holds out a lunchbox. Hao glances at it and sets it aside. The next day after school, he walks out of the gate carrying the lunchbox and spots a familiar black Audi parked outside. Rose steps out the moment she sees him. Hao feels a flicker of irritation. He walks straight to the nearest trash can and drops the lunchbox in, right in front of her. He has no idea why Rose keeps showing up, and he feels nothing for her anymore. The last time he was alone in that hospital bed, not a single person came. Not one. They were all with Tyler. And now Rose keeps coming back, clearly with some agenda. Somewhere in that family group chat they're probably watching this and laughing, living for the drama, every one of them. Rose watches him toss the lunchbox and forces a smile as she walks toward him. Hao, just got out? Hao looks at her. His voice is sharp. Your family really is something. You never show up unless you want something. Hao, you're out. Hao gives her a look and says with open mockery, your family never show up unless you want something, right? Rose keeps her voice steady. Hao, I'm just here to bring you food. Mrs. Zhao made congee, and there's deep-sea fish oil from home. Good for memory and energy. The exam is coming up. You should take some. Rose sees the disgust on his face and rushes to keep talking. Hao lets out a short laugh, like he's never heard anything more absurd in his life. Your family just won't leave me alone. What did I ever do to you people? You keep coming at me. Can't I just surrender? Rose says softly. I just hope that you do well on the exam. No, don't. Please don't. I can't take it. Your whole family has been working overtime to mess with my head before this exam. All this effort. Tell me, is Tyler paying you a bonus for this? Is he cutting you a paycheck? Hao's eyes go cold. He cuts her off. Hao, this has nothing to do with Tyler. The fish oil was imported. Great for memory. Tyler used to take it all the time at home. And now I'm bringing some for you, Rose says. For me. Hao laughs. A real laugh, like it's the biggest joke he's ever heard. Rose quickly says, Hao, I'm genuinely worried about you. The exam is right around the corner. Please just take it. You really don't quit until you get what you want, do you? You want me to expose you? Is that it? Rose. You think I won't? Rose's face shifts. Hao, I just want to take care of you. Please, don't. What? You want me in your good graces? As if. Hao lets out a scornful laugh, glances at what she's holding, and takes 2 steps back. Fish oil. I remember this stuff. Snuck a sip once, and my wonderful big sister picked up the whole bottle and poured it all over me. Rose freezes. Her face drains of color. So drop the act. I remember every detail. What you did that day was unforgivable. I'm poor. I'm an orphan. Things like this aren't for me. I don't deserve them. I don't know what you keep coming here for, but I'm telling you straight, things won't end well for you. Karma always comes around. Hao's eyes go cold again. And now you want to set me up? Not a chance. Save your crocodile tears. They make me sick. He turns and walks away. Rose stands frozen. Her eyes go wide. Her whole body trembles. She never thought he still remembered. Her breathing quickens. Her eyes go red. She stares at the direction he walked off in and drifts back to the car like a ghost. She sets the lunchbox on the passenger seat. Her eyes go blank, fixed on the crowd passing in the distance. She sinks into silence, doubt creeping in, tears sliding down her face, cutting through her makeup. Rose sniffles. Her vision blurs. She reaches into her pocket, pulls out her phone, unlocks it, and scrolls through. She finds what she's looking for. Hao did take the fish oil once, just a sip. That time it was Vivian who had gotten it for Rose. Rose was deep in a new project back then, exhausted, stretched thin, no time for anything. Even at home she couldn't stop working. Vivian saw how worn down she was, still buried in work even under her own roof. Rose had visibly lost weight, so Vivian had someone bring over deep-sea fish oil along with other supplements. But Rose never had time to take them, so they sat in the fridge. One day, Hao went to the fridge, looking for something to eat. He spotted the fish oil, took it out and had a sip. Vivian came downstairs at exactly that moment. She saw it and exploded. She snatched the bottle and poured it straight over his head. She screamed at him. Hao had only just come home not long before that, after showing up at Rose's company and getting thrown out by security. Rose already despised him to her core. Furious, she grabbed the fish oil and drenched him with it. Hao flinched, panic all over his face. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have touched it. He was shaking as he apologized, his face completely pale. Rose felt nothing but cold. In that moment, she was worse than Vivian, maybe even crueler. That day, she said so many terrible things. She can't even remember all of it now, but seeing what Hao said brings some of it back. Rose suddenly can't bear to keep reading. It feels like someone has reached into her chest and squeezed. She can't breathe. The exam is getting closer. Everyone in the house is on edge. Vivian gives the order, and Stella, Tessa, and Wendy all come home. All of them are here to tutor Tyler. Even Luna, still in college up in the capital, takes time off and comes back to walk him through practice questions and exam strategy. She comes home just to tutor Tyler, takes leave from her university in the capital, hadn't been home in months, and this is what brings her back. As for Rose and Hannah, there's no escaping it either. Vivian tells them both to clear their schedules and do whatever it takes to help Tyler get through this 1 month. With Vivian's word given, the entire family mobilizes, fully armed and ready. The best food, the best drinks, supplements stacked high, memory boosters, fatigue fighters, stress relief. The Wangs have money, and they buy whatever works, all of it for Tyler. Vivian spends millions without blinking. Hannah, Have your contacts found out anything about the exam topics? Stella, Tessa, do any of your industry contacts have connections to the exam board? Tessa, your legal network, someone must know something. Do what you can. And Wendy, go over chemistry with Tyler. I remember you had a strong handle on it back in med school. As for Rose, you oversee everything. Tyler's nutrition, his sleep, that's on you. In 1 month, I want him in peak condition, walking into that exam relaxed and ready. Yes, of course. Rose and the others nod. No one dares say otherwise. Tyler speaks up. Mom, really, you don't have to put everyone through all this. I can handle it myself. Vivian cuts him off. Handle it yourself? This is the most important exam of your life. Having your sisters behind you, that's the only way I'll feel settled. Tyler grins. Then thank you, Rose. Thank you, Rose, Hannah, Stella, Tessa, Wendy, and Luna. I'll work even harder and come home with the top score. Vivian lights up, beaming with pride. That's my Tyler, always so good. Bring home that top score and make this family proud. Meanwhile, Hao is just as busy on his end. With the exam closing in, he doesn't have time to run the company day to day. He drills practice problems and tutors Derek, Grace, and Lisa, pushing them to score as high as they can. The company side is actually moving fast. The app's basic layout and core features are already built. Now it just needs more debugging and testing. Once the final tweaks are done and the tests clear, it goes live. For now, Hao sets it aside. The exam comes first. They have to get into a top-tier university. That's the goal. They have to do well. The four of them keep each other fired up, eyes bright with determination. Exam day is coming. Everyone is on edge, squeezing every second they have. Around the school, even crossing the street, people move with extra care. The tension is thick enough to feel. Hao handles it better than most. He has been through this before. He is not that nervous. Most of the questions and answers have already replayed in his mind. Scoring well is almost a certainty, and ever since he shut down the Wang family online last time, none of them have shown up to bother him. It has been a relief. Genuinely peaceful. Time slips by quietly in the middle of all the busyness. To help everyone settle their nerves, the school gives everyone the day off before the exam, a chance to breathe. That day, Hao, Derek, Grace, and Lisa gather together and reflect on their 18 years of life. They know the truth about themselves. They are kids with no guaranteed future, no family, no relatives, only each other, watching each other's backs, looking out for one another. This exam is the most important moment of their lives. None of them can afford to fail. Lisa speaks up. Hao, if we don't make it, can we come work at the bike company? Hao laughs. Of course. No matter how the exam goes, you're all welcome. We build this thing together and take it all the way. Grace grins. Hao, I never would have thought that while you're sitting the college entrance exam, you're also running a whole company. I tested the app yesterday. It actually works really well. Good. Once the exam is done, we push it straight out. Full launch. Hao smiles. The others cheer. After 1 day of rest, exam day arrives. Everyone has saved their energy. Every last person tuned themselves to peak condition. Hao does the same. Loose, calm, ready. His exam site is Central High. Most students from East Side High are assigned here. When the four of them arrive, the crowd outside is massive. Parents everywhere, having personally escorted their kids to the gate. They wear calm expressions, speaking softly to their children, telling them to do their best, not to worry. Seeing all of this, it would be a lie to say the four of them feel nothing. Especially Lisa. Her eyes go red. She's probably thinking about her parents. Lisa in particular. Her eyes go red, thinking of the parents she never had. But it's okay. They are orphans. They have weathered worse. A scene like this, they can handle it alone. When the storm hits, no one shields them. No one holds an umbrella over their heads. So they run. With everything they have. Faster, keep going. Nearby, Vivian hovers over Tyler. Tyler, stay relaxed. Don't tense up. Your scores have always been strong. How are you feeling these past few days? Hannah and Stella have already looked into things. You've reviewed all the likely areas. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just give it everything you've got. Tyler nods. I know, Mom. I'll stay relaxed. Good. That's my boy. When it's all over, we'll take you on a trip. Anything you want. Mom will get it for you. Thanks, Mom. In the crowd, Hao catches their voices. He glances over, cold and flat, and spots familiar faces in the crowd. Vivian, Richard, Rose, the whole Wang family. Who else would it be? Of course. Central High is Tyler's exam site too. North Side Prep and East Side High are both assigned here. Hao already knew this would happen. No surprises. He looks for exactly 1 second, then turns away without hesitation. The family had poured everything into helping Tyler. Every resource, every person, fully armed. All for Tyler's exam. In the month leading up to it, the Wang family gave Tyler everything he asked for. Hao got nothing. Not one of his 6 sisters offered to tutor him. This kind of treatment, Hao never wants to live through again. He is numb inside. Dead calm. Karma always comes around. And it does. Hao has no desire to relive any of it. He is already numb. Every single one of them gets what they deserve in the end. If not for everything he lived through before, Hao might have blamed himself, told himself he wasn't good enough. That's why they didn't want him. That's why they never accepted him. He used to push himself relentlessly, desperate to win their approval. But then came the brutal truth. For over a decade, Tyler has been held like something precious, too fragile to drop, too delicate to melt. That kind of love, that endless, all-consuming devotion, is beyond what most people can even imagine. They have poured years of love and energy into Tyler. That is not something Hao can replace just by being their biological son. Even after Hao died in his previous life, Tyler's place in their hearts never wavered. It only ended when Tyler got married and had children of his own, started scheming for full control of the family fortune, turning against his sisters, clashing with Vivian and Richard over money and power, until everything fell apart. Only then did Tyler lose his place. Hao thinks back to his past life. He watched people get pushed to the edge, driven to their deaths, some from rage, some from despair, some throwing themselves off buildings. He should have felt satisfied. But the truth is, whatever he had hoped for had already died inside him long before that, especially the moment he came face to face with Stella, and there was nothing left to say. A flicker of something cold passed through him. Where did Stella go after she died? Probably to be with the rest of them. Hao pushes it all aside. He sharpens his focus, all of it, and walks into the exam. Outside Central High, the street is packed. Cars crawling, people everywhere, buzzing with energy. Parents have come from all over, walking their sons and daughters to the gate. Most of them wear tight, serious expressions, not daring to take a single thing lightly. Rose, Tessa, and Wendy are also here, sending Tyler off. Vivian and Richard stand beside them. Vivian holds Tyler by the arm, talking softly, telling him not to tense up, to go in relaxed, that no matter what score he gets, it will be okay. It is just reassurance, but the love behind it is real. Everyone standing nearby can feel it clearly. Vivian checks Tyler's pens, his ID, his clothes, and only lets him go once everything is in order. We'll wait in the car. He'll be out in a few hours. Vivian watches Tyler disappear through the gate and smiles. Tyler has always been such a good boy. I checked with the teachers at Northside Prep. His scores are more than enough for a top-tier university. He might even come back as the top scorer. Rose nods. Slowly. She's about to follow Vivian back to the car when something catches her. She freezes, turns sharply toward the school entrance, and stares. What is it? Vivian asks, puzzled. Nothing. Rose's heart is pounding. She has a feeling. She doesn't actually know where Hao is sitting his exam. She tried to reach out to him once and got pushed away. She's had no news of him since. But something just now made her stomach drop. Mom, I need to use the restroom. Vivian nods. Go ahead. Don't be long. Vivian heads back to the car. The others settle in, snacks out, chatting, waiting for Tyler. Rose slips away from the gate and finds a quiet corner. She pulls out her phone and calls her assistant. Agent Shu, find out which exam site Eastside High is assigned to. I need to know right now. On it. Rose ends the call. The question burns in her chest. She needs the answer immediately. Agent Shu moves fast. A message comes through. Rose looks down at her phone, and her face changes. Central High, same site as Northside Prep. Eastside High and Northside Prep, both here, not far from each other at all. Understood. Rose hangs up. Her face is pale. What she glimpsed just now, it really was Hao. He is here. And the truth is, not a single person in the family thought about Hao's exam. Not Vivian, not Richard. They never placed any hope in him. They even told the others not to go looking for him, wanted to do something different. But 4 years of memories press down on her and she can barely think straight. She keeps telling herself, she is a top university graduate, cultured, intelligent, capable. How did she become this person? The pressure. She admits it. The weight she carried was immense. Responsible for the livelihoods of over 1,000 employees. Not a moment to let her guard down. But she is not an ordinary person. Even so, as the eldest daughter of the Wang family, she should never have lost herself like that. Maybe it started when she joined Stella's group chat. Or maybe when Hao showed up at her company that first time. Or maybe the moment he carried a clay pot of chicken congee to her with his dirty little hands. Rose admits it. He was grimy. He had been in that kitchen for a long time on his own, hands and feet unwashed. Nothing like the polished world she came from, people who had never done a day of manual labor in their lives. Because of that gap, the family never warmed to him, and she herself had despised him coming near her. Then in the phone, a post. Rose is the person I admire most. If I had even a tenth of what she has, no, even 1%, that would be enough. Rose, always working. Rose, always pushing herself. Rose, so focused she blocks out the whole world. I heard Rose just landed another massive deal for the company, 600 or 700 million. The whole family is celebrating. Rose's nose stings. A single tear breaks free. She quickly crouches down against the wall, pulls out her phone, opens the messages, and keeps reading. For a while before this, she couldn't bring herself to look. She had become timid, just like Hannah, hesitant about everything. Then another post. Supplements today. These are for Rose. She works so hard. She needs to take care of herself. Rose is so busy. In the living room every single day. Rose is running meetings in the living room again, completely slammed. Rose glances at the timestamp and remembers that stretch of time. She had been so overwhelmed back then. She had no choice but to bring everything home. She ran meetings, filed reports, reviewed documents, every night in the living room until 1 or 2 in the morning. She despised Hao by then, didn't want him anywhere near her. These photos, Hao must have taken them from upstairs. At 1 or 2 in the morning, when everyone else was long asleep, Hao must have seen her still working with nothing to eat. So he crept into the kitchen and cooked a pot of congee and brought it out to her. Everyone asleep, Hao seeing her still grinding away at midnight with nothing to eat. So he quietly made congee and carried it out to her. She can still see it. those small dirty hands wrapped around the clay pot. And right then Rose was at a breaking point with a work problem she couldn't solve, furious at being interrupted in the middle of the night, and she snatched the pot from his hands and dumped the whole thing in the trash. Rose still remembers what happened next. Hao flinched, face gone white, and scrambled back upstairs, never coming down again. More posts. Rose stays up every night. She's going to burn out at this rate. Worried about her. Rose is coughing. I heard Rose coughing. I heard she has a fever. Worried. She'll be fine. She did it. Rose finally finished the project. Everyone is cheering. This project is worth 100 million. She really is the best. Rose can't hold it in anymore. She cries, quietly, into her hands. The ache in her chest is unbearable. She is the worst person in the world, the worst sister in the world. Then, Rose, what are you doing here? Are you okay? Tessa appears out of nowhere, startled. I'm fine. Rose quickly wipes her face and stands up. Good. Mom said if you're too swamped you can head back to work. We can wait here for Tyler. Rose looks at her, eyes still red. Tessa, did Mom ask about Hao? Tessa blinks. No, why would she? Mom already said not to bother with him. He's not going to score anything worth talking about. Better to keep the focus on Tyler. Rose says carefully. I heard from someone at Eastside High that Hao still won't score anything. So just focus on Tyler. I heard the principal at Eastside High say Hao's grades are actually quite strong. Rose presses on. Eastside High producing what kind of students exactly? Out of over 1,000 kids, the number who make it to top-tier university level in a year, 5 would be impressive. Last year there was only 1. Tessa curls her lip with open contempt. And even if they hit that line, they're not getting into the Ivy League of China. Tyler's aiming for exactly that. Hao cannot compete with Tyler. Rose says nothing. She takes a slow breath and steadies herself. Rose, why are you even thinking about Hao? He's a hopeless lost cause. Not worth a second thought. Tessa looks at her. Something seems off. She asks carefully. Rose says, I found out. Hao is sitting his exam here too. Tessa's eyes go wide. She can't hide her surprise. He was right there, and he didn't come to us. Why would he come to us? Tessa asks, confused. Rose looks at her. One long flat stare. She doesn't bother answering. She turns and walks back toward the gate. Tessa is lost. She hurries after her. Even if he's sitting the exam at the same site, his scores still won't touch Tyler's. So what does it matter? I think the reason he didn't come to us is shame. Rose doesn't respond. She gets back in her car. She had hoped across all 3 days to catch a glimpse of Hao at the gate. Even if no one else was there to cheer him on, she wanted him to know someone hoped he'd do well. She also wanted to tell him his sister hasn't forgotten him. Even if she is the worst sister in the world, even if she made so many mistakes, took so many wrong turns, Rose still wants him to know that his sister still wants to be someone he can look up to, that he shouldn't give up on her. But Hao never comes through the front gate. He takes the back entrance instead. He has no energy to waste on the Wang family. Out of sight, out of mind. The exam papers are handed out. Hao scans through the questions. Calm settles in, a deep familiar feeling. He doesn't rush to write down the answers he has rehearsed 1,000 times in his head. Even the essay, he has already mapped it out and locked it in. Morning session, language arts, after math, then physics, a foreign language, chemistry. All of it flows out of Hao effortlessly. No strain at all. These questions, he knows them cold. 3 days of exams, the most electric 3 days of the year. Once it's over, everyone can breathe again. For Hao, there is no pressure to speak of. Between sessions, he is already handling the bike sharing side, pushing the finished app into load testing and bug testing. The app needs to be tested now, or the launch window will slip. There are still bugs inside that need significant fixes. And on top of that, during exam week, Bitcoin surges more than 3 times over. The whole country is talking about it. What is Bitcoin even for? What value does it actually have? Amid all the doubt, Hao sees one thing, pure profit. He swings without hesitation and takes the windfall. By the time the 3-day exam ends, Hao's total assets have hit 3.5 million, far beyond anything he had set as a target. A massive score. And with that money, Hao knows the bike sharing launch is a go. Next step, place an order with Phoenix Bikes, secure the fleet, and rent a warehouse to store everything. That part, no problem at all. The bikes come in at 3:30 each, already locked in with Phoenix. All Hao needs to do now is put down the deposit and they start production. With cash in hand, Hao doesn't hesitate. He pulls the money out and wires a deposit of 150,000. First batch, 1,000 bikes. Now all that's left is to wait for the exam to wrap up and then roll out. Most of the groundwork is already done. The 3 days fly by. When the last exam ends, cheers erupt across the school. Free at last. The class organizes a celebration. Everyone goes. Hao walks over and gives Ms. Lin a quick hug. I think it went pretty well. I got through most of it. Hao smiles at her. Ms. Lin's face lights up. Good, good, good. That's all that matters. Then her expression shifts. Hao, those people who came by the other day, that was your family, wasn't it? Hao goes still. I just hope nothing happened. If something did, you can always come talk to me, graduated or not. You are still my student. Ms. Lin smiles warmly. Hao smiles back. Thank you, Ms. Lin, but I'm fine. They're not my family. My family is long gone. Ms. Lin's heart sinks quietly. It's not her place to step in. Now, everyone waits for the results. Results are expected in about 15 days. Hao decides to take 2 days off with Derek and the others first, then push the bike sharing launch forward. The 4 of them spend 2 full days unwinding, at the beach. When they're done, they head straight back and get to work. The app still needs more load testing. They can't risk it crashing once users start piling in. Phoenix Bike says the first batch will arrive within 7 days. When they arrive, we move everything to the warehouse together. I already bought a cargo van and hired a driver. After that, we'll be placing the bikes ourselves. And we should all get our licenses this summer, or getting around is going to be a nightmare. Done. How has almost everything locked in. Now it's just execution. To keep everyone motivated, How gives each of them 5% equity plus $6,000 a month in salary. They grow this together. The three of them move fast. All the pre-launch work is sorted quickly. All that's left is the bikes. They don't wait long. 7 or 8 days later, the bikes arrive. Every single one painted yellow, stamped with the company logo, fitted with smart GPS locks. The fleet is in. All 4 of them go to inspect the bikes. None of them have ever seen a bike sharing system up close before. They are genuinely impressed. The yellow is perfect. You can't miss it. Put these on any street and people will notice instantly. Grace nods. I actually think this is going to work. The only thing I'm worried about, Grace says, looking at the bikes, is that this really could take off. But what if people just steal them? We'd be finished. Lisa shakes her head. Don't worry. People here aren't going to stoop to that. Let's go through each bike and check for defects. Anything wrong, we send it back. Everything else goes into the warehouse. The group cheers and dives in. Across all 3 days of the exam, Rose never once saw How. She waited at the gate of Central High every single day, hoping, but How took the back entrance every time. He clearly knew they were out front, so he never came. When Rose finds out, her chest aches. Tyler, on the other hand, did brilliantly. He came home after the exam and reviewed every question, reportedly answered all of them, and his confidence is sky high. Vivian and Richard are thrilled. There's a glow about them. Like a weight has lifted. They seem to have completely forgotten to ask about How. These past few days, Vivian has been telling every relative and neighbor about Tyler's performance, saying Tyler might have taken the top science score in the city. The pride is barely contained. That's our Tyler. This time he's not just aiming for the Ivy League of China. He's going for the city's top science score. After the exam, we went through everything with his teachers at Northside Prep. Tyler's score is absolutely going to hit 620 or above. The top science scorer. It has to be Tyler. Back in the day, Rose was the only one who took a single subject top score. Nobody else managed it. This time Tyler is going to bring glory to the whole family. Still, that's Tyler for you. Obedient, focused. You tell him to study, he studies. Everyone is waiting for the results. Certain the top science score belongs to Tyler. Friends, relatives, neighbors, hearing Vivian go on like this, can't help but feel a wave of admiration and awe. The 6 daughters of the Wang family have always been exceptional. Rose especially, a celebrated scholar in her day, offered a direct path to study abroad. The others can't quite match her, but each has made her mark. And now with Tyler's exam, Vivian and Richard are bursting with pride. A good child is an obedient one. Sweet, well-mannered, eat well, rest well, that's how you get the grades. Tyler has been like that since day one. He might even surpass Rose. Vivian says it with pure satisfaction. Everyone agrees without hesitation. The top science scorer of the city. Citywide top science scorer. The weight of that title is enormous. Congratulations, Tyler. You really delivered. Tyler had intended to stay modest, but after reviewing everything with his teachers and seeing just how well he actually did, the humility disappears. He smiles. We went through it all. The teachers all said the top score is mine. I'll admit, I was still a little nervous. But thank you, everyone. Laughter fills the room. Tyler, these past few years haven't been easy, have they? Someone says warmly. Tyler nods. Of course it was hard. Studying for this exam meant early mornings and late nights. You can't score well without putting in the work. I gave it 200%. That's the only reason I did well. You've always been sharp, clever and good from the very start, and that's exactly what you've proven. Exactly, clever and good. No surprise at all. And I have to thank Mom and Dad. Without them, I never would have scored this well. And my sisters, I owe them so much. The room fills with warm laughter. Seeing Tyler do well, Rose and the others are genuinely happy. Glad the effort they put in this month wasn't wasted. But underneath the joy, Rose finds herself thinking about How. She has no idea how he did. He probably can't match Tyler. Eastside High and Northside Prep are not in the same league. And the city's top science score, a title that carries enormous weight, is simply not something an Eastside High student could ever claim. Rose never did get to see How during the exam days. That sits with her. A quiet, dull ache. Time drifts by in laughter and celebration. In the days that follow, Vivian takes Tyler on a trip, a visit to Mount Tai. When Tyler comes home, Richard makes a grand gesture. A car is delivered, pulled right up in front of Tyler. This is from Dad. Congratulations on the exam. It's a Porsche 911. Richard grins. Tyler's eyes go wide. Dad, thank you. Ha! Get your license this summer, and the Porsche is yours. Tyler is beside himself with joy. He nods immediately and climbs in, running his hands over everything. Rose and Hannah watch from the 3rd floor of the mansion. That Porsche is stunning, Hannah laughs. Rose glances at her. Then quietly, How has nothing. Hannah goes still. The air between them freezes. When the results come out, come with me. Let's go find him. Even if he didn't do well, I want us to be there for him, Rose says. Hannah exhales. Has the family been too hard on How? Too unfair? What do you think? Rose looks at her. Hannah sighs. I've been thinking about these past few years. Really thinking. If I were in his position, I wouldn't have stayed either. He's not the easiest. His grades aren't great, but he's still our little brother. Rose holds her gaze and says nothing. She knows exactly what they are. Neither of them has been a good sister. Sometimes they were worse than Vivian. Crueler and more deliberate about it. How is probably never going to forgive them. Never. Rose's eyes go red at the edges. A voice calls up from downstairs. Rose, where are you going? Come down. Tyler's results are about to be posted. Let's see if he takes the city's top science score. Rose pushes down what she's feeling. Hannah quickly follows. The exam results are coming out. A massive moment. Word spreads through the house, and almost everyone tenses up at once. Everyone rushes to the living room. Stella, Tessa, even Wendy has come back. A crowd packs onto the sofas. Vivian is already there, electric with excitement. Come in! Everyone come in! We're going to look at Tyler's results together. They're about to drop. A cheer goes up. Everyone crowds in. Mrs. Zhao brings out snacks, so they can eat while they wait. Time ticks by. Then the moment arrives. And the tension in the room spikes instantly. All eyes lock onto the screen. Tyler is tense too. He opens the results page, types in his ID number, pulls up his score report, and the numbers load instantly. Language arts, 141. Math, 143. English, 142. Physics, 66. Chemistry, 70. Biology, 59. Total, 621. Yes, that's an incredible score. The top score is locked. Top science scorer. The room erupts. Everyone on their feet. Congratulations! Congratulations, Tyler! Tyler stares at the screen, thrilled, right in line with what he estimated. Barring anything unexpected, the top science score is his, but scoring well was never the main goal. What Tyler really wants is to surpass everyone, even Rose, to prove once and for all that he is the best. So this top science score, he is going for it. Quick, check the rankings. Is he top? Hannah laughs. Look, if it's him, that's the whole family's glory right there. Vivian grins. Of course it's Tyler. A score that high, the top spot is guaranteed. Tyler is brimming with confidence. A score like this is beyond most people. The top science score is his, no question. The announcement is out. Let me pull it up. Tyler smiles and quickly opens a news page. Types in a search. Within seconds, on the city's official education site, an announcement appears. Congratulations to Wang Hao of Eastside High School. College entrance exam total score, 651. Awarded the title of top science scorer in the city. The room goes silent. Everyone blinks. Convinced they misread it, they look again. Tyler's face drops. Then his expression shifts. Fast. Tyler wipes his eyes. His face goes stiff. Then he slams the browser shut and reopens it. Congratulations to Hao from Eastside High. College entrance exam total score, 651. Top science scorer in Xiahai City. Congratulations to Hao from Eastside High. College entrance exam total score, 651. Top science scorer in Xiahai City. A total landslide. 30 points clear of second place, with perfect scores in 4 subjects. He only dropped 4 points in Chinese and 5 in biology. A landslide win. The room falls dead silent. Everyone stares at each other, frozen, unable to believe what they're seeing. Headlines flood the education portal, and every news site Eastside High is shaking. A student raised in an orphanage since birth has claimed the top science score in Xiahai City. A genius. Perfect scores in 4 subjects. He only lost points in Chinese and biology. His perfect score essay, Ballad of the Years, is already making waves. A once-in-30 years masterpiece. An Eastside High student crushes every top school in Xiahai City. He takes the crown. The vast living room plunges into dead silence. No one dares believe what they're seeing. Every screen screams the same words. Landslide. Domination. Genius. How is this possible? Stella is first to speak, her face white with shock. Rose's eyes go red. She can't hold it back. Tyler stares wide-eyed, still refusing to accept it, and keeps refreshing the page. He checks the education portal and every news site. Still wide-eyed, still in denial. He refreshes again. He checks again. He doesn't believe it. He refreshes more than 10 times in a row. Same result every time. He jumps up, grabs his phone, and calls a teacher at Northside Prep to check. They've checked it multiple times. It's confirmed. A total gap. 30 points ahead of second place. Nearly every subject perfect. The papers have no issues. That student from Eastside High has always been exceptional, apparently. Some people even predicted he might take the top spot. This time, he just outperformed himself. Hearing that, Tyler goes completely still. We've verified it several times. That student from Eastside High is exceptional. He went beyond his best. Tyler stands there saying nothing. His chest runs cold. He knows exactly what this means. In a family like the Wangs, a high score, even getting into the Ivy League of China, means nothing. It proves nothing about his worth. Rose and Hannah have both scored at the top before. Only one thing would set him apart, the top science score. Only then could he prove he was one of a kind. Irreplaceable. But now, the title he thought was his has been taken. Taken by the brother whose name he refuses to say. He can't for the life of him accept the gap. Is this how? Is it really him? Someone asks in disbelief. Owen glances around. The others exchange looks. Only Rose's eyes go red, tears already forcing their way out. Hannah says quietly, I'm afraid it is. A total landslide. 30 points clear of second. Perfect scores in 4 subjects. A score like that, no one in Xiahai City has pulled that off in 10 years. Since when were Hao's grades that good? Isn't he the worst student at Eastside High? Wade asks. Who told you he was the worst? His grades at Eastside High were actually pretty solid. Hannah shoots Wade a look. Eastside High is already the worst school in Xiahai City. How does a student from there end up as top scorer? Stella asks weakly, sighing inside. Hannah struggles to accept it. She quietly clenches her fist. But she doesn't dare show too much. She steps aside and lets Kay take over the keyboard. Kay searches for a moment, then says, Mom, Dad, Rose, Hao is already famous. Reporters are rushing over to East Side High right now. They're interviewing the teachers, the principal, and Hao himself. Should we go take a look? Kay looks up at Vivian and Richard. Neither of them saw this coming. For a moment they both seem unable to process it. Vivian especially, her face turns iron cold. How could that ungrateful kid score that high? He must have cheated somehow. Vivian's face is dark. Richard frowns. They had agreed to freeze Hao out, deal with him after the exam was over. They never expected Hao to score this well. Every time Richard thinks about Hao calling them by their names, pointing a blade at them, he can barely contain his rage. They were going to deal with him after the exam. He never imagined Hao would do this well. The thought of Hao calling them by name, pointing a blade straight at them, Richard can't stand it. Still, Richard keeps his head. No matter how he did it, top scorer is top scorer. Maybe this isn't our Hao, Stella speaks up. How many students named Hao are there at Eastside High? I honestly don't know. Stella shakes her head. Hannah shoots her a look. Then we need to go to Eastside High and see for ourselves. This is the first time in over a decade Eastside High has produced a top scorer. They're already all over the news. Let's go. Vivian says it coldly. Deep down, she still doesn't believe Hao could pull off the top score, let alone by a landslide. It makes no sense. What right does that rundown school have to claim the top spot? And every time she pictures that ungrateful boy pointing a blade at her, her fury burns hotter. The only way to know is to go see. And it just so happens, that boy has been living on his own for far too long. Vivian has made up her mind. She's done letting him run free. This time, when she finds him, she is going to make him pay. Only Rose stands apart, eyes red, tears forcing their way out. Her vision blurs. A thought strikes her. Maybe she's done something unforgivable. Are you okay? Hannah notices and rushes over. Rose sniffs, pulls out a tissue, and dabs her eyes. Let's go. Let's go to Eastside High too. She moves forward, her steps a little unsteady. The results reach Hao. The four of them go over it together. All of them stunned. Total possible score, 660. Math, Chinese, and English each worth 150. Chemistry, physics, and biology each capped at 70. And Hao scored 651. Their jaws drop. Derek, Mia, and Lisa have checked it 3 times over. No errors. Every number is real. Hao also gets a message from Miss Lin. She wants him back at school. Honestly, Hao isn't all that surprised by the result. But hitting this exact number, he is a little stunned. He expected 630. 30 points ahead of second place. That's something else entirely. Still, it is what it is. Ms. Lin has called, so he'll make the trip. Let's head back. The teachers and school staff are already waiting. The other students are already there too, Hao says. Derek laughs. Hao, you absolutely went off this time. Seriously, that was insane, Grace agrees, laughing. Her eyes are full of admiration. Lisa laughs too. 651 total. A score like that, the Ivy League of China is a lock. Hao, you really are something else. Stop thinking about it. Let's just get back. The four of them hurry toward school. Outside the gate, a massive crowd has already gathered. Mostly reporters who heard the news, plus a scattering of parents, loud and buzzing with energy. At the entrance of Eastside High, a red banner has been hung, big and proud. Congratulations to our student Hao, top science scorer in the Sia High City College entrance exam. It hangs high, rippling in the wind. Seeing the crowd at the front, Hao and the other 3 slip in through the back gate instead. How. When they reach the classroom, the room is already packed. The moment everyone sees Hao walk in, the room erupts. Hao spots Ms. Lin in the crowd. He goes straight over and pulls her into a hug. Good. You did wonderfully this time. Truly wonderful. Even we teachers were shocked. We can finally hold our heads high. This is the first time in over 30 years that Eastside High has produced a top scorer in Sia High City. The school principal is coming to celebrate with you, and the media wants an interview. Get yourself ready. Hao smiles. Ms. Lin, can I skip the interview? Skip it, what for? They're already crowded outside the gate. Just share your story, how you worked hard to get here. Ms. Lin smiles. There are sponsors too. Someone might even offer you an apartment. Think about whether you want to take it. Skip it, Hao says lightly. Just go out there and share your story. Talk about us too. You really are more capable than anyone, Ms. Lin laughs. Seeing her like this, Hao feels something warm settle in his chest. These past 3 years, Ms. Lin has been genuinely good to him. Back when he had no meal vouchers at home, he would sometimes show up at Ms. Lin's place just to get a meal. At least half the credit for this score belongs to her. But a news interview. Hao quietly smiles to himself. He wonders what the Wong family's faces look like right now. When the exam was happening, they were fully mobilized, on high alert, pulling out every stop. They probably can't handle a result like this. But so what? Hao would love to see their faces. He doesn't dwell on it. The principal arrives quickly. The principal rushes over to congratulate Hao, then pulls him aside to go over what he should and shouldn't say in the interview. Reporters are already packed outside the school gate. They need to get out there and clear the crowd. Since there's a top scorer to show off, let him speak first. Hao is quickly pushed to the front. He steps out to the school entrance. Almost instantly, he spots a row of familiar cars parked outside. He doesn't even need to guess. It's Rose and the others, all of them here. As for them showing up, Hao isn't the least bit surprised. Not a single ripple inside. Whether they come or not, the outcome is the same. A reporter quickly shoves a microphone in his face. More than his top score, the crowd is far more interested in the fact that he's an orphan. So Hao answers without hesitation, a smile across his face. Yes, as everyone knows, I grew up in an orphanage. My family was gone a long time ago, every single one of them. 18 years ago, they were all wiped clean. Some died with rotten souls. Some lost their minds and died in madness, and some just faded out while still breathing. Once they were all gone, I grew up in the orphanage. If not for my teacher, Miss Lin, I might have starved. I am grateful for Miss Lin. Being an orphan is not something to be proud of. It's not something to celebrate either. Being an orphan doesn't make you hardworking, and it certainly doesn't make you pitiful. Personally, I think I've done all right. As for my family, some died rotten to the core, some lost their minds, some just stopped living one day, and I consider that a blessing. Because they're all gone, I had every reason to fight harder and build something new. Don't waste your sympathy on them. Yes, they died badly, but only by dying out completely did they do right by this world, by this family, and by the title I hold today. I don't thank anyone, except my school, my teacher Miss Lin, and my 3 friends from the orphanage. It was you. In my darkest days, you are the reason I'm still standing. You are the light in my life, and we're only getting started. The crowd erupts. It's not just reporters who came to see the top scorer. There are plenty of sponsors and advertisers in the mix too, especially after word got out that he's an orphan. But Hao's words leave everyone stunned. Anyone with ears can hear what he's really saying. And yet, something about it sounds oddly familiar. The reporters are a little puzzled, but they don't press it. They move on to other questions. Hao keeps smiling, answering each one easily. Meanwhile, at the back of the crowd, someone is crying. She presses a hand over her mouth. Tears fall in a steady stream, cutting silently down her face. She fights with everything she has not to make a sound. Hannah glances over at Rose. Her own expression darkens. She never expected Hao to say something this cutting. The last time she heard him speak like that, it wasn't this bad. It hits Hannah all at once. The terrible things she did have left wounds in Hao that can never be undone. Bullying. That's exactly what it was. Bullying from his own family, including framing him, setting him up to take the blame, and now Hao hates them. The bullying, the framing, the betrayal. Hao despises them now. And payback is more than likely coming. The thought terrifies Hannah. They may have created a monster aimed straight at them, with their own hands. She turns to look at Rose. Rose stands there with her hand pressed over her mouth, tears streaming down without a word. She turns and walks back toward the car. Hannah is startled. She quickly looks over at Vivian and Richard, and sure enough, their faces are dark, eyes burning with fury. Hao's words were vicious, a clear, open curse wishing them dead. For their own son to say something like that to his own parents. How could Vivian and Richard not be furious? Absolutely out of control. Out of control. He's finished. Completely finished. Disgusting, Vivian seethes, unable to stomach being cursed by her own son. Richard, this son of yours has turned his back on everyone. He's heartless. If you don't discipline him now, he is going to be beyond saving. She turns and glares at Richard. Richard is the head of this family. He has run the company for years. A man whose word is final, in business and at home. He does not tolerate anyone challenging his authority. Even if the allowance was on the low side, as a son, you do not curse your own parents to an early grave. This is an unforgivable betrayal. Absolutely out of line. He's already gone this far. What is he going to do next? Come after them? Kids from the orphanage? Not a single one with any decency. Not one of them is worth anything. And Eastside High clearly can't teach kids right either. We should have done it a long time ago. We should have transferred him out of that school. Vivian's rage is off the charts. She rounds on Richard. Richard, if you don't put him in his place now, he's going to walk all over us. Richard snaps back. Then you go deal with him. Fine, I will. Go ahead then, just wait. Vivian is beyond furious, eyes blazing. This time she is not leaving without breaking that cane across his back. The reporters keep pushing on the topic. Yes, they're all dead. Some died rotten to the core, some lost their minds, and some died willfully blind. Once they were all gone, I could finally study and fight for something real. Their deaths were not a tragedy for me. They were a relief. I have always been grateful they're gone. Don't mourn them. Karma always comes around. His voice carries far, all the way to the car. Rose is already slumped over the steering wheel, sobbing. Hannah walks over, not knowing what to say. All she feels is a deep, heavy ache. Hannah once came across a story about an apple farmer who ran an experiment. During the early growth stage, he pushed a thin silver needle into the center of a young apple to observe how it developed. The results were disturbing. The needle was thin and small. It seemed like it couldn't do much damage at all, but every apple that had been pierced grew twisted and deformed, while the ones left untouched grew up plump and red, full and perfect. Hannah thinks about what she did and feels sick inside. Rose is the person I admire most, my idol. Look, this is Rose. Elegant, beautiful, brilliant. She graduated from the Ivy League of China, top scorer on the college entrance exam. Look at all these certificates. Every single one belongs to her. Grace, if I had even 1/10, no 100th of what she has, that would be enough. And this is music Hannah composed. It's beautiful. I found the university where Hannah teaches, Shia High University, the school I've always dreamed of attending, and Hannah is already on the faculty there, a professor, and her sports car, gorgeous. Hannah can't help herself. She pulls out her phone and scrolls through the messages. As one message after another loads, she finally understands where Rose's despair comes from. Back then, Hao couldn't wait to tell the whole world how extraordinary his sisters were, how graceful and refined. In truth, Hannah hasn't been able to bring herself to read these messages for a while now. The contrast is too much to bear. But now, Hao has just claimed the top score, speaking with ease in front of every camera. Hannah finally understands. He really did look up to them once. He has become just as exceptional as they are, maybe more so, but something is broken beyond repair. Hannah feels hollow all at once, like something has been carved out of her. A wave of grief rises up, unstoppable. Rose, Hao hates us so much. These past 4 years we were so... Rose lifts her head, eyes blurred with tears. She sees Hannah crying too, and breaks down even more. Hannah speaks through her tears, her voice cracking. We killed him ourselves. He grew up in an orphanage. He spent his whole childhood there, and then suddenly he had 6 sisters and a wealthy family waiting for him. He must have felt so lucky, so excited, so proud. The way he used to look at us, like we were something out of a dream, like he couldn't believe we were real. But what did we do? We were the ones who destroyed him. Rose hears this. She fights to hold herself together. What Hao wanted most was never us. Hannah looks at her. Do you remember how Hao used to take Mom's clothes? He would sneak into her room to sleep. You remember? Rose's tears keep coming, unstoppable. Hannah freezes, eyes going wide. What he needed most was never us. It was never us. All he ever wanted was parents, someone to shelter him. He was an orphan, just an orphan. Even after coming to live with us, he still was. So to him, we're all dead. Hannah goes still. She turns back and sees Hao, smiling broadly, answering every question, saying over and over that they're all dead, cheerful about it, completely calm. The fear in Hannah's chest deepens. That kind of despair, she can't imagine it. Hao is still answering questions, and honestly, an orphan with no father, no mother, claiming the top prize in Xiahai City, Hao is still talking to the press. There's no way around it. A parentless orphan has just claimed Xiahai City's top score on the college entrance exam. It's a massive story, and genuinely inspiring. Some people don't quite follow what Hao said, but that doesn't change how impressive he is. Someone arrives with a loud fanfare. It's a real estate developer, offering him a free apartment. Then a company executive steps forward, offering a 200,000 yuan scholarship, and so on, and so on. Hao doesn't need the money right now. He has no interest in any of it. He turns everything down. When the interview wraps and he heads back inside, Ms. Lin and Grace are watching him, looking a little worried. Hao, are you okay? Grace asks, frowning. I'm fine. Better than fine. We've got work to do. Hao smiles. Derek nods. Good. As long as you're okay. They've been running system tests and scouting locations lately. Most of the groundwork is done. Now that the exam results are out and everyone can breathe, it's time to move. Hao also signs all 4 of them up for driving lessons. They need their licenses before summer break ends. It'll make things easier down the road. Hao, someone's coming for you, Grace quietly signals. Ignore them. Let's go. Everything at school is done. No reason to stay. They've had nearly 2 weeks off. It's time to finish what's left. During this time, Bitcoin surged, and Hao's money came in with it. His total funds have more than doubled, now sitting at 6 million yuan. That opens up a lot of options. He's already called Phoenix Bikes to order 5,000 more bikes. The plan is to launch in 2 weeks. With 6,000 bikes on the ground, the early rollout should have enough to work with. The ones approaching now are Vivian and Richard. Hao has no patience for it. He turns and walks with Derek and the others toward the back gate. Vivian and Richard see Hao spot them, and walk away without missing a beat. They freeze for a second. Then the fury hits. Hao! They call out. Hao glances back, expression flat, a flicker of contempt in his eyes. Then he walks away without hesitation. Stop him, Vivian snaps, furious. She sends the bodyguards after him. They lunge toward Hao. Sorry to drag you into this, Ms. Lin. Ms. Lin has no idea what's going on, but she says, it's fine. They won't try anything on school grounds. We'll hold them off. Hao gives a nod. He sees the school security already moving to block them. He leaves it at that and walks off with Derek and the others. Hao has barely stepped out the back gate when he spots a black Audi parked just outside. Someone must have seen him coming. The door swings open, and 2 stunning young women step out, both with their hair in buns. Who else could it be but Rose and Hannah? Hao moves to leave. They cut him off. Hao, wait, just let us say a few words. Rose's eyes are red. Hao turns and looks at them. He takes in their hollow, wrecked expressions, and laughs. You two are something else. I really don't get it. Rose and Hannah feel the words land like a blow. Hao! That's not why we're here. We just want to say sorry. We were so... Hannah tries to continue. Don't come here with your crocodile tears. I know exactly what you look like underneath. Hao smiles at them. I know you hate me. That's fine. I hate you too. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, and I've dreamed about all of you dying. Slowly, badly, rotten to the core. Rose looks shaken. I know why you're really here. You can't accept what happened. Vivian and Richard probably already spotted me at the front gate, furious, looking like they want to tear me apart. As far as I'm aware, I never wronged any of you. So why do you hate me so much? How? We don't hate you. We just want to say we're sorry. It was our fault. We didn't know better back then. Rose suddenly breaks down crying. Hao laughs again. That's a fun take. First time I've heard it put that way. Very fresh, very creative. But did you bring a recording pen this time? What are you planning to pin on me now? Hannah can barely see through her tears. Hao, we really are here to apologize. Everything was our fault. We shouldn't have... Hao cuts her off. Hannah, did you think this trick would work a 3rd time? A 4th? I've seen this move before. That's exactly how you got that recording of me, isn't it? Hannah goes still. The color drains from her face. A music teacher. Top student, studied abroad, refined, educated, well-mannered. Hao Hao looks right at her and claps slowly. I have never met anyone with a heart that dark. I grew up in the orphanage. I've been in fights. I've drifted around and met all kinds of people. All kinds. But a frame up that brazen? First time. You probably thought it was funny. And honestly, I thought it was kind of funny too back then. But Hannah, aren't you afraid of karma? Aren't you afraid your heart will rot all the way through? Hannah feels it like a punch to the chest. I guess you're not. Hao smiles. But one day karma will catch up with all of you. There's no escaping it. Just then, shouting erupts in the distance. Hao looks up. Vivian and Richard are coming fast. Hao considers leaving, then stops. He turns back and says to Derek, Grace, head back first. I'll catch up. Grace is worried. Hao, are you sure? You don't have to. I'm fine. Don't worry. Hao smiles. They won't actually try anything. Derek says, let us stay with you. No, go ahead. I'll handle this. Hao doesn't want them caught up in this. Derek sees the look on his face and lets it go. He sighs. All right, call us if anything comes up. Will do. Hao nods. He waits until Derek and the others are gone, then sets his bag on the ground and unzips it. He reaches in and pulls something out. Rose and Hannah go rigid. Hao, what are you doing? Nothing much. Hao looks up with a calm smile. Just making sure we can have a reasonable conversation. Vivian's face goes white. Vivian and Richard are seething. They came storming over with every intention of putting him in his place. But then, they see Hao pull out a machete. They freeze. Vivian's face turns to stone. Hao, is this how you talk to us? They stare at the machete in his hand. Nobody moves. Hao, you're seriously going to talk to us like this? What is that in your hand? If I didn't do this, none of you would bother listening. I'll have you know, I've been sharpening this blade for days. Vivian and Richard go pale. Hao, just come home with us. Rose speaks through her tears, her voice full of pleading. Hao looks at her and laughs. Rose, oh Rose, you really never quit, do you? You need to take that heart of yours out, give it a good wash, let it air out, because it's already rotting, black all the way through. Rose flinches. How long have you been out here on your own? It's been almost 2 months now. The exam is over. Aren't you ever going to stop? Richard stares Hao down. It's my fault. This is my fault. Hao cuts straight back. I don't care whose fault it is. Put the knife down and come home. Richard snaps. How? You want me to come home? How? You? Richard's fury spikes. What is wrong with you? Have you lost your mind? What are we to each other? What is the Wang family to me? I'll tell you. I'm an orphan. My whole family is dead. I have nothing to lose. If the Wangs want to come after me, I have no problem drawing blood. Everyone's face drops. Nobody dares move. Hao glances around with a smirk. See? This is what works. Now everyone's ready to listen. Now we can have a real conversation. How? It was all my fault, Rose calls out softly. How? Vivian erupts. Don't you call my name. Hao cuts her off. Save it. I'm not here to talk. I've done the math. 4 years, 500 a month. I've added it all up, rough numbers. I owe you about 100,000 yuan. Then there's my body. I valued that at 200,000. So all in, I owe you 300,000 yuan. That must be why you keep showing up. Hao picks up the cash. Right in front of Vivian and Richard, he throws it down in stacks on the ground. 300,000, paid in full. From this day forward, I owe the Wang family nothing.